On day 1, I spawned in as a bald eagle with 10 hearts. I may be a little bald eagle, but I think I can make a big difference. I'd spawned into the middle of the Maple Taiga, but something was wrong. I felt a chill in the air and felt like someone was watching me. I used my eagle wings to fly around the trees, searching for something or someone to talk to, but there was nothing. The whole place was dark and empty until I saw something moving in the shadows. I couldn't quite make out what it was. I just saw its floating face.
You're in the wrong place, boy.
I'm sorry. I'm lost. Can you show me how to get out of here?
There is no out of here, Zozo.
Wait, how do you know my name?
I know more than you'd ever like me to know, little bird. You can fly away, but I'll find you. I'll always find you.
Something was really wrong about all this. I didn't want to say another word to that weird thing. I just turned away and flew as fast as I could off into the Maple Taiga. Whatever happens, I need to stay away from that guy. I think he's bad news. But I had no idea just how dangerous that mysterious thing really was. On day 2, after hours of flying through the trees, I decided to touch down for a rest. I was already hungry when I spawned, but after all that, it was even worse. I searched around the cold, dark forest until I was lucky enough to find some hazelnuts, a perfect healthy snack for an eagle like me. I still feel a little spooked after that encounter with that weird thing in the woods. I'm just glad I got away from it. But just as I said that, I felt a strange prickling sensation on my feathers. I didn't like it, not one bit. So I turned around and looked deep into the taiga behind me, and there it was. I could only just make it out, but it was definitely there, moving towards me. It was the exact same thing I'd seen earlier.
You cannot run, you cannot fly, for soon I'll hold you in my eye. This nightmare will get worse and worse, for my little bird, you are cursed.
Cursed? That doesn't sound good. I'm out of here. But I wasn't out of there. I couldn't move. I was just frozen in place. I couldn't shift a muscle as the sinister figure in the dark floated towards me. Closer and closer and closer and closer until he was almost right in front of me. Help! Help! Somebody help! Moments before the mysterious figure could reach me, he was hit with a fireball. The thing was blown away and screamed into the darkness. And suddenly, I could move again. I turned and ran as fast as I could on my little eagle legs, and I saw who had thrown the fireball at my scary pursuer. It was an old royal guard.
Come with me, little bird. That fire won't keep him down for long.
On day 3, I followed the royal guard. He ran and never stopped running, so all I could do was run after him. Thank you for saving my life. I'm Zozo, by the way. What was that thing?
I am Surge, the royal guard. There's no time to explain. That monster is more dangerous than you'll ever know.
That was a good enough explanation for me at the time. We kept moving, never looking behind us, until we reached the outside of a vast redstone circle cut into the ground. What's with the circle, Surge?
It's a sealing circle, a binding spell that offers protection. This is the only place you'll be safe, and even then, only for a little while.
I was able to slow down and catch my breath when I saw the cabin in the center of the big redstone circle. It looked old and run down, like nobody lived in there.
You must meet the Elder, Zozo. He resides in there. Listen closely to his wisdom. Perhaps it will save you.
But I need answers right now, Surge.
The Elder will have the answers you need. Just be warned that they may not be the answers you seek.
With that mysterious conversation out of the way, I entered the cabin. While it looked dark outside, on the inside it was surprisingly lit and warm. The Elder was standing next to a fireplace.
Welcome, Zozo.
Why do you keep it so bright in here?
When it's this bright, it's easier to see shadows, and that which you saw in the woods is a mighty dark shadow.
What was that thing?
A wraith, a powerful spirit, and I'm sorry to tell you this, little bird, but he cursed you.
What kind of curse?
The 100-day curse. Perhaps the most horrible of all. He and his nightmares will torment you for 100 days before finally doing you in.
Oh no, that sounds awful. Is there anything I could do about this?
There is one advantage to the 100-day curse. If you can break it within those 100 days, you have a chance of saving yourself. But only the strongest can do this.
Outside, the royal guard was walking. Well, guarding the perimeter of the redstone circle. Slowly, the being known as the Wraith approached the edge.
Gone, foul demon. You cannot get him here.
Not yet, but I will. And if you think there's anything you can do to stop my nightmares, then you're the one who's dreaming.
From day 4 to day 5, when it finally felt like the days-long nighttime was letting up, I decided to leave the Elder's camp and look for my own place.
Zozo, let me come with you. I cannot allow an innocent bird to get taken by the Wraith's curse. Please, allow me to defend you with my life.
That's very kind of you, Surge, but why? We barely know each other.
It's because of something bad that happened in my past. I don't like to talk about it. Please, Zozo, let me have this.
Okay then, Surge, let's go. We went deeper into the Maple Taiga until we found a clearing with only a few trees. With Surge's help, I was able to cut down the trees and collect the wood and sticks. I had just enough to make a wooden pickaxe, which I then used to mine some stone and make a stone pickaxe. I was about to make a stone sword when Surge stopped me.
Believe me, Zozo, a stone sword will do no good against what's after you. You'll want to keep your distance, because if the Wraith touches you, it's over.
Then how can I fight back?
Make yourself a bow and arrow instead.
And so I did. I used the sticks and some string I found lying around to make this simple long-range weapon.
Good work, Zozo. Now, I have a gift for you. Take this anvil and this enchanted book of flame. With them, you can give your arrows the fiery punch to ward off evil.
With the anvil and the enchanting book, I was soon able to give myself the exact kind of flaming bow and arrow that Surge had described. Between that and my stone pickaxe, things were looking up already. Until suddenly, both of us felt the chill in the air. We could sense that a certain something was very, very close. Should I shoot the Wraith with my arrow, Surge?
No, Zozo, you're not strong enough yet. You'll be destroyed. For now, we must both hide.
We split up and hid behind different trees. Moments later, the Wraith passed through. I did everything I could to remain quiet, even though I was terrified, until the evil spirit passed on. Phew, that was a close one. That Wraith sure is scary. With that close call out of the way, I used the rest of the wood and stone in my inventory to start building a basic base. One where Surge and I could both stay and keep ourselves safe from the horrors of the Wraith.
Good work, Zozo. I'll perform some spells on the base. Hopefully, that will keep us hidden from the Wraith for a time. But so that you have a little more hope of surviving, allow me to give you some of my power.
The power Surge gave me made me bigger and stronger, with 20 hearts and a piercing deadly shriek.
Can't be an eagle without a shriek, little bird. For now, I must rest. Giving a portion of my power has drained me. Stay safe, Zozo. Above all, stay safe.
From day 6 to day 8, I used my eagle wings to take to the sky and escape the Maple Taiga. I need to find someone who knows something about removing curses, or I'm gonna be helpless against the Wraith. I flew for a while until I saw a different biome, the Canadian Shield, down below me. I swooped down until I heard some commotion. It was a nomad, wielding a dagger and running from a group of scary skeletons. This looks like a job for me. I swooped in and landed in front of the skeleton gang. Lucky for me, they didn't move very fast, so before they could fire on me, I burned their bony butts with a barrage of fire arrows. You mess with the eagle, you get the arrows. After they were taken care of, the nomad approached me.
Thank you, mighty eagle. I came to this forest to hunt Endermen when those skeletons ambushed me. Were it not for your help, I would have perished.
I'm always happy to help. Why are you hunting Endermen out of curiosity? Isn't that dangerous?
It is, stranger, it is. But Endermen took my family away from me, so I will hunt them down until my last breath. For vengeance.
Pretty cool motivation. Say, you wouldn't happen to know anything about curses, would you?
As luck would have it, I do. My mother was a wise woman. Before those monsters took her, she told me much about curses and dark spirits. I will tell you what I know, but only if you help me with something first.
Oh yeah? What do you need help with?
I'll need assistance in slaying the deadly mutant Enderman.
From day 9 to day 10, as an eagle of my word who needed all the info about curses I could get, I followed the nomad, ready to take on the mutant Enderman.
He's in the clearing up ahead. I wish you luck, Zozo. Many have perished trying to do what you're doing.
Sheesh, thanks for that pep talk, nomad. Really fills me with confidence. Despite being afraid, I was still nowhere near as terrified of any mutant Enderman as I was of the Wraith. Then, when I stormed into the clearing, ready to attack, I realized why the nomad was so reluctant to take on this fight himself. The mutant Enderman was massive!
Another challenger. Marvelous. I've got some new techniques I've been meaning to practice.
Here's a new technique for you, being on fire. Eat this! I pulled out my bow and fired as many arrows as I could. But the mutant Enderman hit hard. I tried my best fighting him, but I was suddenly blinded. As he started picking up the blocks around me and throwing them at me, I flew up to get some height advantage, which seemed to work until he started using some magic to pull me down. I didn't stand a chance in hand-to-hand combat when suddenly an explosion blew me high into the sky and almost destroyed me. Uh-oh, time to go. I didn't even have time to try my shriek. I just flew out of there as the blocks were flying behind me. I made it back to the Nomad as fast as I could. Lucky for me, the mutant Enderman didn't follow me anymore.
It's nothing to be ashamed of, Zozo. I've been fighting beasts like that for years, and they still often best me in combat, as much as I'm ashamed to say it.
I know I'm going to be strong enough to fight it someday. In the meantime, want to come back to my base? I'm in a bit of a dangerous situation right now, and I think there's safety in numbers.
I'll come with you, Zozo, and I'll do what I can to help, especially if it involves fighting Endermen.
From day 11 to day 12, myself and the Nomad arrived back at the base. Surge was resting in the chair, recovering from giving me his energy for that earlier power-up. Rest well, Surge. I'm gonna make sure you've got something great to wake up to. The first thing me and Nomad did was to use my remaining wood and stone to construct a bigger base. Here we will have more space with a nice observation tower in case the Wraith comes sneaking up. We even made a nice patio for me to land on. I finished up making a room for the Nomad to stay in. I even left a chest in there for him to store all his daggers. Make yourself at home, Nomad. Nomad took a look around.
You have done me a great kindness, Zozo. In time, I will do you a kindness in return.
I then realized that the base and my inventory were missing a few things. I'm doing all of this with a stone pickaxe. If I upgraded my gear to iron, I could mine twice as fast. I flew through the Maple Taiga until I found a cave that led down into an old abandoned mine shaft. The place was totally empty, so I figured a wraith or some other nightmare had gotten to the miners first. I tried not to think about it as I got deeper and deeper, putting torches along the wall to see. Eventually, I found some iron deposits and started mining. When I gathered enough ore, I thought about leaving, but then I got the sense that if I searched a little bit further, I'd find something amazing. And I was right! A little further across the bridge and into the darkness, I found a dusty old chest, and inside it was a claymore. It was a massive sword that seems impossibly heavy, yet rests easily in a just warrior's hand. I think I'm just, and with a sword this big, maybe I can attack the Wraith without even touching it. I returned back to my base after that, knowing I'd need to make a furnace to smelt all the iron, only to see someone had already built a furnace and a beautiful, well-stocked pantry. Oh my gosh, who did this?
It was me, Zozo. It was me all along. I told you I would repay your kindness.
Thank you, Nomad. This is amazing. I smelted myself some iron ingots and fused it with a stick to craft an iron pickaxe. With that out of the way, there's only one errand left to complete. It was chilly out in the deep dark taiga, and we needed wool to survive the winter. That's why I went out and found some sheep, then herded them back to the base. A little bit of construction later, and I had them all fenced in. Maybe I'm not so cursed after all. From day 13 to day 15, I felt a growing sense of anxiety over everything involving the Wraith. I couldn't get the Nomad's advice until I defeated the mutant Enderman, so all that was left to do was speak to Surge, the Royal Guard, and find out what he wasn't telling me. Surge, you seem to know more than you're letting on about this whole curse deal. How can I find out more about how to get out of this?
Of course I have some knowledge, Zozo, but knowledge learned without struggle slips through the mind like sand through the fingers. Perhaps to truly learn what it means to be cursed, seek out and defeat the Forsaken.
The Forsaken?
Yes, half-dead wanderers, twisted and cruel, victims of lesser curses who show loyalty to the Wraith. They know more than perhaps anyone else. Challenge will be just getting them to talk.
There's a challenge I'm gonna have to rise to, Surge. I left for the Canadian Shield again, taking flight and trying to scope out any supernatural activity. I didn't want any fights I had out here to lead back to my base, so it was best to keep these investigations far away. I flew down when I saw a group of skeletal figures shrouded in rags. These must have been the Forsaken. I've been cursed like you, and I need information. Perhaps together we can find a way to help all of us.
It is too late for us, child, and we will ensure that it's too late for everyone else, for we are the children of the Shulkerant Forest, the emissaries of the cryptic wastes, acolytes of the darkness of the Wraith. Curses are not made to be broken, boy. They're made to break you.
There was no more reasoning with this gang of Forsaken souls. They started to charge toward me, so I had no choice but to destroy them. With my deadly shriek, I turned the tide, scattering their forces and even destroying some of them. Then came the time to use my real weapon, the Claymore, the mighty sword only true warriors could wield. I ran in and sliced and diced until the Forsaken were no more, and defeating them gave me enough power to level up again. I got bigger, stronger, reached a grand total of 40 hearts, and developed a new power, firing Wither Skulls. That's a spooky power. It must be because my curse is advancing. I've been cursed for over 2 weeks now. I really do need to get this curse lifted. Did one of them say something about the Shulkran Forest? Maybe I should go there first. From day 16 to day 19, I did just that, traveling to the eerie darkness of the Shulkran Forest. Yeah, it definitely tracks that the Forsaken like to hang out here. I'm getting the willies already. But I didn't have time to worry for long, because the Forsaken were standing right there.
We can smell your shadow, boy. The curse is growing, like a leech getting fat off blood. Look at us, Zozo. You think you'll be any different to all of us?
Just because you all failed to save yourself doesn't mean I will. I'd had just enough of people telling me how doomed I was, so I decided to deal with some doom instead. As armies of Forsaken emerged from the trees of the Shulkran Forest, I unleashed a volley of wither skulls and deadly shrieks. Once I'd given them a taste of that, I once again pulled out my claymore and ran into the last fray, threatening him. Tell me everything you know about lifting the curse.
You don't understand. I can't. If I tell you, I'll be destroyed.
If you don't tell me, I'll destroy you myself.
The Wraith, he's impossibly powerful, but he isn't invincible. He can kill you with a touch, but not if you're wearing the right armor. And there's a certain sword that can harm him, while all the others will merely slow him down.
What armor? What sword? I need to know!
It's
Without warning, the Forsaken burst into flames, and moments later, he poofed out of existence. Wow, not telling me about the armor and the sword must have been a condition of the curse that was placed on him. This Wraith really is ruthless, but at least I know what to look for now, even if the information I have is vague. From day 20 to day 22, I returned to the Canadian Shield to settle an old score. I need the information that the Nomad has, but I'm never going to get it if I don't defeat that mutant Enderman first. Didn't take me long to find the monster again, and when I did, he just laughed at me, which did not do wonders for my self-esteem, let me tell you.
Last time you were here, you didn't get a single decent hit on me, and I nearly destroyed you with one hit. You're hopeless.
That was last time. This is now. I remembered his tactics, and this time I was going to use them against him. I fired a wither skull, which, predictably, he teleported away from. But when he appeared behind me, my claymore was ready. I spun around and slayed him before he even had a chance to properly hurt me. Enderman, I just ended you, man! But I sadly didn't get to bask in my victory for long. I felt that familiar chill on my feathers and turned to see what I'd feared most, the Wraith floating out of the dark.
Tick-tock, tick-tock. Your life slips away by the second as the curse grows. Why not embrace me and end the fear, Zozo? It will be cold and quick.
I'm quickly getting out of here. I ran as fast as I could until I felt the chill of the Wraith subside. If he can make his way to the Canadian Shield, he could turn up anywhere. From day 23 to day 26, I returned to the base to tell the Nomad the good news.
Thank you, Zozo. You have honored my family by defeating the mutant Enderman. To thank you for your kindness, I've built you a kitchen.
It was true. He had built me a luxurious and well-appointed kitchen. It would be perfect for cooking all manners of meals. Thank you, Nomad. You built a kitchen and a pantry now. Is there a reason you like food prep stations so much?
Well, before the Enderman destroyed my family, I actually wanted to become a chef, but my revenge quest derailed all that. I'm hoping to someday return to my dream once I feel like I have achieved vengeance from lost loved ones.
Interesting. I hope one day you get to pursue those dreams. So, could you tell me what you know about the curses?
I hope I didn't overstate how much I knew. It's mainly a bunch of stories my mother told me. A lot of it was about knives and scrunts. But one thing I think you might find interesting is that my mother once told me that the eagle and the hawk are the ones to stand against evil. Perhaps you'll find some answers there.
At least it's something. I'm an eagle, so perhaps I just need to find the hawk, whatever he is. But if I couldn't find the hawk, I'd at least find myself some armor. That's why I searched through the forest until I found the mining cavern from before and delved down into the darkness. If there are any Forsaken down here, they're going to get clay more than they bargained for. Luckily for me and them, the mine was empty, so I gathered up some iron deposits and went back to the base. There, I smelted my first few pieces of armor. Hopefully this would provide at least some protection from the Wraith and the horrors his curse was bringing. From day 27 to day 31, knowing that I needed to get to the bottom of this eagle and hawk prophecy, I returned to the Shulkran Shulkran Forest. There were a large number of Forsaken here before I came in and defeated them. Maybe I can find something important here. But it seemed that after my victory against the Forsaken, they hadn't returned to the area. Instead, there was a single wandering trader.
Hello, stranger. Got some fine wares today. But I should warn you, this is a dangerous place to be. Yeah, those accursed Forsaken used to roam these parts.
But they won't anymore, cause I defeated them. You're safe to trade as much as you like.
You were the brave warrior who defeated the Forsaken of Shulkran Forest? Thank you! They've been terrorizing these parts for years. Here, take these 3 healing potions as a thanks. You've more than earned them.
Thank you, kind trader. I'll use them well.
Oh, but I don't even mean for use in battle. Health potions will help slow down the progression of the curse. So, if ever you feel overwhelmed, have one ready.
With that surprisingly pleasant exchange out of the way, I returned to my base. I'd been reading up on sigils that can help ward off cursed creatures, and decided making some banners with them could provide an extra layer of defense. I harvested wool from the sheep in my sheep farm, and used them to craft some supernatural repellent banners, which I carefully placed around the base. That'll keep the wraith away while I search for the hawk mentioned in the prophecy. But things weren't all sunshine and roses. In no time at all, Surge, the royal guard, ran up to me in what seemed like a blind panic.
Zozo, I received a horrible vision. I can feel cursed energies amassing. The Forsaken are leading an attack on the Elder's cabin.
Oh no, we need to go help him at once. From day 32 to day 35, Surge and I arrived at the Maple Taiga and raced towards the cabin that housed the Elder. Our feet pounded against the grass with fearful urgency as we hoped and prayed that Forsaken had not already beaten us there.
Zozo, look there! There's a group of Forsaken! They're in the range of your bow!
Enchanted bow on lock. Those darn cursed souls aren't getting past us! I unleashed heck in the form of my enchanted fire arrows, causing a couple of the Forsaken to burst into flames. Surge threw a fireball and managed to pick off a couple more of the foul miscreants. We cleared most of them, but out of nowhere more came charging towards myself and Surge.
You will be like we are. There's no sense in fighting it anymore. Just give up like the rest of us.
I drew my claymore as they approached. Since you're so good at giving up, maybe you should give up trying to make us give up. Between the two of us, Surge and I defeated the rest of the Forsaken. We were relieved because we thought we had stopped them. But when we arrived at the cabin, our hopes were dashed. The redstone circle was still there, but the cabin beyond was torn to flinders. The Elder was gone too, unable to survive the onslaught of the Forsaken.
No, this is horrible. How could I have let this happen? I should have been here this whole time.
It's not your fault, Surge. The redstone circle wasn't able to keep them out, which means the defenses against the curse are slowly failing. Nobody could have known it would happen.
The curse is getting stronger, and now we've lost the Elder. Don't you dare become a Forsaken, Zozo. We have to keep on going, for him.
I didn't want to tell him how scared I was about becoming like those other victims of the curse. From day 36 to day 39, I decided to spend some time away from my base and my friends, knowing that the curse was getting stronger, and that I might even risk not being myself anymore. I didn't want to have to face anyone I knew. Instead, I was swooping around the Canadian shield, breathing in that fresh air, and trying to get my head together. During all this, I spotted a butcher, looking lost and wandering around. I swooped in, hoping to help after I was unable to help the Elder. Are you okay, Mr. Butcher? Are you being hassled by any cursed creatures?
Cursed creatures? I don't know nothing about no cursed creatures. I'm just a simple butcher looking for his lost mushroom. I've got an order for my famous mushroom beef cutlets later today, but without the mushroom, I'm done.
Well, I'd be happy to help you find your lost mushroom. It'll take my mind off all that other stuff.
Oh, really? That's so nice of you.
Using my bird's eye view, I swooped through the trees, looking for that pop of red and white. It didn't take me long to find the missing mushroom, and then I called over to the butcher.
You done me a real solid here, pal. If ever you want a big, juicy mushroom beef steak, you come to my place, and I'll give you one for free.
I'll remember to take you up on that once I've solved this whole curse situation. And with that, I flew off, reminded that fun little moments like this are exactly why I can't let the curse get to me. From day 40 to day 43, I came back into the base and found that Surge had added a pool on the roof of the base. Did you feel like swimming, Surge?
No? Well, you could use it for that if you want, but the real purpose of this pool is to be a focusing medium for our defensive enchantments. The water is located in the exact center of the circle, so it will buy us some time against the Forsaken. Also, I've invited one of my old friends in the Royal Guard to the base. If those things do get through, we'll fight the good fight.
That's good planning ahead. I still might take a swim in the pool, but only because I respect that it's here. Shortly after, a second Royal Guard came to visit in a uniform just like Surge. I left them alone to catch up on old times, but on a deeper level, I was nervous about meeting other people who might not understand my curse. I decided to take a walk outside of the base to clear my head. Surge was doing so much for me, but I knew there was something still bothering him, a secret that he hadn't yet revealed. While I pondered my friendship with the Royal Guard, I happened upon the Wandering Trader.
Here, Zozo. I see the curse hasn't gotten you yet. Splendid!
Hey, Wandering Trader. Good to see a friendly face out beyond the protective enchantment.
Oh, please. We're past titles. You can call me Hewitt. How many potions do you have left?
Oh, 3 actually. I haven't felt like I needed them.
You should have one, just to be safe. Remember, the curse will make you believe that you are more capable of fighting it off.
Did as he said, consuming one of my health potions. I was now down to 2. I don't know if these 2 will be able to ward off the curse for the rest of the 100 days. Do you have anything stronger I could purchase?
You're in luck, Zozo. There is a potion that'll help you identify and ward off the nightmare servants of the Wraith. In the common tongue, it's called the Potion of Night Vision. I can't make it for you, though. Not unless you find the elusive golden carrot, a key ingredient.
At this point, I'll take any help I can get if it means not becoming forsaken. Where can I find this golden carrot?
They used to grow in abundance in the Shulkrin Forest before the Forsaken uprooted most of the beds and burned the carrots with them. Because it is too late for them, they resent the idea of others taking a precaution they didn't.
From day 44 to day 49, I once again traveled into the Shulkrin Forest, hoping to find the golden carrot. Man, this place is dark. I can see why a night vision potion would come in handy. But it wasn't just dark, it was cold. Deathly cold. A cold that could only come from one source.
Can you feel my presence, Zozo?
It was the Wraith's voice, and as much as I looked around and readied my flaming bow and arrow, I couldn't see him. It was like his voice was floating all around me.
I am everywhere and nowhere, Zozo. And as my curse strengthens, stronger nightmares will seek you out. You cannot escape your fate.
We make our own fates, Wraith. Anyone who says otherwise is sleepwalking.
Then wake up, Zozo, and face the cruelty of reality. The phantoms of the night will devour you alive.
The coldness disappeared, and it was replaced by the red-hot rage of the Crimson Phantom. It swooped down and tried to attack, narrowly missing me.
Hungry.
I'm not on the menu! He wasn't the only one who could fly. Using my eagle wings, I took to the sky, and the battle began! From day 50 to day 53, I engaged in a pitched aerial battle with the Crimson Phantom, the most horrible cursed nightmare that I had yet encountered.
Devour. Eat. Crunch. Consume.
I won't let you do any of those things, Crimson Phantom. Prepare to face my claymore! With a tremendous slash, I carved away at a bit of the Crimson Phantom's health. The nightmare was fast, so it was only a glancing blow, but I used the chance to maneuver away and gain a better vantage point.
Hungry. Stop resisting.
Never! I delivered another blow with the claymore, but was blindsided by the biting tackle from the Crimson Phantom. Damage was severe, but it was all I could do to dodge away and drink my second health potion. I have to end this quickly, or I'll have to use my last potion. Here goes a Wither Skull! I summoned up all the twisted energy of the curse and converted it into a Wither Skull. When it shot forth, the Crimson Phantom was caught completely unaware. The direct hit stunned the monster, and with my claymore, I brought the Phantom down to the ground, cleaving it into dust. Phew, using that Wither Skull took a lot out of me. Thank goodness it ended the fight. What it also did was cause the Crimson Phantom to drop the golden carrot I was looking for. I'll take this back to Heward before I get attacked by another nightmare. From day 54 to day 57, with the golden carrot in my inventory, I decided to make my way back to the base. It feels like nightmare creatures have been jumping out at me from every shadow. I can't get my hands on that night vision potion soon enough. But as I was flying through the air, I got hit by a fireball that sent me spinning out. I landed on the ground, only to see a horde of ender gas coming towards me. Why did that fire hurt so much? Oh no, it must be because the curse is advancing. I'm already over halfway through the 100-day cycle. I must be more vulnerable to whatever hurts curses. But I didn't have time to worry about that yet. The ender gas were getting closer, and I needed to fight back. I took to the skies again, unleashing my deadly shrieks until every last one of them was taken care of for good. I need to get back to base and rest. I've exposed myself to too much cursed energy for too long. When I arrived back at my base, Heward the Wandering Trader met me there. He took the golden carrot and used it to brew up a night vision potion.
Be aware, Zozo. The effects of this potion will only last 3 minutes, so use it wisely. The Wraith won't give you a second chance.
Good advice, Heward. And if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna get some sleep, because getting you that golden carrot was a real odyssey. We were left to wander and trade, as wandering traders are wont to do, and I retired to my bed for the evening. From day 58 to day 62, I took some time to plant a flower garden in my base. It was in part to honor the elder, but I think part of me also felt bad for who the Forsaken once were. These flowers will be here to remind us all about the beauty there is in this world, and that we should never give up, even when things seem really bad. I left the garden to its peace, and went back to the depths of the mine shaft. There I found a bit more unexpected beauty in the rough. Diamonds! With these sparkling gems, I was able to forge a diamond pickaxe that would provide me with a wealth of resources as long as I was willing to mine for them. I've come this far, and I know I won't let this curse beat me. This diamond pickaxe is a sign of my progress and my will. When I came up from the mine, I saw Surge standing in the flower garden I made. I wonder if he knew its purpose. I approached him, and he spoke first.
Flowers always find the strength to grow, even if the land itself is troubled.
That's why I planted them. We should all remember that we can be the same way. As long as I'm not forsaken, I vow to remember those who are less fortunate through these flowers.
Can you plant a few more for my king and my comrades?
Surge, I think it's time you told me about your past. I will always support you. I want to know why you've supported me.
Very well. When I was younger and more naive, I was a fresh recruit to the royal guard of a certain king who used to control a lot of the overworld. That's why I've always referred to myself as a royal guard. For a time, we all served our king with complete loyalty under the command of Sergeant Brannock.
For a time, but not forever.
It all changed so suddenly, like a nightmare I thought I could wake up from. Brannock was afflicted with the 100-day curse, and instead of accepting his solitary fate, or fighting it like you, he did something else. He made a deal with the Wraith, that he would not be forsaken, but instead become a curse himself. All he had to do was kill the king, solidifying the sacrifice of his old life. I would love to tell you that we were able to stop him, but I wouldn't be the only one standing here if things had gone differently. Those of us royal guards who survived scattered to the winds, afraid that if we stayed together, Brannock's curse would pass on to all of us. I've lived my life in shame and fear ever since.
Thank you for letting me know all of that. It must have been so sad. You don't need to be ashamed, Surge. I'm still okay because you saved me. You're a better guard than you think, and it's because you fear what might happen to the people you protect. From day 63 to day 66, I woke up to a delicious smell wafting into my bedroom. I woke up and swooped over to the kitchen where Nomad was cooking.
Hey, Zozo. You know, your struggles and your persistence have inspired me. I've been working on getting good at cooking again, because a life spent entirely on seeking revenge is a life wasted. Here, have some calamari.
He gave me some delicious calamari, which refilled my hunger bar and made me feel a lot better. You've got a real talent for this, Nomad. I'm glad you're rediscovering your passions.
Calamari was one of my mama's favorite foods. Cooking these made me think of her. In fact, it made me remember something she told me once. Something that may help you discover more about your curse.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, she always told me that the most cursed land of all was the Cryptic Wastes. Perhaps that is where you'll find the answers you seek regarding the eagle and the hawk.
Sounds like a plan to me, Nomad. I'll head there immediately.
Just be careful, Zozo. Horrors lurk there. Be sure your defenses are strong.
Having eaten some more calamari, I took flight in the direction of the Cryptic Wastes, a dark and desolate place with a cursed sky. I could immediately tell that something was wrong here. As I landed on the ground and started moving along, I heard quiet footsteps behind me. I turned and, in a flash, an assassin was standing behind me, armed with a kyther.
Make one move, and it's your head, demon.
Wait, I'm not a demon.
Your kind lies. I can feel the cursed energy radiating off of you.
That's because I got cursed by a wraith. Why are you even here?
I am Frey of the Cleansing Light Assassins Guild. We are an ancient order of covert warriors who took a vow to live in the territory of evil and smite them from within. I was born and raised in the horrors of the Cryptic Wastes, and I have learned to master them. Do not fool yourself into thinking you can trick me, Forsaken One.
I may be cursed, but I'm not forsaken. I respect what you do, Frey, but I'm after something deeper. The cure! A way to stop evil at its source.
Do you speak of the prophecy of the eagle and the hawk?
What do I look like to you, Frey? I've been taking healing potions to suppress the curse, but I only have a month before it overtakes me completely. I need all the help I can get in fulfilling the prophecy and stopping the wraith.
A worthy mission, but words are only worth the seconds it takes to say them. If you want my help, you'll prove yourself. If you want to show me you do not stand with the wraith, slaughter one of his most dangerous minions, the Bone Storm.
Consider that Bone Storm defeated.
Then let us depart. But if I suspect I'm being deceived, I'll eliminate you before you could even imagine a Wither Skull. You have my word as an assassin on that.
We set off deeper into the Cryptic Wastes, knowing that darker nightmares lay ahead. From day 67 to day 70, 70, Frey led me to the lair of a new nightmare, the vicious animate colossus of Marrow, known as the Bone Storm.
I'll spare you the indignity of answering whether or not you can defeat that thing. If you fail, I will clean up whatever remains of you both. Now, get in there and show me if you have an assassin's will.
You will find that my willpower is my greatest strength. I've been honing it ever since the day I was cursed. Watch and see who I really am. I flew towards the Bone Storm and let out an eagle shriek. The Bone Storm was on my tail soon enough, but I wasn't about to let it catch me. I ascended upward and drew my bow. Enchanted arrows rained down on the Bone Storm, setting it alight. The fire was fearsome, but it wasn't enough. I realized all too late that the Bone Storm could fly as high as me. I was engulfed by its many storming bones and took severe damage. I put away the bow and started hacking through the bones with my claymore, breaking out into mid-range. I could feel that Frey was still watching me, and because of that, I held off on using my Wither Skulls, but I couldn't win without them, so I gave in. Wither Skulls, come forth! End this nightmare! I sent Wither Skull after Wither Skull into the Bone Storm, and this weakened it until I was able to slash it apart with my blade. The Bone Storm was beaten, but I had another problem. I could feel that the use of my Wither Skulls had given the curse more influence. If I didn't drink my last potion, Frey would probably take me out on principle. What other choice do I have? I gulped down the third potion, my last line of defense against the 100-day curse. Frey came to see me after the fight.
I must commend you for what you did here. For now, you are a master of your curse and can use it for the greater good. I will still be keeping an eye on you, but you have earned my aid as well.
With Frey the Assassin as my new ally, I felt hopeful, despite the fact that I was now out of potions. From day 71 to day 74, I went deeper into the cryptic waste, knowing that I at least had Frey's alliance now. But I could feel that the curse was getting worse. I felt a strange kind of coldness inside me, in a deeper way that I ever had before. I'm going to need to fight back against the evil within, just like you can fight back against boredom by watching more Zozo videos. Just search ZOZO for more Minecraft adventures. This part of the cryptic waste seemed even more desolate than the rest. There were huge chasms in the floor, leading down to somewhere deep and dark. Then, all of a sudden, I couldn't move. I felt the coldness within me touch my feathers from the outside. It could only be the Wraith, here to finish what he started. He rose out of one of the chasms and began floating towards me while I was powerless to move.
Your curse is progressing nicely, boy. Less than 30 days now until completion. Here I am. Here you are. Nothing changes unless I will it to.
You're wrong. Me and my friends are going to defeat you.
Friends, how quaint. No one can befriend a shadow, Zozo, and soon that's all you'll be. Why even wait? All it'll take is a single curse touch.
He was getting closer and closer and closer. I couldn't move, knowing his touch would destroy me instantly without the special armor. I still couldn't move, but I summoned just enough power to start firing my Wither Skulls at the Wraith.
Pathetic. You think you can fight me with the powers I gave you?
He was right. I needed to be smarter. And when he was only blocks away from me, I had an idea. I blasted Wither Skulls on the ground between us and the blocks beneath him, letting me fall into the darkness away from him. From day 75 to day 78, I was lying on the floor of the cavern, several levels of blocks below the surface. My body still couldn't move. It was as if I didn't have any strength left in my body. Or maybe it was still there, but my will couldn't access it. Is this what it feels like to be forsaken? Wait, why did I say that? No, I won't give in. I won't become like them. This curse isn't stronger than... Who was I kidding? I was all alone now, out of potions, and lost somewhere under the cryptic waste. The one thing I could be happy about was that I was far away from all of my friends right now. They wouldn't have to see me as a forsaken. Surge will probably miss me. That's what the flower garden is for. I closed my eyes and waited for the curse to take me. Then, I heard the voice of someone I never could have expected.
Zozo, I'm here. Drink this potion.
It was Heward, the wandering trader, and he had a kind of potion I had never seen before. I drank it, and my body was able to move again. I stood, just relieved that it was through my own power. Heward, what are you doing in the cryptic wastes?
I couldn't lose my best customer, Zozo. Besides, that potion wasn't good for much else, besides restraining the curse for maybe 10 or 15 more days.
I could feel that he was right. The curse was still within me, but its influence was suppressed. I was healthier than ever, with a total of 100 hearts. There was one other other feeling I felt on top of that, though. A chilling cold that responded to me and could be focused into a weapon. One more blessing from the curse. An ice blast! From day 79 to day 84, I climbed out of the chasm at my greatest power yet, but also at my greatest level of curse affliction. I have less than 20 days to repeal the curse now, or I won't be an eagle, I'll be a monster!
Why don't you just embrace it?
I turned and saw a heavily armored man with a shield and a phantasmal blade standing across the waist and watching me.
The curse doesn't have to be a burden. It can be a doorway to power beyond all comprehension.
Who are you?
Oh, where are my manners? I'm Sergeant Brannock. Ever heard of me?
I've heard you're a traitor who hurt my friend. That's enough for me to take you down. I decided to give my power a try and hit Sergeant Brannock with an ice blast, but he lifted up his shield and blocked it.
I remember when I got that one. You're making me all nostalgic.
I drew my claymore, ready to charge in and fight him, eagle to man. But he was too fast. He threw his phantasmal blade at me, devastating my hard count. But before I could recover to unleash another strike, he hit me with his own, much more powerful ice blast, freezing me in place. No, this isn't fair.
Life isn't fair. It's why you gotta cheat, lie, and steal if you want to get anywhere, kid.
You're gonna pay for what you did to the king.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about the king, Zozo. I'd be more worried about your friends.
What did you do to my friends?
I decided to stop by your base before I came here. Hope you don't mind, but me and the Forsaken remodeled the kitchen a little, and we remodeled the guy in there.
Nomad? No!
Gotta hand it to him. He made a mean calamari. Shame no one will ever taste it the way he made it ever again.
You're lying.
Am I? Go back to your base and check. Oh, when you can move again anyway. See you soon, Zozo.
The sergeant ran off after that, leaving me frozen and enraged. And not just for a whole hour. I was frozen there for 2 solid days, when suddenly I felt a strangely warm presence. Out of the ground rose a spirit, covered in gold. When he was there, I felt my frozen state let up. I somehow just knew he was here to help me.
Zozo, I am here from the beyond. You have struggled enough, my friend.
Who are you?
You do not know me, but your friend does. I am the king that Sergeant Brannock betrayed and slew.
Gosh, you're the king that Surge was defending.
The very same. And now, my spirit is here to give you a boon, one you earned through resilience and sacrifice. I would have given you this earlier, but I needed to know you had the strength and the temperament to wield it justly. This is Hawkbrand, the only sword that can harm the Wraith.
He passed me Hawkbrand, one of the coolest swords I'd ever seen. Hawkbrand, eagle, and hawk. It all makes sense now. This is the prophecy.
Yes, Zozo, but don't be reckless. The Hawkbrand can only be dangerous to the Wraith once it has been properly enchanted. And I'm afraid the location of the enchantment book is a mystery even to me.
I'll find it, Your Highness, even if I have to go to the ends of the end.
Good work, Zozo. I ask you only to perform one more task. Tell Surge to not blame himself to what happened to me. He did all he could and shouldn't spend the rest of his life in the shadow of the past.
King dropped into the abyss, and it was time for me to get serious. From day 85 to day 89, I found my way back to the base, flying as fast as my wings would allow. From above, I could see that the base was damaged, the pool on the roof was draining, and the base was in ruins. The Forsaken were still causing destruction down below, guided by their own boundless despair.
How many days do you have left, Zozo? 100 doesn't last forever. We will welcome you soon enough.
You won't bring me into your misery, but I will put you out of yours. A hurricane of enchanted fire arrows rained down upon the Forsaken, leaving none to tell the tale. I landed by the kitchen and entered, fearful of what I might find. Within were more Forsaken, whom I startled with a screech and dispatched with the unenchanted Hawkbrand. As I assessed the damages of the demolished kitchen, I saw the nomad's daggers lying on the counter. His weapons were all that were left of him. Rest now, friend. I'll bury these daggers under the flower garden for you. But it wasn't enough to mourn. I needed to return to the cryptic waste and end this once and for all. From day 90 to day 94, I stalked the Forsaken all the way back to the cryptic waste. With my ice beam, I froze them in place, then destroyed them all with the Hawkbrand and my beloved claymore.
Very impressive, Zozo. Seems like the curse is really almost complete. Soon, we'll be 2 peas in a pod.
Sergeant Brannock, I'm gonna make you pay for what you did to Nomad.
Oh, is that what his name was?
He just wanted to cook.
Believe me, he cooked.
That was the last straw. I unleashed everything on him. The ice beams, the wither skulls, the flaming arrows. Somehow, no matter what I gave him, he gave it back even harder.
Everything you've been through, I've been through it first, kid. You really think you've got any surprises for me?
With one throw of his phantasmal blade, I was on the ground. From day 95 to day 97, I tried to stand back up after Sergeant Brannock had knocked me down, but my body refused to move. No, not like this. I still have a few days left.
I think you misunderstood the 100-day curse. It doesn't matter if you give in at 10 days, 20 days, or even 90 days. Heck, you can even tough it out for the full 100 days if you really put your mind to it. But do you know why it doesn't matter a lick? Because once your days are numbered, that's it. That's all you got. Do you think it will matter if you give in today, or tomorrow, or the next day? It won't. Did you once ever ask any of the Forsaken which day the curse got them? Do you think they even remember?
I'll remember. I will live on to remember my 100th morning. Whatever comes after that, I'll face it too. You're the one who turned away because it got too tough.
Empty words from one who chooses to be forsaken. You could have been like me.
Who would want that? Brannock raised his phantasmal sword, too angry to respond to my words. I didn't need to say anymore because Surge would say it for me. He was standing right behind his former leader.
Hello, Brannock.
Brannock turned away from me, and in that moment, it was like it was only himself and Surge in the entire world.
Your face is different, Surge. Has the stress of failure haunted you for this long? It is true that I'm haunted by failure, but not of my own. What do you mean by that, recruit? You failed us. You failed your king. You failed yourself. And today, when I prevail and save Zozo, it will be your last failure. Then come on, Surge, prove those words. Are you afraid? I am afraid, and that's why I'll win.
Surge conjured a fireball and hurled it straight at Brannock, who neutralized it with an ice blast. Forsaken Sergeant deployed his phantasmal blade, and Surge dodged, drawing a sword of his own. They clashed and circled each other before Brannock pulled back to let loose a barrage of fireballs. Surge was hit, and Brannock was sure to take advantage of this by drawing forth the cold into an ice blast more powerful than any I could imagine.
So long, Surge. No flowers for you, Brannock.
Surge cast a fireball to match Brannock's ice blast, but it was more than a fireball, it was a dragon fireball. It melted straight through the frost and burned Brannock's forsaken shell to ash.
I did it, my king. You are avenged.
I ran to congratulate Surge on the victory. You did amazing, Surge. The king would have been so proud of you. Upon Brannock's destruction, a book was dropped featuring enchantments of a prophetic sort. It was the very magic that was required to enchant Hawkbrand. Looks like Brannock was even planning to betray the Wraith if it suited him. He really didn't know the meaning of loyalty. And in a way, that's finally good for something. On day 98, after enchanting the Hawkbrand, I kept going in the direction that I knew I'd find the Wraith's lair. I can feel the cursed energy in me burning as I get closer. I know I'm gonna have him soon. But on the journey, I encountered one more old friend, the wandering trader, Heward.
Zozo, I see you have gained the enchanted blade, but there's something you're forgetting.
What's that?
The special armor. Without that, the Wraith could still kill you in a single touch. This is the Cave Scorpion chestplate. I'd rather not go into what I had to do to get it, but if you put it on, you should be ready to do what needs to be done.
He gave me the special chestplate, and I equipped it with pride. Thank you for all you've done for me, Heward.
What can I say? You're my best customer.
On day 99, finally equipped with the enchanted Hawkbrand and the Cave Scorpion chestplate, I was ready to take on the Wraith and destroy the curse. But even though I could see the Wraith's lair in the distance, there was something terrifying in the way. A whole flock of crimson phantoms. How am I gonna get through all of those? One of them was enough of a problem for me.
But not for me.
I turned and saw Frey, the assassin of the Cleansing Light Assassins Guild, stealthily approaching. Frey, what are you doing here?
I made a promise, Zozo, and an assassin never leaves a debt unpaid. Slay the Wraith, break your curse, leave these weaklings to me.
He seemed to know what he was doing. With one final glance between us, I snuck past while Frey ran into battle. On day 100, I was at last in the lair of the Wraith, the origin point of all the curses in the overworld.
You should not have come here, Zozo. This is your 100th day.
I barely saw the wraith in the darkness of his lair.
I'll let you in on a little secret. I called it the 100-day curse, but nobody but you has ever lasted this long.
Of course not, because it wasn't time for the prophecy to be fulfilled yet, Wraith. The day you cursed me was the start of your last 100 days. I drank the potion of night vision, and the inside of the lair was clear as day to me. I could see the wraith bearing down on me, but I had no fear left in my body. Only strength, only will.
I am everywhere.
The wraith touched me, but to his shock, I did not die. With a single practice swing of Hawkbrand, I struck him down. And now, you're nowhere. On day 1, I spawned in as Godzilla. Haha, check me out. I am so tiny. Look, I only have 5 hearts. I was so surprised, I almost didn't notice a scientist sneaking up behind me.
I've got you now.
The scientist started throwing nets at me, barely missing. Whoa, who is this guy? I've got to get out of here. The scientist continued to chase me, throwing nets. Up ahead, I could see a small hole, so I hurried and jumped inside, landing in a small cave. He's too big to fit, so I should be safe in here. Just then, I heard a rattling sound, and there was a rattlesnake right there. Oh no! I jumped back out of the hole right next to the scientist.
There you are, you little lizard.
I ran off as he kept throwing his nets. I was running out of places to hide. That's when I had an idea. I hope you don't like getting wet, and I hope I know how to swim. I dove into the ocean and was happy to find that not only could I swim, but I could swim extremely fast. It looked like the scientist wasn't interested in diving in after me either.
I'll get you.
What a start to the day. Who was that guy? Why would he want me? Maybe he was just trying to capture all the animals. I decided to ask a nearby fish if he knew anything. As I was swimming, I realized I could breathe underwater too. Hey, did you see that guy back there? What's his deal? The fish didn't respond and started attacking me. It was a barracuda. Hey, stop it! I don't want to hurt you, but I will. The barracuda didn't say anything and kept attacking. I guess he didn't know how to talk. Well, let's see what these claws can do. I swiped him with my claws and saw that I packed a punch. It only took a few hits to take him down. I was strong enough to get out of that fight, but he was just a little fish. I don't know if my claws will help me out of something much bigger. I was feeling tired after such an eventful day, so I made my way back to the shore to look for a place to rest. Hopefully I wouldn't run into that scientist again, but just in case, I needed to start getting prepared to fight. On day 2, I woke up and crawled out from under the tree. Today's the day I get set to fight back. If I was going to survive, I needed a safe place to live. I didn't know where that scientist was operating from, so I didn't feel safe building a base on land. I decided my best bet was in the water. Before I can get to building, I need the tools to do it. I immediately got punching some trees so that I could get some wood. With the wood, I made a crafting table and fashioned a pickaxe. Then I mined out some stone and used the stone to make a set of stone tools: a pickaxe, axe, shovel, and sword. With my new tools, I started gathering the materials I would need. Building a base out in the water was going to be an interesting challenge, but I think the final build is going to look really cool. While I was gathering some supplies in the forest, I saw a boar off in the distance. I don't think that barracuda could talk, but maybe this boar could help me out. I made my way over to him. Hey buddy, have you seen a scientist roaming around? The boar took one look at me and charged. Oh come on, I was just trying to figure out what's going on. This guy was hitting pretty hard, and I took quite a bit of damage. It's a good thing I had made myself a sword. I'm sorry for bothering you, but now you're just being rude. I used my sword and took him down. Alright, looks like I'm the only talking animal out here. Let's get back to work. I managed to gather a bunch of other materials and even came across an old boat. There were a lot of materials to grab, so I got as much as I could so my vision could come to life. I headed into the water and found a good spot to build my base on the seafloor. Using the materials I had gathered, I built a platform and started putting everything I would need together. It was going to be hard for the scientist to find me down here. I was able to make some really good progress, but I'd need to go find some more materials tomorrow. On day 3, I needed to get some more supplies, so I headed over to a nearby mountain. I made my way up to the top of the mountain and saw some watermelon. I went ahead and harvested them when suddenly I heard a strange noise. Huh? Where did that come from? I'm not letting someone sneak up on me again. I looked from side to side but didn't see anything. Maybe it was just the wind? What's that? I looked around just in time to see a giant bird swoop down and pick me up. Hey, let me go! What's the big idea? She didn't seem like she was trying to hurt me, but where could she be taking me? After a moment, I could see something huge in the distance. It was a giant nest. Uh-oh, I must be food for her babies. Moments later, the bird dropped me into the nest, and luckily the babies hadn't hatched yet, but I could hear something moving inside of the eggs. I had to get out of here.
Hey, you!
Who was that? I turned and saw a little squirrel standing there. Hey, you could talk. I was starting to think I was the only animal here that could.
Yeah, I can talk, but you hear that? These eggs are starting to crack, and we gotta get out of here.
You're a squirrel. Can't you just climb out of here?
The nest is made of mud. I can't get a good grip. If you can dig us out with your claws, though, I have a good way to get us to the ground.
The eggs started making even more cracking sounds. We had to hurry. tree. I started swinging my claws and managed to break through the walls of the nest. Oh man, that is a long way down. I hope you know what you're doing. The squirrel tossed me an umbrella. Suddenly, there was a big crack, and we heard some baby birds starting to tweet. Jump! The squirrel and I jumped off the nest and slowly floated down to the ground. Whew, that was a close call. I've been having a lot of those lately.
Don't tell me, did you run into that scientist too?
Yeah, what's that guy's problem?
He's been trying to round up all the talking animals. All I know is anyone he captures is never seen again. He must be experimenting on them, or something worse.
I could tell the squirrel must have lost some good friends to this scientist, but I didn't want to pressure her. Well, we can find a way to stop him. Come on, you can live in my base with me. We should be safe there. On days 4 to 5, the squirrel and I had made it to the beach closest to my base. That's when I realized she wasn't going to be able to live underwater with me, but I had an idea. By the way, what's your name?
My friends call me Sandy.
Sandy it is. Could you give me a hand collecting some sand? I know just the thing to build for you. Sandy and I spent some time gathering sand for me to use in the build. With all the sand collected, I loaded it into the furnace and started smelting it into glass. Just because she's a squirrel doesn't mean she can't live under the ocean. With the glass complete, I got to work on building her a house. My idea was to use the glass to create a dome on the seafloor that could then be filled with air for her to breathe. That way, she could live safely underwater, but still feel like she was living freely above ground. It was tricky working underwater, but in the end, I was able to get it to work. I think Sandy is going to love it. After telling Sandy I was done with her base, I hopped into the water and was suddenly attacked by a colossal squid.
Oh no, Zozo, let me help.
It's okay, I don't want you to get trapped underwater. I can take this guy. The squid was crazy strong. He hit hard, which was scary because I only had 5 hearts. I needed to do something, and fast. This is gonna hurt. I aimed for the squid's eye and landed a blow with my sword. That did the trick, and he was destroyed.
Nice going, Zozo. What's that?
I took a closer look and saw the giant squid had dropped something. This must have been trapped in his stomach. I went over and picked it up. Oh, awesome, it's a pile of sand. If I throw this at an enemy, it will cause them to have temporary blindness.
You know, this attack got me thinking. We need something to scare people and animals away from our base. I've got an idea, but I need to check some things first to see if it will work. Stay tuned.
On days 6 to 8, I was on the beach when I started feeling really hungry. Sheesh, it's been a while since I've had something to eat. I need to work on a food source. I decided that since my favorite food was meat, my best bet was to round up some different animals and keep them up on the shore. I set up a few different pens so I could keep all the animals I was going to collect in one place. With the pen set up, I made my way across the land and managed to find some sheep, some chickens, some pigs, and some cows. I led them all back towards the pen and got all of them locked up in their pens. As I was finishing up, I heard something in the distance. What's that sound? I looked towards the source of the sound. A couple of deer came running out of the trees.
You need to run. He's coming. He's coming.
You guys are talking animals. It must be the scientist. A moment later, I saw what was coming. It was the scientist. He was in a giant net firing machine. As the deer ran, he managed to capture them with a couple of leads. Oh no, I've got to help. I grabbed my pile of sand. Maybe this could help me. As I got closer to the scientist, he saw me.
You again. You're the one I want most of all.
He turned and started shooting at me. I tried throwing some sand at him as I made my way into the trees to try and throw him off.
Hey, where did you go?
The scientist drove through the trees looking for me, but couldn't see me hiding behind the tree. He seemed to be giving up.
Well, at least I can capture you two.
He was gonna leave with the deer. I had to stop him. I pulled out my pile of sand, then jumped next to the scientist. You didn't see this one coming. I threw the sand and got him right in the eyes.
Ah, what did you do? I can't see a thing.
The scientist kept trying to throw nets at me, but couldn't hit me. But in his rage, the deer had broken free. He was still too strong for me to fight, so I hurried and ran toward my base as the deer escaped into the forest. The scientist got way too close to my base. I better hide out for the night. On days 9 to 11, I returned back to my base to talk to Sandy. I told her everything that had happened with the scientist and that I had barely managed to escape.
It's okay, Zozo. We'll find a way to beat him and save everyone.
I don't know. I just feel like he's so much stronger than us, and he keeps making new upgraded weapons. Weapons we couldn't even beat in the first place.
If we don't have hope, what do we have? Giving up isn't going to solve the problem, so we have to keep fighting.
I suppose you're right. By the way, what was your idea for scaring enemies away from our base? That seems like just the thing we need right now.
Oh yeah, I just finished gathering everything I needed for the first part. Come give me a hand.
Sandy and I headed out and got to work. Sandy said she had spent the day getting supplies, and using those supplies, we'd be able to build a huge, terrifying statue. She wanted it to be a surprise though, so she didn't tell me what we were building, just where I needed to put the blocks. After a while, we had finished the first part. This is looking great, I think. Can you tell what it is? After a lot of building, Sandy and I were starting to feel pretty hungry, so Sandy suggested we build a farm. We got working on it right away. I had collected the animals for a food source, but since Sandy was a squirrel, she didn't eat meat. By the time we had finished building, Sandy's hunger was getting dangerously
dangerously low.
Hurry and plant the crops. I don't think I should risk moving too much. My hunger bar is getting really low.
Oh no, I only got enough plants to lure the animals into their pens. I'll go get some for you.
It's okay, but please hurry.
On days 12 to 13, I was exploring the land looking for seeds when I came across a small farm. A garden. This will have just what Sandy needs. But who lives here? Next to the garden was a small hut, so I went to knock on the door. I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I just took a little bit of their crops. But to my surprise, the door opened and a scientist was standing in the door. Oh no, another scientist! I gotta get out of here! I turned to run when the scientist called out to me.
Whoa there, hang on, little fella. I'm not gonna hurt you.
I stopped running and turned cautiously toward her. How do I know you're not going to hurt me?
I guess you don't, but I can tell by your face that you really need these crops. Come on in and let's talk. I think I can actually be of more help than you think.
She was right. Sandy's hunger levels were too low for me to risk wasting time looking for another food source. I headed inside the hut. So you have something that can help me?
I do. Information. I think it's important that you understand who that scientist is. That way you can defeat him.
Alright, I'm listening. Who is this guy?
The scientist used to be a coworker of mine. We spent years working on potions and inventions that would improve the lives of the animals around us. In our studies, we had discovered some animals possessed special abilities. Most of the time it was that they could talk, but every so often, one would come along that was capable of even greater power. One day, though, his wife disappeared, sending him into a spiral. He was on a path I couldn't follow, so I ran away. The scientist blamed the animals for what had happened to his wife, and he became obsessed with harvesting them and using their power to build a super weapon, one that would give him ultimate control over everyone. Any animals he extracts power from die in the process. He is powerful for sure, but one of the rare animals, one that possesses extraordinary abilities, can stop him. Zozo, you are one of those animals.
Me? I don't have any special abilities. I can hardly win any fights, and the last time I met up with the scientist, I barely made it out alive. There's no way you could be right about that.
I know it, Zozo, I do. You might not see it now, but I'm sure one day you will. I'm standing by and I'm ready to help how I can. Hang on to this radio and give me a call if you ever need help.
I picked up the radio, then she led me outside to the garden.
And here, you can take some peanuts from my garden.
I harvested some plants and peanuts, then left to head back to the base. Special powers? Maybe she knew something I didn't, but right now it just didn't make any sense. From days 14 to 15, I was making my way back to the base when I heard a familiar but terrifying sound above me. I looked up and couldn't believe what I was seeing. Oh no, it's that bird again, and this time it has some of its babies with it. I didn't want to be their breakfast before, and I didn't want to now. I still had a little bit of sand left over from my fight with the scientist. Maybe it could help me win here. Come and get it! The bird let out a screech, but I was ready. I took my pile of sand and threw it right in its eyes. The bird let out another yell and landed not too far away. Here, I've got some breakfast for you. I took my sword and quickly started to attack the bird. Since it was on the ground, it had no chance, and I was able to knock it out. That was one down, but I still had to deal with the kids. And now I was all out of sand. Come on down, kids. I've got some leftovers for you. The baby birds shrieked and dove down as well. They weren't nearly as strong or clever as the big bird, and so one by one, they flew straight into my swinging blade, taking them down for good. Flying is overrated. Swimming is the way to go. Suddenly, I felt energy beginning to course through my veins, and I evolved into a bigger Godzilla. Check it out. I even have 10 hearts. I was feeling much stronger than before, and found out that my roar could hurt enemies. My tail had become a weapon of its own too. On days 16 through 19, I made it back to the base and was grateful to see that Sandy was still alive. I gave her something to eat and then headed into the farm to plant the seeds so she'd have a renewable source of food as well. Just as I was finishing up, Sandy came running into the room.
Zozo, come quick. I need your help.
Sandy led me to another part of the base where she had started mining down into the earth.
While you were planting the farm, I went ahead and started working on a mine. I had mined into a cave system where there was some iron, but something attacked me. I didn't get a good look at what it was, but I was wondering if you could go check it out.
Sure thing, Sandy. I'll see what I can find. I headed down into the tunnel and soon emerged in the cave. I could see the iron Sandy had mentioned and walked over to it. Just then, a group of drowned attacked. Oof, these guys. This is a good chance to put my new abilities to the test. I quickly swung my tail and knocked them away from me. With them backed off, I then hit them with my roar attack, which hurt them from afar. Oh, sorry. Were you guys going somewhere? I then hopped in with my sword and started slashing away. I continued to use my new abilities in combination with my sword and was able to defeat them in no time. Well, with those guys out of the way, I might as well grab this iron. I then took out my pick and mined out all the iron I could find. With all the iron collected, I made my way back up to the base where I smelted down all of the iron and then used it to make a full set of iron armor and tools. On days 20 to 22, I was woken up by the sound of a crackle on my radio. I tuned the frequency to get a clearer sound.
Zozo, do you copy? Zozo, do you read me?
Hey, yes, I'm here. What's going on?
The mad scientist is heading your way. You're in danger.
Oh, no, it's okay. My whole base is underwater. He's not going to be able to reach me here.
You don't understand. He built a mech suit that will let him access your base. You need to get out of there, now.
I I hurried out of my base and swam up to the surface. I couldn't risk him getting into the base and hurting Sandy. I made my way to the beach. Maybe I could cut him off here. Just then, I saw the scientist approaching. The old woman was right. He was in an aquatic mech suit. I'm stronger now. I think I can take him. Soon, the scientist was before me.
Oh, someone's been eating their veggies. You're even more valuable to me now.
This has to stop. You're killing innocent animals.
Oh, boo-hoo. You don't even know what you are. You have a power inside of you just waiting to burst out, and I'm gonna get it.
The scientist revved his suit and fired a laser at me. I ran into the water to get some space between us. Before he could get me again, though, I let out a roar, which hurt him. I jumped closer and hit him with my tail, which seemed to put a dent in his machine. He didn't stay scared for long, though, and kept fighting back.
What is this power? Ooh, you're even stronger than you look.
He kept firing his laser beam at me, which really hurt. I had more health and armor than before, but I was taking some serious damage.
You can't win, Zozo. You're mine.
I rose up and swung with all my might, which caused his suit to start smoking. I swung again and again. I was winning.
Whoa, where's the strength coming from? I can't lose.
Before I could deliver the final blow, the scientist hit a button, ejecting him from his suit and launching him into the air.
This isn't over.
The scientist was gone for now, but if there was one thing I did learn, it's that the scientist isn't invincible. Next time we meet up, I'll be ready. On days 23 to 25, Sandy came and found me in my room. She suggested that we go search the wreckage of the scientist's machine. Maybe we'd find something. We headed up to the surface and took a look at where the scientist's machine had been destroyed. It looked like there was something in the wreckage. What's this? I picked it up and saw it was a stack of javelins. Oh, interesting. This will give me the chance to do some ranged attacks. I kept looking and saw that there was a notebook as well. I wonder what's inside. I picked it up and opened it up. If you were liking this video so far, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment on what adventure you think we should go on next. I don't know what that means. On days 26 to 29, Sandy and I headed back to the base to get some work done on the statue. I was pretty exhausted from the fight, so we thought this would be a good activity to take our minds off the conflict. It was coming along pretty well, I think. Can you tell what it is yet? We stopped working as Sandy explained to me that we were going to need some amber blocks and warped stems to get more work done. She suggested I head to a nearby island, as she heard I might be able to find some there. I'm on it. I leapt into the water and started swimming off in the direction Sandy had mentioned. In my bigger form, swimming was much faster than before. As I approached the island, I noticed something was already here. I reached the shore and saw it was infested with green snakes. If you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna squeeze by and grab what I need. Thanks. I made my way over to the blocks I needed and started mining them out. I was able to grab a bunch of them when I was suddenly attacked by the snakes. Guys, I just needed a little bit. These guys weren't talkers though, and they started fighting and snapping at me with their fangs. Hey, that hurts, knock it off. I smacked some of them away and then used some of the new javelins I had just gotten to keep them at a distance. By this combo, I managed to take them all out. Alrighty, back to business. I had gotten all of the blocks I needed, so I jumped back into the water to head home. On days 30 to 35, I was heading back to my base when I was suddenly attacked by a shark. Whoa, get out of here, you man-eater. The shark had a powerful bite, and it was doing a lot of damage, but he didn't know who he was messing with. Let's see how you like this. As the shark lined up to charge me, I pulled out my javelins and speared him. Turns out he didn't like it at all. He was hurt, but lined up to charge at me again. Suddenly, he turned and swam off in the other direction. Yeah, that's what I thought. You better run. I turned to keep swimming, but saw what made the shark swim off. There was a huge whale right behind me. Oh boy, please don't eat me.
Eat you? You don't look very good to eat.
Oh, you talk. In that case, nice to meet you.
Likewise. Say, I've been watching you fight. You're one brave guy. Do you think you could help me? This evil scientist captured my baby, and I need someone to rescue her.
Oh yeah, I'm well acquainted with this scientist. Do you know where she's being held? I'll do anything to stop that guy.
There's a holding pen not too far from here. I would go there myself, but my lack of arms stopped me from breaking through anything. It's actually pretty inconvenient.
Don't you worry. I'll get there as fast as I can. On days 36 to 40, I made my way to the holding pen. After a bit of swimming, I could see the enclosure. This must be it. I snuck in a little closer and could see that the holding pen was attached to what looked like a small base. There were several guards on the outside. Well, I'd like to avoid confronting them directly if possible. Let me see if I can get in contact with the baby whale. I hopped back into the water and swam over to the pen. I could see the baby whale inside. Hey there, little one. Your dad sent me to rescue you.
I'm so happy to see you. I don't know how much time I have. There used to be a lot more animals in here with me, but one by one, they were taken away and haven't come back. We're the only ones left.
Okay, hang on for as long as you can. I noticed there were a lot of guards out there, and I don't want to risk fighting all of them. Do you know if there's another way in?
I think there might be a water duct you can break into that leads into the enclosure. If you dig into the side of the hill on the east side of the base, you should hit it. Or was it the north side?
I can't remember. It's okay. I'm sure I can figure it out. I'll start digging and I'll see you soon. From days 41 to 43, I worked on digging my tunnel through the base. I feel like this is going great. I've got to be getting close. I think she was saying I need to start digging up right about now. I changed direction and started heading up. This was kind of a nice change to not be attacked head on. I felt like a proper secret agent. Suddenly, I burst through the surface and saw I was right in the middle of their base. Uh-oh, looks like I'm not a very good secret agent. I jumped out of the hole and the guards swarmed in and started to attack. There were more guys in here than I thought. They had caught me off guard and were really starting to take down my health. Oh, there's so many of them. But I still had my special moves. I let out a roar and was able to hurt some of the bad guys. I quickly started swinging my tail and hitting back. One by one, I was starting to take them out. There were so many of them, but I was a one monster wrecking machine. Maybe I do make a better action star than secret agent. Eventually, I was able to gain the upper hand and the entire base was clear. In one of the rooms, I saw a control panel with a couple of switches on it. I went ahead and flipped them. This must be controlling the gate. Alright, let's go save those animals. I made my way out of the main base and headed toward the holding tank. I went around to the exit to make sure the whale got out safely. Go on and be free, my friend. Just then, the big whale dad from before came swimming up as his daughter swam over to him.
Thank you, Zozo. I was afraid I would never see my daughter again. If you are ever in need of help, I will do everything I can to be there for you.
On days 44 to 49, I had arrived back at my base. I had nearly forgotten I had collected materials for my statue, so Sandy and I had gotten right to work building the next part. I think I'm starting to see what it's supposed to be. What about you? Next, I got to work building some guard towers above my base. If my run-ins with the scientists thus far had taught me anything, it was that I needed to be prepared for any kind of attack. Once the towers were complete, I decided to give them a test. That night, I lured some mobs into the area and led them right into my trap. The defenses worked perfectly. The scientist is going to be in for a nasty surprise if he tries to break in here. On days 50 to 53, I woke up to the sound of a crackle on the radio. It was another warning call that the scientist was coming. Again, good thing we laid those traps. He's not going to be able to get in this time. I swam to the top of the base to get a better look and saw it wasn't just the scientist attacking this time. He was standing in a helicopter with a squadron of robot sharks in the water.
I might not be able to swim in, but my elite shark squad can. Alpha team, attack!
The sharks immediately jumped into action. They were headed right for the base. I braced myself for a fight. The first few sharks got caught in the crossfire of my guard towers, which quickly took them out. Nice! Those worked perfectly. The next few sharks were much luckier though, and I was going to have to take them on myself. The sharks were putting up a good fight, but they were no match for my claws and sword. I also used my roar and spin attack, cutting through them bit by bit. With all of my attacks, I was able to rip through them and quickly took them out. Ha! This guy must be running out of ideas. Suddenly, I heard an explosion and saw some other robot sharks had blown a hole in Sandy's dome. A shark swam in, tied her up, and pulled her away.
Zozo, help!
They were taking Sandy. In my anger, my blood started to boil, and I could feel a rush of energy. Suddenly, I grew in size and leveled up. The scientist had gotten his hands on the rope and pulled Sandy into the helicopter. I started making my way toward them, but the scientist took out a rocket launcher, blowing up one of the towers.
Say goodbye to your little friend.
The scientist fired up his engine and flew off with Sandy. I was so mad. There were a couple of robot sharks nearby, and in my rage, I opened my mouth and shot out a stream of fire. This must be one of my new abilities. The fire destroyed them almost immediately. I've got to get Sandy back. On days 54 to 57, I was in the depths of despair. First things first though, I started to make repairs to the base. I couldn't believe I didn't protect Sandy from the scientist. She trusted me and I let her down, and I had no idea where the scientist's main base was. Then I had an idea. I headed over to the radio. Hey, are you there? Sandy was captured by the scientist, and I really need your help.
Zozo, I was just about to contact you. We have something to discuss, but I think it's best done in person.
I'll be there soon. I departed my base and headed to the old woman's house. When I arrived, she was waiting for me outside.
Zozo, thank you for coming.
Of course, what's going on?
I lied to you earlier. The scientist's wife, she didn't die. I'm his wife.
What? Why didn't you say so before?
I was afraid the truth would be too much for you and make you refuse to work with me.
So why are you telling me now? How can I know anything you've told me is true?
Everything else I have told you is true, but there is more to the story. My husband was a brilliant man, but we were under pressure to deliver our findings by a corrupt mayor of the nearby city. We were his prisoners, and the experience turned my husband to madness. I believe there is still good in him.
So what are you suggesting?
I know you must hate him, but please don't hurt him. I think he can come back to the light.
No promises, but I'll see what I can do. Rescuing Sandy is my #1 priority. She thanked me and told me the location to the scientist's base. It wasn't going to be easy to infiltrate, so I needed to head back to my base to prepare. On days 58 to 62, I returned back to my base and headed into the mine. I was still using subpar gear and was hoping to find some diamonds. I was still sad about Sandy being gone, but I needed to stay focused. After a bit of exploring, I soon saw diamonds. Just what I was looking for. I mined all of the diamonds I needed, but as I went further into the cave, there was some lava blocking my path. Just then, I heard a roar behind me and saw a black bear had me cornered, but I wasn't worried. Impressive, but I can roar too. I opened my mouth and fired my fire breath at him. He didn't like that at all and attacked.
attacked. I can go claw to claw with you, no problem. The bear swiped at me as I fought back. He was strong, but he didn't know what he was getting himself into. We exchanged blows as I shot him with my fire breath. After a bit, I took him out with ease. With my pockets full of diamonds, I headed back up into the base and got to work crafting. In no time, I had crafted myself a full set of diamond armor and equipped it. I'd like to see anyone try and pierce this armor. On days 63 to 66, I got back to work on the statue. Sandy wasn't around to tell me what we were building, but I felt like I had a good idea of where we were going with it. I would have loved to finish it, but it didn't feel right to do it without Sandy, so I decided to wait a little bit longer so we could finish it together. I'm all ready to go, but before I do, I'm told there's a red sub button you can press. The more subs we have in our navy, the stronger we'll be. On days 67 to 70, I left my base and traveled across the land toward the scientists' headquarters. After a while, I saw some buildings beginning to appear on the horizon. That must be it. I had no idea there was such a large city nearby. As I got closer to the base, I saw it was well protected, with guards positioned all over the outside of the base. It didn't matter though. I was angry, and no one was going to keep me out. Sandy, I'm coming for ya! I ran up to the guards and started to attack, as the guards took aim and started to fire. These guys were elite troops, and I could feel the strength of their shots, but so far, my armor was holding up. Where's the scientist? The guards didn't seem interested in my questions and kept attacking. I was making my way through the guards, using every attack in my arsenal. The place was starting to catch fire, but soon enough, I cleared out all of the guards. Time to get in there and see what's going on. On days 71 to 74, I entered further into the base, attacking more guards along the way. There were a bunch of them stationed in the lobby, but as much as they tried to take me down, they stood no chance against my flurry of attacks. Once they were all destroyed, I entered the next room, which was full of animals in cages. Don't worry guys, I'll get you out. I quickly attacked all of the guards in the room. They really didn't seem to appreciate my fire breath. Soon enough, I had taken them all out. I then headed over to the wall and pressed a button, which released them all from their cages. Be free, my friends. Just then, I saw a bear had started attacking another animal. That's when I noticed he was a robot bear. Oh no! I quickly ran over and started fighting him, taking him out as quick as I could. But there were some robot ducks that had started attacking me too. How could the scientists do this to the animals? I managed to fight them all off too. I've got to find Sandy, and quick! I headed into another room and saw a few more animals in cages. I was careful to check and be sure they weren't robots before breaking them out. I took out some more guards and then saw a strange object floating over a block. What could this be? I stepped closer and picked it up. It was a new whirlwind attack. Oh cool, I can't wait to test this out. Just then, another group of robot animals appeared, and I was shocked by who was leading them. Sandy, what have they done to you? The group of animals attacked, including Sandy. It was no use. It wasn't the Sandy I knew and loved. She had been experimented on and turned into a robot. I focused on fighting off the other animals, but I couldn't bring myself to fight Sandy. I was able to take a few of them out, but what was I gonna do about Sandy? Sandy, it's me! I was so distracted trying to run away, I didn't notice that more guards had come into the room. They immediately started to attack me. This was a fight I couldn't win. They cornered me against a wall and then shot me with a tranquilizer dart, putting me to sleep. On day 75 to 78, I woke up in a cage. I've got to get out of here. I looked for my pickaxe, but they must have taken it from me. There was no way for me to break myself out.
Going somewhere? I made this cage especially for you. You'll never be able to break out.
You can do whatever you want. Just let Sandy go. As I said this, I noticed that Sandy turned and looked at me.
Ooh, do you feel sad for your friend? Boo-hoo. I'll tell you what, maybe I won't destroy you. Maybe I'll just turn you into a robot, just like her. Then you can play with your little friend all day.
You're gonna pay for this. It doesn't matter what you do. Good always triumphs over evil. As I said this, Sandy started to shake, and her circuit started to make a crackling noise.
Zozo.
The scientist turned and looked at her.
What? She's overpowering the mind control.
Suddenly, Sandy ran over to the cage release and hit the button, freeing me from my cage. You're in for it now.
Oh no!
The scientist ran out of the room. Before I chased after him though, I took a look at Sandy.
Go, Zozo. The mind control is taking back over. I don't want to fight.
Without wasting another moment, I took off after the scientist. He hadn't gotten very far, as he had just run into the other room. But that's because he managed to get himself into a fancy mech suit.
Enough games. I'm going to end this now.
The scientist attacked. His weapon was way stronger than I was expecting, but I was way stronger than even he knew. I hit him with everything I had. I used my weapons, swung my tail, and shot him with my fire breath.
So much strength. You would make me invincible.
The scientist fought right back, using every method he could to make sure I really felt it. He fired his weapons and was able to move quickly around the room. At one point, I was down to just a few hearts.
Time to say goodbye.
Just then, I noticed he was standing next to some TNT. Goodbye. I shot my fire breath and hit the TNT, which knocked him out of his suit. He slumped down against the wall.
No, I must complete my mission.
Just then, I noticed a control panel on the other side of the room, labeled Mind Control. This can free Sandy. I hurried over to the switch and flipped it. To my surprise, I heard a crackling sound and saw it was coming from the scientist. He had been under mind control.
Zozo, thank you. I'm so sorry.
Who did this to you?
It was the mayor. He told me he would destroy my wife if I didn't keep working for him. I refused, but he did this to me and forced me to comply. I'm just glad she got away.
It's not too late. I can get you a health potion or something.
No, it is too late for me. I'm allergic to potions. I know, it's really inconvenient. Tell my wife I'm sorry.
He put his head down and was gone. I'll tell her. I'm sorry things couldn't have been different. I'll find the evil mayor and make things right. On day 79 to 84, I headed back to the other room to find Sandy. I was on my way back when she found me.
Zozo, my mind has been free. You must have defeated the scientist.
I explained to Sandy everything that had happened, including that the scientist wasn't really the bad guy. It was the mayor this whole time.
Oh no. Well, let's take a look around here. The scientist was working on a weapon. We better find it and destroy it.
Sandy and I took off, taking a look around the base. I noticed that the base was empty now. The guards must have been under mind control too. As we walked into one of the rooms, we saw a strange glowing object floating on a platform. Sandy picked it up and set it down in front of me so I could take a closer look too. It doesn't look like a weapon, but it definitely looks like something powerful. What do you think, Sandy? But before Sandy can answer, a man in a suit came strolling into the room, stopping in front of the glowing object. This had to be the mayor.
Yeah, you two certainly tried, but I'm sorry to tell you, you failed. That nerd had pretty much finished the weapon, and there's nothing you losers can do about it. The people of this city tried to kick me out of my job, but I'll show them who the top dog is.
The mayor picked up the glowing weapon. There was a blinding light, and as the light faded, we could see he had turned into a Mecha Godzilla. He was as big as a building.
Ha ha ha! Good luck stopping me now!
The mayor turned and headed toward the city, breaking everything in his path. Suddenly, he began shooting lasers out of his eyes as he smashed the buildings.
This is what happens to those who dare oppose me. You citizens can cower in your buildings all you want. I will find you and I will destroy this entire city.
Come on, Sandy, let's get out of here. He's way too strong. He'll crush us. On days 85 to 89, Sandy and I arrived back at our base. It was good to have her back home, but I was still feeling like a failure. I feel like I can't do anything right. I couldn't save the scientist, and the mayor got his hands on the weapon. Now thousands of people are going to die.
You can't be so hard on yourself, Zozo. The fight isn't over. It's not much, but they should help. I stole them from the lab.
Sandy tossed out a few bars of netherite. Thanks, Sandy. I can max out my gear with this. And you know what? Now that you're back, we should finish our statue. It only feels right. I made a quick stop at an anvil and used it to upgrade all my gear to netherite. It made me feel a little bit better knowing I would be fully protected. I then met Sandy out at the statue and we got to work finishing it up. Doing so was helping me come out of my slump. I still didn't know how we could defeat the mayor, but my confidence was increasing. There was just one more thing I had to do. But before moving to that, we finished the statue. So what do you think? Did you guess what it was? No sailor's gonna feel safe coming near our base with this. Next up, I headed off to the old woman's house. Unfortunately, I only had the bad news of her husband's death to share with her. She greeted me outside.
I can tell by your face you have bad news for me. It's okay. I'm sure you did your best.
I think it's important that you know the truth. Your husband was forced to do all this work after being put under mind control by the mayor. In his final moments, he was himself and wanted me to tell you he was sorry. I could see that there were tears in her eyes.
Thank you for coming and telling me. I should have known that mayor was behind everything.
I explained to her the situation and how the mayor was currently on a rampage in the city. The mention of that seemed to shock her.
He used it? While you have been gone, I've been researching why my husband was so focused on capturing you. I couldn't quite figure it out, but I'm positive that the weapon wouldn't have been safe for someone to use without your power added to it.
Well, it certainly seemed to work just fine, regardless of any power I have. He seems to be pretty strong himself. Just then, she perked up with an idea.
You know, if there's one thing I knew about my husband, it's that he was incredibly thorough in his work. He never completed a project without having a backup.
But Sandy and I searched all over the base and didn't see anything like what we found.
Is there another lab somewhere out there?
Just then, I remembered the other pen where the baby whale was being kept. There could be something there. On days 90 to 94, I arrived back at the pen where the baby whale had been kept captive. The base was completely empty now, except that it had been overrun by charged creepers. Oh, stay away from me! I managed to fight through the mobs and make my way into the base. Inside the base, there were some skeletons, and they started firing their bows at me. Get your airheads out of here. I managed to hit them with fire breath and fight through them. As I searched the base, I had to keep fighting my way through the mobs. After I had destroyed them, I noticed there was a switch hiding behind one of the columns. What does this do? I flipped the switch, and a secret door opened up. I got closer to see what was hanging on the wall. There it is, a backup of the weapon. I stepped forward and picked it up, taking special care not to activate it. I better hurry and get this back to my base. On days 95 to 96, I returned back to my base and met up with Sandy. Sandy, I found the backup of the weapon. What do you think we should do with it?
Oh wow, nice work. I think it's clear, don't you?
I agree. You should take it. You'll be the biggest squirrel the world has ever seen.
Well, I'm sure everyone would want to see that. You know it has to be you. Everything you have done has led you to this moment. You were made to save the city.
Well, I can certainly try my best. I wish we knew more about this, though. So many animals had to die for this to be made.
And so many more animals and people will die if the mayor isn't stopped. They'd want their sacrifice to be for someone who would save others, not hurt them.
I nodded. Sandy always knew just what to say.
And here, I managed to catch something that will help you.
Sandy tossed out several enchanted books. These will be perfect. Thanks, Sandy. I grabbed the books and headed over to the anvil. By using all of the books, I was able to give my weapons and armor some impressive upgrades. I couldn't have been more powered up. It's time to end this. On days 97 to 98, Sandy and I swam back up to the shore near our base. This is it, the final battle. If I don't win here, that's it for me. If you've been enjoying the journey so far, let me know by giving me a like and a sub. I promise to always fight my hardest to win. With that said, Sandy and I headed in the direction of the city. The mayor wasn't going to see this coming. On day 99, we ran up to the outskirts of the city. In the distance, we could see the mayor standing amongst the buildings. So much destruction. I can see now that the mayor has lost control of his own mind. Seeing him like that scared me. Is that going to happen to me too?
Do you remember what happened when you were fighting the scientist? The power of our friendship pulled me out of the mind control. This is the same tech. I won't let anything happen to you.
I trust you, Sandy. Let's finish what we started. I moved into the city and got as close as I could get to the mayor without putting myself in danger. Hey, mayor! Why don't you pick on someone your own size? The mayor turned to look at me. I pulled out the secret weapon and activated it. There was a flash of light and I started to grow. It felt strange, but I could feel the power coursing through me. I couldn't help but feel like this was part of my destiny all along.
How is this possible? That scientist, he betrayed me.
I waited for the madness to take over, but nothing happened. Just then, it clicked. The scientist needed my power to stabilize the mind of the weapon's user, but since I was the user, all it did was power me up. Your reign of terror is over. The people of this city deserve better. The mayor and I charged at each other, exchanging blows. The mayor was strong, but with my new power, I had never felt better.
You think this makes you special? You can't save anyone. You couldn't save the scientist, let alone an entire city.
His words hurt, but I knew the scientist would have wanted me to stop this mayor. If not for you, no one would have needed to be saved. No one would have ever gotten hurt. The scientist saw you for who you really were, a fraud. This made the mayor even more mad, and he unleashed a flurry of attacks, which nearly took down all of my health. I had to finish this. I took one big final breath and unleashed the most powerful fire blast I had ever created.
No!
The mayor crumbled to the ground and disappeared. I rushed back over to Sandy.
Zozo, you did it. Let's go home.
On day 100, we returned back to the base. I was too big to fit in the base, but Sandy said she was going to keep living there anyway. I had gotten used to living in the water, so I swam back down into the sea. If the people of the city ever needed me again, they'd know just where to find me. On day 1, I spawned in as Black Panther. I only have 4 hearts. That doesn't seem like a lot for a superhero, but I can move quickly thanks to my cat-like reflexes. And it looks like I have vibranium claws too. Neat! Hey look, there's a waterfall right behind me. And there's some kind of skeleton with a giant battle axe? What is he doing here? Uh-oh, are we about to fight? Bring it on! The skeleton ran at me and swung his weapon, but with my cat-like reflexes, I dodged him easily. I ran up behind him and hit him with my claws. These claws were really powerful. Whoa, he fell right over the waterfall. I won! Too bad I can't get any loot from that skeleton because he fell down so far. I really wanted that cool battle axe. I decided to go to the bottom of the waterfall and look to see if I could find it. When I got there, I saw that the skeleton was still standing. He ran at me again, but this time I faced him head on. He was no match. And look at that, he dropped the battle axe. It's not vibranium, but it's still pretty cool. I wonder where that skeleton got it. I decided to take shelter in a cave under the waterfall and relax for the rest of the day. On day 2, I was woken up by the sounds of an angry gorilla. It had come out from the back of the cave and was trying to attack me. I looked at it a little closer and realized that it wasn't an ordinary gorilla. It was a zombie ape. Ah, get away from me, zombie! Don't make me use my new weapon. I ran away from the zombie ape and out into the sunlight where it didn't want to follow me. I guess that it was one of those mobs that take damage in the daytime. It was an undead just like the skeleton I fought yesterday. Maybe they were common in this area. I decided to leave the waterfall behind and follow the river towards the grasslands. Whoa, there are so many animals here. I could see a rhino and a giraffe, and it looked like they weren't zombies. Thank goodness. I guess I'll let them eat grass in peace, especially because I was starting to get hungry too. I saw some berry bushes, so I started punching them to gather food. Once I got enough, I refilled my canteen in the river. Surviving would be a lot easier now, and if I got into a fight, I already had some pretty good weapons. Still, I thought it might be good to build a shelter in case the zombies came out at night. I used the battle axe I got from the skeleton to chop down trees. I soon had enough wood to make a small hut and bed. It was almost nighttime, so I went inside and went to sleep. When I woke up on day 3, I noticed that there was a tree outside that wasn't there yesterday. It was really big and looked ancient and magical. There was a glowing panther spirit sitting in the branches. I made my way over to the magic tree, and the panther spirit started talking to me. to me.
Zozo, this land needs your protection.
Oh, it looked like I was going to get a superhero quest. I stood there and I listened closely.
We are under attack by an undead warlord to the west of the grasslands. He is turning everything into zombies and skeletons. You must stop him.
An undead warlord? That sounded scary, and he was probably really strong. I'd need a lot more than 4 hearts to take him on, but I couldn't just ignore a quest from the Panther spirit. The people and animals needed my help too, and maybe there was a way to turn the animals that had already become zombies back to normal.
Journey westward, and you will find his evil lair.
I spent the rest of the day gathering supplies for my journey and practicing with my weapons on any mobs I could find. On days 4 to 5, I traveled from my hut in the grasslands all the way to the heart of the desert. According to the Panther spirit, I was heading in the right direction to reach the Overlord's lair. Before long, I saw a zombie boar wandering around in the sand. Oh no, looks like the Overlord has already turned the animals in the desert into zombies. The zombie boar charged me, and I lost a bit of health. I had to protect myself, so I drew my battle axe and took a couple swings. I'm sorry, Mr. Boar. The fight was over in no time. I spotted an oasis nearby. I had been traveling for a long time, and night would be here soon. I didn't want to be caught outside if more zombies showed up, so I gathered some wood from the palm trees and set up camp. I had just finished my little oasis hut when a genie appeared out of thin air. I thought I was going to get 3 wishes at first, but then he spoke, and I knew he wasn't the nice kind of genie.
Who dares come to my oasis without an invitation?
I said I was sorry and that I just needed somewhere to spend the night, but the genie created a sandstorm, and suddenly the oasis was gone. He may not have granted me any wishes, but he had left an item behind in the sand. I went to pick it up, and it turned out to be a brand new pair of Roadrunner boots. Awesome, now my movement over the sand will be twice as fast. On days 6 to 8, I was still in the desert when I saw a gigantic archway made of bones. There was a skeleton warrior underneath it, and he was carrying an obsidian shield and spear. It didn't look like he was going to let me pass without a fight. I put my battle axe away and got my vibranium claws ready.
You cannot go any further. I am the Skull Guardian, and you can't beat me.
He seemed serious, but I had to try. If I couldn't win here, there was no way I could beat the Overlord. I attacked him, but even my vibranium claws couldn't get through his shield. It was too tough, even for obsidian, and his spear kept damaging me. I was almost out of health. The only thing I could do to survive was run away. Good thing I had those Roadrunner boots. I turned around and got out of there. The Skull Guardian stayed at the archway and shouted after me.
You are too weak. Come back when you are stronger.
Maybe I still needed some more training. While I was running away though, I was spotted by a group of hoglins. I could have easily run away from them, but I was tired of running. I stopped and decided to face them. I took out my claws and defeated each and every one of them. When I defeated the last hoglin, I suddenly felt something inside of me. I grew into an even bigger Black Panther with more hearts. I also saw that the hoglins had dropped a ton of leather. I could use this when I got back to my base. On days 9 to 10, I went back to the grasslands to expand my hut into a base. I used some sandstone from the desert to make it into a small tower and crafted myself a full set of leather armor too. I then crafted a shovel. I felt a pull to this area for some reason, like it was calling to me, so I dug down until I hit some stone. There, I had an entrance to a mine beneath the tower now. I'd have to check it out further later. I built more furniture inside the base. Using wood I was able to gather from a bunch of trees in the grasslands. The one tree that I didn't use for wood was the ancient spirit tree. The Panther spirit wasn't there, but I was hoping that maybe it would show up to help me again. I definitely needed some advice on how to defeat the Skull Guardian. If I couldn't beat him, I would never be able to defeat the Overlord and save this land from zombification. On days 11 to 12, I was walking along the river when I saw the zombie ape from the cave splashing around in the water. Had it followed me all the way to the grasslands? It really might have, because it noticed me and ran up to attack. I was a lot stronger now though. This ape didn't know what he was getting himself into. Sure enough, I was able to win against the zombie ape that I ran away from on day 2. I looked at the river to see a water elemental emerging from below the surface.
Thank you. That zombie had taken over my home behind the waterfall, and last night it chased me all the way here to the grasslands.
Who are you?
I am the spirit of the river, and I can see that you are a great hero. This land needs a protector, and I'm glad you were here to save me.
I'm not that great of a hero yet. I need to beat the Skull Guardian, or I'll never save the animals.
Have faith in yourself. I am friends with the Panther spirit, and he believes you can do this.
But last time I fought against him, I didn't even damage him, and he almost took all of my health.
The only reason you lost to the Skull Guardian was because he had an enchantment cast on him that shields him from the attacks of the living.
The spirit of the river handed me a potion.
Drink this potion, and your claws will be able to strike true. That should make it a fair fight.
I said thank you to the spirit. If so many beings were counting on me, I couldn't give up. On days 13 to 15, I decided to check out my mine again, but first, I needed to grab my pickaxe. I still felt something drawing me to dig deeper, so I started digging down. Whoa, what's that? It was a strange material. Vibranium! Turns out, there was a lot of it just below the surface. This land must be rich in it or something. Either that, or I just discovered the only vibranium mine around. I gathered a bunch of it and went to my base to see what I could craft. It turned out, I could make a full set of vibranium armor and tools. Super! I have some serious armor now. My base is also looking way cooler. It's tricked out with vibranium walls and minecart rails. I kept the ancient tree protected in its own little courtyard, and and made sure to give it plenty of water. I also remembered to plant trees around the grasslands so that I get more wood in the future. On days 16 to 19, I was making my way back through the desert when I ran into a group of husks, and it looked like they wanted to meet the Black Panther up close and personal. The husks attacked me, but I fought back, clawing away at them. Take that, you dried out no-good zombie, and here's one for you, you wannabe mummy. Before I knew it, I had beaten the whole group, but then I heard something and turned around. There was one more husk, and this one was way bigger than the others. That's a huge husk. I wasn't scared though, and I rushed right in to face him. The huge husk hit a lot harder than his little brothers, but his skin was just as soft as theirs, and before long, he was down for the count too. You know, I was glad those husks attacked me though. It was good practice for my claws, since I knew I'd be facing the Skull Guardian soon. On days 20 to 22, I reached the archway where the Skull Guardian was waiting and challenged him to a fight.
So, you think you can beat me this time?
Sure I can. Watch this. I drank the potion that the water elemental gave me, and now my attacks could actually damage him. I still had to keep my guard up and dodge a spear attack, but even his shield couldn't stop my vibranium claws this time. After several hits, he finally went down and dropped a skeleton key. A skeleton key? Was this thing made from the skull of the guy I had just defeated? Gross. This would probably come in handy later though, so I made sure to take it with me. My journey continued on, and soon I made it out of the desert to a wasteland. I'd have time to explore it soon, but for now, I decided to get back to my base, but not in the way you might be thinking. On days 23 to 26, I decided I didn't want to have to cross through the desert again in case I ever wanted to come back here, so I decided to build a massive tunnel back to my base. I dug down a little ways and then started tunneling in the direction of my base, placing torches as I went. It took a long time, but eventually I got to where I thought my base should be and tunneled up out of the ground. I popped up right in front of my base. How's that for good luck? When I got to the door of my base though, I saw there was a package waiting for me with a note attached to it. This must be from the water elemental. I could tell because it was all wet. The note read,
Dear Zozo, you're doing great. I knew you could defeat the Skull Guardian. Included are some potions that should make your journey easier. P.S. If you're liking the video, make sure you search for other Zozo videos at ZOZO to see more adventures he's been on.
Yep, definitely weird, but when I opened the package, I saw it was full of experience potions. Nice! I drank the potions and felt myself starting to change. I grew bigger and had more hearts, too. On days 27 to 31, I upgraded my base to look a little nicer, since Black Panther is a king after all. I started a statue outside too, something that I knew would inspire me every time I came back to my base. I know it's only the very start, but can you tell what it is yet? Next, I laid down some track in the tunnel so I could quickly get back to the wasteland using a minecart. When my minecart ride was over, I exited the tunnel and took a look around the wasteland to see if I could find any sign of the Overlord's lair. That's when I noticed a small village hidden among the rocky hills of the wasteland. The villagers there said they'd been attacked by zombies, and some of them had even gotten turned into zombies.
Our iron golem was supposed to protect the village, but it's been broken for a long time.
Don't worry, I have an idea for how to fix it.
You're the best.
On days 32 to 35, I gathered more vibranium from the mines at my base so I could use it to upgrade the village's iron golem. It would be 4 times as strong as an iron golem would be, so the villagers would have nothing to worry about from invading monsters. I was really starting to get creative at using vibranium in my creations, and I soon realized that the material had another special ability I could use to improve my base's defenses. Vibranium could generate force fields, and with a little bit of tinkering, I was able to make a force field dome around the whole base. Let's see those zombie animals try to get inside now. On days 36 to 39, I returned to the wasteland village and used the vibranium to upgrade their iron golem. Now they had their very own vibranium golem.
Hooray! You saved our village!
It sure does feel good to be the good guy. Now I could ask them to help me in my quest. I'm looking for the evil overlord who has been making zombies. Do you know where I can find him?
No one here knows. You should go speak to the shaman of the mountains.
Thanks. On days 40 to 43, I trekked up the snowy mountains and found the lair of the shaman. It was guarded by a friendly snow golem. They didn't bother me, probably because they knew what a hero I was. Inside of a long wooden house was the shaman. They had so many magical potions on their shelves, including ones I had never seen.
So, you must be the one I've been hearing about. I've got an idea for something that might be able to help you in your quest.
I'm all ears.
I'm working on a potion that can turn zombies back into normal animals and people, but I need magic flowers from the jungle in order to complete the recipe.
You can count on me, shaman. On days 44 to 49, I headed deep into the jungle in search of the flowers the shaman needed. Eventually, I saw it, the hill shaped like a skull where the flowers were supposed to be. I fought my way up the hill. Eventually, I got to the top. Phew, that was a tough climb even without a bunch of mutants. No wonder the shaman needed someone to get these for him. And then I saw them. At the very top of the hill, inside the skull, were the flowers. I ran up to the flowers and tried to pick them up, but they were stuck. I couldn't pick them. That's when I realized they weren't stuck to the ground. They were actually part of a giant plant monster. The giant plant monster rose out of the ground, the flower still on top of his head. I don't suppose you'd let me have some of your flowers. But the plant monster didn't want to talk. It wanted to fight. It was a tough enemy. I had to avoid its poisonous plant breath attack and be careful not to get punched by it. It hit super hard, but eventually I took it down and it left one of its flowers as loot. suit. Awesome, now I can leave this crazy place. On days 50 to 53, I returned to the shaman. I invited them to come stay at my base while they finished the potion. When we got there, I built an area for the shaman to stay and work, complete with a nice big cauldron for magical potions.
Just a bit more fine-tuning, and my anti-zombie potion will be complete. Thanks again for getting those flowers.
You're welcome. You could have mentioned the giant poisonous plant monster, but really, I'm just glad to have helped.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Here, take this as an apology.
The shaman tossed something at me. When I picked it up, I realized it gave me a new recipe. It was an upgrade ability for my suit that allowed me to build in some of the vibranium force field tech. Now when the enemies tried to hit me, I could blast them away. Now that's what I call a powerful ability. On days 54 to 57, the shaman and I went into the grasslands and tested the potion on some of the zombie animals. Wow, it actually works! We started turning animals back, one by one, until we got almost all the animals in the grasslands.
We've got plenty of more where that came from back at the base.
I didn't know what I'd do without the shaman.
Watch out!
Suddenly, the shaman pushed me aside. I was about to ask why when a giant beam of pure evil power shot down from above, and in seconds, the shaman was gone. Oh no, that must have been the Overlord. He must have been aiming for me. I started to run, zigging and zagging as beams shot down from above. I kept running until I saw a cave and jumped in, just before a beam could hit me. On days 58 to 62, I waited in the cave until I didn't hear any more powerful beams outside. But what I did hear was something deeper in the cave. I turned around to see a spider leaping at me. Time to try out my new force field ability. I blasted him. Looks like it works just fine. I practiced with my new force field ability some more, and when I was sure I had the hang of it, I finally defeated the spider. With the spider defeated, I remembered the shaman and how quickly the Overlord's attack had appeared. How was I ever going to defeat him? It didn't matter. I had to figure out a way, since that's what superheroes do. I knew there was still a lot of anti-zombie potion left, so at least the shaman's sacrifice was not in vain. Soon, this land would be safe from zombies. I would make sure of it. On days 63 to 66, I snuck out of the cave and went back to my base, where I gathered up all the anti-zombie potions the shaman had made. Before I left, I wanted to do some work on my statue. I needed something to cheer me up after all that had happened, and I knew a great statue like this would encourage me every time I saw it. So what about now? Can you tell what I'm making yet? I took anti-zombie potions back to the wasteland, and every time I encountered a group of zombies, I used the potions on them to turn them back into villagers. Then I sent them to go live at the village, protected by the vibranium golem. The villagers were happy to see so many people get changed back and sent me a letter to say thank you.
Keep it up. We've got more villagers now than ever before. Our little village keeps growing, just like your number of subscribers. And we hope everyone watching joins your village of subscribers too.
Oh, thanks guys. On days 67 to 70, while exploring the wasteland and saving more villagers from their zombified fate, I finally saw something far off in the distance. It was the evil lair that the Panther Spirit and the River Spirit had told me about. I was sure that the Overlord was in there. I could feel it, but it wasn't going to be easy getting to it since I could see that between me and the base was an enormous chasm. It looks like it went all the way around the base with no clear way to get across. I didn't have much time to think about it though, because suddenly I was attacked by a group of zombie apes. You guys again? Haven't you had enough of being zombies? I went to throw an anti-zombie potion at them when I realized I was all out. Oh no! I didn't want to fight them, but I was surrounded. It didn't look like I'd have much of a choice. With no way to turn them back to normal apes, I had to deal with them the old-fashioned way, with my claws. There were a lot of undead apes, but I was able to put all my skills and abilities to use, dodging their attacks and rushing in to land my own. Finally, the last of them had been taken care of. Phew, sorry about that guys. I promise to make sure I have a full stack of anti-zombie potions next time. I could still see the Overlord's base far off in the distance. It was far enough away that it would probably take me a while to reach it, and then I'd have to deal with that huge chasm. I had a plan for that though, but first, I'd need to return to my base. On day 71 to 74, I built my coolest vibranium invention yet, an aircraft with vibranium-powered levitation devices built into the wings. The only thing scarier than a Black Panther is a flying Black Panther. With my new aircraft, I'd be able to fly right over that giant chasm and drop in right on top of the Overlord. Before taking it out to the wasteland though, I decided I should practice around my own base. Alright, here we go. The first test flight of the Wakanda 1 aircraft. It worked! The aircraft lifted into the sky. The Overlord would never know what hit him. I practiced flying around, doing circles around my base, gradually getting further and further away as I got more comfortable. Whoa! I was still getting used to the controls though, and almost crashed into a river. Luckily, I was able to pull up at the last moment, and before long, I had the controls down and the aircraft was soaring like a bird. On days 75 to 78, I flew the vibranium aircraft to the Overlord's lair, passing right over the giant chasm. Wow, from up here, it looks like it doesn't even have a bottom. Good thing I didn't try to cross it on foot. Before I left my base, I had made sure to fill the cargo hold with plenty of anti-zombie potions. Time to save this land from tyranny. From high in the air, I could see a group of zombie apes in the lair's courtyard. I decided to drop a bunch of potions down at them from the airship, turning them back into normal gorillas. I kept raining down potions wherever I saw undead, and soon everything was back to normal. There was only one thing left to do. I landed the aircraft on the roof, which I thought should give me direct access to the Overlord's throne room. I stepped inside the throne room and saw that I was right. There was the Overlord waiting for me.
You dare interfere with my plans? I will make you a zombie next, and then everyone and everything you know will become my zombies.
He swung his weapon at me, but my suit's armor was strong strong enough to keep the damage low. I blasted him back with my force field and then used my vibranium claws to land a couple good hits.
You cannot defeat me. I am the Overlord.
Watch me. Swung my hardest and knocked him down with my claws. Strangely though, he just started laughing. He started to glow and rise into the air.
You fool. All you've accomplished is releasing me from my zombie body, and soon I will be the mightiest being in the world.
Uh-oh, I may have really messed up here. The Overlord, now a super powerful evil spirit, vanished. It looks like I had just released an even greater bad guy. On days 79 to 84, I used my aircraft to return to the River Spirit. I wanted to see if I could get any answers on how to defeat the Overlord's new spirit form.
Well, the good news is he can't go back into his body now that he's a spirit.
What's the bad news?
The bad news is only full spirits can fight other spirits, and I'm not strong enough alone. Perhaps I could. No, it's impossible.
What? What's your idea?
Well, there is one thing that might work. I'm able to impart some of my river powers on others, but it's far too dangerous. You're not nearly strong enough to survive it.
But if I was able to handle you giving me some of your river powers, could that turn the tide?
Maybe, but you'll need to become much stronger both in body and mind if you want to withstand my powers.
I had to stop the Overlord, and this seemed like the only way, so there was only one thing for me to do: get stronger. It was time to start training. On days 85 to 89, I returned to my base and built some new areas where I could start training my body and mind. For physical strength, I built a dojo near the Panther Spirit's tree, complete with dummies that I could practice my attacks on. I had an even better idea for how to make my mind stronger, but to make it a reality first, I had to finish my statue. I completed my statue and stood back to look at it. I thought it looked great and felt mentally stronger just from gazing at the powerful panther emerging from the mountain. But it still needed one more thing. I decided to build a meditation spot right under its mouth, somewhere that I could focus and strengthen my mind. After training both in body and mind, I returned to the River Spirit, but he quickly sent me away, telling me I wasn't nearly strong enough yet. I returned to my base again to train, and this time the Panther Spirit himself appeared in my dojo. He told me that he trained with me so I could get better at fighting even quicker. I had an idea for how to improve my meditation training too. I went back to the statue and made it so that the water would pour out of its mouth, creating a waterfall. I then built an area right where the water hit the ground where I could sit in the rushing water and meditate, learning how to focus even with powerful forces raging all around me. As I sat in the rushing water, thinking about my fighting training, I suddenly felt myself start to change. I grew in size and gained more hearts. Surely now I must be strong enough to handle the River Spirit's power. I returned to the river and met with the spirit again. This time, there was no doubt.
You're ready now. I will give you my powers.
The River Spirit combined with mine, and I felt his power within me. I felt stronger, like my attacks would do more damage since they were infused with water power. And I now had the ability to create water anywhere too. Look out, evil spirit. A hero is on his way to take you down. On days 90 to 94, I returned to my base to get my aircraft when a wasteland villager suddenly appeared. He told me that the evil spirit had sent an army of zombie piglins to invade their village, and they needed help. I hopped into my aircraft and flew to the village as fast as I could. When I got there, I saw that the villager was right. There were zombie piglins everywhere. The village was on fire, and villagers were trying to escape. The vibranium golem was fighting off as many piglins as he could, but there were simply too many for him to handle alone. I fought what seemed like 100 little oinkers, using my new water ability to blast them. Eventually, we beat the last one, but the village had been almost completely destroyed. Villagers who had escaped were badly shaken and afraid. My base was big enough now that I was able to invite all the surviving villagers to stay there permanently. All of the villagers agreed to come, even the vibranium golem. On days 95 to 97, I took the villagers down to my train tunnel and built even more minecarts for them to start going to my base. I flew my aircraft back to the base so I could get it ready for them. I built enough houses for everyone in the same style as their village, and even built farms that looked exactly like their old home. The vibranium golem seemed happy too. He agreed to keep patrolling the new area and defend the villagers if any threats appeared. Just as I was finishing up the last house, I heard the voice of the Panther Spirit calling to me. I went back to his ancient tree once again.
The evil spirit is waiting for you at the end of the river. It knows you teamed up with the river and thinks if it can destroy the river, it can destroy you too.
Don't worry, I've got this. Together, the river and I are invincible.
Go to the river delta where the river meets the sea, and there you shall find the evil spirit.
But before I left, he told me that there was one more thing he could do to help me. The Panther Spirit leapt towards me and absorbed into my body. I felt myself start to change, and I suddenly grew into a huge, superpowered Black Panther. I had a ton of hearts and felt more powerful than ever. Now, filled with the power of both the river and the Panther, I embarked on what I hoped would be the quest that saved this land for good. On day 98, I was making my way downriver towards the ocean when I saw the shaman appear in front of me in ghostly form.
Hello there.
Shaman, you're a spirit now too.
Yes, before that ray of evil could kill me, I used my magic to become a spirit. I've been watching your progress, and you've been doing an amazing job. I think you could use some help, though.
I'll take any help I can get. What I could really use now is some moral support.
I can definitely give you that, but it would be even more powerful if everyone watching the video did too, by giving a like and subscribing. The more likes and sub you have, the stronger you'll be when you face the evil spirit.
Wow, thanks, Shaman. I hope everyone likes and subscribes so that I'll be really powerful. And if you like the video, make sure to type Zozo, ZOZO, ZOZO in the search bar to see my other adventures. There's a whole bunch of them.
I will do that.
Well, I didn't think you had YouTube, but okay, cool. On day 99, I made it to the river delta. A vast ocean stretched out into the horizon before me. Come out, evil spirit, it's me, and I've got the river spirit to help me. I used my spirit powers to walk on the water, and soon I was standing in the middle of this great sea. A dark shadow rose up from below, breaking through the surface of the water. It was the evil spirit.
You're too late. I will soon eat the river and become even stronger. Then I turn anything that drinks from the river into one of my undead servants.
We will never let this happen. I used my water powers to hit the evil spirit. Then I ran in and started clawing him.
Oh, that does it.
The evil spirit called down his beam of destruction, the same one he used on the shaman, but I was ready this time. There was no way he could win. Not after everything I went through. Not after I came this far. As we battled, I suddenly saw other beams of energy. I looked to my sides and saw the panther, the river, and the shaman spirit standing next to me, adding their energy into mine. My combined spirit beam grew bigger and stronger, and in moments, the evil spirit's power had run out, and he was blasted by the beam.
Impossible. No!
I rushed in, and with one final blow from my spirit claws, I put an end to his reign of evil for good. On day 100, I returned to the base and built myself a royal chamber suitable for a Wakandan king. The land may have been saved this time, but somebody would need to remain and be its protector. And from now on, that would be me. On day 1, I spawned as a baby Hoglin. Oh, I'm pretty adorable. But I only had 3 hearts. I was small, but I had a super strong sense of smell. I could smell everything I was seeing. Whoa, great rivers of fire. I'm in the nether. Cool. Oh, look, there's a group of Hoglins. That must be my family. I went over to them. They were nice and shared their crimson fungi with me. Life couldn't have been better. That is until a hungry illager came looking for some bacon.
Run for cover, little Zozo. We'll take care of this. You're too small for battle.
But I want to stay and fight. Leave it to the real warriors, you shroom sniffer.
Bebop, knock it off. He just likes to pick on other Hoglins. He's a bit of a bully. You will join us one day, but not today. You must grow bigger first. Now hurry, before they turn you into lunch.
Sir, yes, sir. I ran as fast as my little hooves could go when suddenly I was covered in purple smoke. I had no clue what was happening. Suddenly, I was dropped near a river in a green field with blue skies. This didn't look anything like my home. Where am I? I looked around and saw a squirrel with sunglasses on.
Bro, you just dropped out of the sky. For real, for real.
I don't know where I am. This isn't the nether.
No, little dude, this is the overworld. You must have gone through a portal or something. All I know, bro, is it got all purpley and then poof, there you were, dude.
I was so confused. I didn't know what the squirrel was saying, and I didn't know how I got into the overworld.
Whoa, bro, something's up.
I started to see red, blinking red. I felt weird. Something was happening to me. I was changing.
You're going zombie, my dude.
Zombie? The blinking red stopped, and I could tell my whole body looked different. You could see my bones, and my mane had gone flat. Oh no, I'm a ZOGLIN now. What will my family think? How will they want me back now? I guess it's kind of cool to be a zombie.
100%, my dude. It's the gnarly bones for me.
Well, any ideas what I should do now?
My guess is to find a portal to take yourself home. I bet you could find one in the forest. Just be careful out there, little guy. Here, take this.
He handed me a potion of strength.
Only use it when you're really in a jam. Good luck, bro. I gotta go gather my nuts I dropped when you popped out of the sky.
Thank you, Mr.
Call me Squeaks.
Thanks, Squeaks. It was nice to meet a cool squirrel like you. He hopped away and I started towards the forest. Passing by a river, my thoughts were suddenly interrupted by a shark that popped out of the river behind me. Luckily, I jumped out of the way just in time. Someone was feeling bitey today. I then continued making my way into the forest. On day 2, I wandered through the forest to find a portal. I wasn't sure where to go next, but that's when I remembered my nose never failed me. Even though I was a zombie, my nose was just as powerful. I took a whiff around. That's an interesting smell. I followed my nose to a llama eating some berries. I decided to ask her if she had seen the portal, but she just ignored me. Hey, I'm talking to you. The llama turned and spit right in my snout. Okay, you're asking for some drama, llama. I wasn't going to let her get away with spitting in my face. I ran at her full speed and attacked. Unfortunately, I was too weak to do any damage. I didn't even have a weapon.
Oh, how sad. Why don't you cry? Wee, all the way home, little Zoglin. You're much too small to be on your own.
Really cool picking on someone smaller than you. Listen, I'd love to go home, but my home is in the nether, and I can't get home without a portal.
Oh, the nether. I heard they have great crimson fungi there.
Yeah, they do. I pulled out a crimson fungi and flashed it at her.
Okay, kid, fine. I'll tell you where a portal is if you let me have that.
How do I know you aren't lying?
You'll just have to trust me.
You spit in my face, and you want me to trust you? Tell you what, I'll give you one now and one later if you take me to the portal. She thought it over and finally agreed to the deal.
The last portal I saw was up ahead at a waterfall. waterfall?
I threw her a mushroom and she chomped down on it.
A little spicy with some smoky flavor. I like it. All right, come on, follow me.
On day 3, we came to a clearing, and up ahead was a glistening waterfall against a big cliff.
There it is. The portal is up ahead. This is where we part. Time to hand over the other half of that mushroom.
I handed her the rest of my mushroom, and she gulped it down.
You know, kid, you're not so bad.
You're not so bad yourself, Llama. Thank you for showing me the way.
Well, let's not get all mushy. Good luck, and try not to get in any more trouble.
The llama trotted off into the forest, and I headed towards the waterfall. It was so beautiful that I forgot to pay attention to my surroundings. Out popped a snake from the long grass. Mind if I slither on by? I guess the snake did mind. The snake was trying to strike me, but I was determined to get to the portal. I didn't have a weapon, but I had my tusks, and I was bigger than the snake. I hit him good and hard, knocking him out. Your history, snake. As he disappeared, I saw he left behind eggs. Oh, nice. I better hold on to these. The portal was just up ahead. I could see it now. Unfortunately, I could also see a pack of wolves. Please, I don't want any trouble. I just need to get back home through that portal. I can pay you in eggs?
The Horned Enderman has commanded all Zoglins to be taken to him. You're coming with us.
Just then, a bunch of skulls came shooting at the pack of wolves. The wolves backed up, but stayed close, guarding the portal.
Come with me if you wish to live.
This dude was a little creepy looking. I'm sorry, who and what are you?
I'm a wither. My name is Smithers. Now come on, those wolves are going to try and take you to the Horned Enderman. We have to get you out of here.
I have no clue what you're talking about, but I don't want to be eaten by wolves. So yeah, let's go. On days 4 to 5, I followed Smithers into the shadows of the jungle.
You need to make some weapons, little Zoglin. Now's a good time. After that, I have a quest for you. I need you to find the Mushroom Field Islands. Only a special hoglin can find them.
But I'm trying to get home. I need to get to the portal.
If you find these islands, I will help get you home. For now, all the portals are being guarded. I think you are the Zoglin the Horned Enderman is searching for.
Me? You got the wrong Zog. I'm just your average ham.
Yeah, you might not be special, but we shall see.
How will I know the way to the Mushroom Island?
Follow your nose. If you really are the chosen one, you will have extra strong smelling powers.
With that, Smithers flew away. It left me with a million questions. And what was that about smelling powers? I always had a good nose, but no, I couldn't be the one they were looking for. One thing was for sure, I needed to be able to defend myself. I started mining wood, stone, and coal. Then I made myself a crafting table. After that, I made a bow, an axe, a sword, and a pickaxe. Take a look at me now. All will tremble before me. Just as I was really getting into being dramatic, I caught the scent of something nearby. I wasn't alone. I looked up and noticed eyes staring back at me. An ocelot jumped down from the tree. He crouched, getting ready to pounce. Easy, little kitty. You wouldn't want to eat me. I'm rotten and don't taste good. But the truth was, I was scared. Those claws were no joke. How would I ever be able to win this fight? Oh wait, the potion! I quickly pulled out my potion of strength that Squeak gave me and drank it. I grew a little bigger and got extra hearts. It's a good thing I met that weird squirrel. The ocelot pounced as I tried to get out of the way. We kept swinging at each other until I was able to push him out of the way. Luckily, I noticed that there were some arrows nearby. I guess an explorer left them here. I hurried and got on my bow and then started firing. It didn't take too many hits and I was able to take him out. So much for cats having 9 lives. Just then, my nose picked up a different scent on the tree. Cocoa pods. Oh, these would be great for making a color or a snack for later. It was then that I could hear a crunching sound coming from somewhere in the jungle. I decided to follow the sound. I rounded some trees and saw a thicket of bamboo. It wouldn't be a bad idea to collect some of that. The crunching continued and I soon saw a panda relaxing on the ground, enjoying some bamboo. I hope he wouldn't mind if I took some for myself. Hey there, I'm Zozo. Could I take some of that bamboo? The panda looked up at me and shrugged, then went back to munching. Sweet, that was easy. It was definitely a relief to come across an adorable animal that didn't want to attack me. I mined a good portion of the bamboo, but made sure to leave some for the panda. I was very excited about my new supplies. Goodbye, Mr. Panda. Thanks for the bamboo. On days 6 to 8, I decided I liked the jungle so much that I'd take a couple days to go jungle glamping. After all, who knew if that wither was even trustworthy? The mushroom fields could wait. I sniffed around for a good spot and went to sleep in a cavern. Later, I woke up and decided to explore some more. Hey, check it out, a wild patch of pumpkins. I'm pumped. This would be a cool spot to build my glamping base with my bamboo. I'm thinking a yurt would be cool. I even found some melon seeds while cutting down plants. I trotted happily to the patch and began to make my jungle yurt. This would be a great little place to sleep and hide from mobs. Once I had the outside done, I put some finishing touches inside, including some jungle plants. Then I put a little fence around the pumpkin farm, melon farm, and my yurt. I also built a small melon and pumpkin farm outside. Yurt, sweet yurt. Ouch! Something had just hit me. A monkey was in a tree. It was throwing stuff at me. Hey, knock it off!
As you wish. I'll knock all the blocks off your little house thingy.
It's a yurt, you uncultured baboon. Now stop! The monkey didn't stop. He just wanted to be naughty and aggravate me. Alright, enough monkey business. I grabbed my bow and fired a warning shot. The monkey screeched and swung off the tree. Hopefully he had learned his lesson. With the monkey gone, I could focus on some much needed dinner. Pumpkin chocolate bean cookies sounded good. I'd better hurry. It was getting late and mobs would be showing up. I crafted the cookies and went outside to enjoy the mood. Hey, this is pretty peaceful. It's just me, the trees, these
pumpkins, and that horned enderman over there. A horned enderman! A very tall horned enderman was staring at me from outside the fence.
Well, hello, little Zoglin, without a care. I am the horned enderman. No need to fear.
You're that evil enderman trying to capture all the Zoglins, and you probably are the one who teleported me here.
I searched for the perfect Zoglin, but as for this teleportation, that is the wrong accusation.
You're very poetic for an evil jerk.
And you are very cheeky for a Zog who is not very beefy. You are coming with me. Do not try and flee.
Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. There's nothing that won't make me win. Oh, look at that. He even got me rhyming. I whipped out my bow and shot at him, but he teleported and suddenly was right next to me. I pulled out my sword and tried to attack him with that, but it was no use. The enderman punched me so hard that I was stunned. There was no way I could do anything to fight this guy. Just as I lost all hope, the enderman was hit with a big rock in the head. Something kept hitting the enderman with all sorts of objects. Eventually he got fed up and teleported away. There was that crazy monkey sitting on the roof of my yurt. Whoa, you saved me. You chased the enderman away by being annoying. Most impressive. I think we started off on the wrong foot. Would you like some pumpkin cookies? The monkey liked that idea and threw a banana at my head playfully.
Aren't you glad I didn't throw a rock?
What a silly monkey. I'm glad he decided to come back after all. Soon the monkey left and I went to sleep. On days 9 to 10, I thought I'd sniff around to see if the mushroom field was anywhere nearby. I set off around the jungle. I didn't smell mushroom fields, but I did smell a village nearby. I figured I could sniff it out. Maybe there would be some shops. I exited the jungle and kept sniffing and walking until I finally found a village. I walked into the village and all the villagers were looking at me. They didn't seem too excited about me being there. I walked into a shop and the shopkeeper didn't want to sell me anything. He said Zoglins were dangerous to have around because it might bring the horned enderman's cronies around. Man, this enderman is ruining everything for me. I was about to leave the village when a chicken went flapping past me. The villagers were upset. They chased the chicken around, but it got away and ran out of the village.
She is gone. The heavenly hen has left us. We will be cursed.
Hey, maybe I can help.
You? What are you going to do besides bring the horned enderman around these parts?
I've got a very sharp-smelling nose. I can follow her scent and track her down.
Very well. Find the heavenly hen.
Okay, but if I do, I get to pick some things out of your shops for free, okay?
Fine. Whatever you want. Please hurry. And whatever you do, don't look her in the eyes and don't threaten her, or you will regret it.
Okay, that's strange, but fine, I won't. I had seen some really cool armor in the shop, but I probably couldn't afford it, so this was a good deal for me. I headed back towards the jungle to find the chicken. On days 11 to 13, I trotted toward the jungle mountains. I climbed up a hill covered in foliage. It was kind of hard to see, so I started chopping down some of the jungle leaves. Whoa! Oof! The leaves were so thick, I didn't see the quarry below my feet. Oh no, I disturbed a nest of scorpions. Yuck, these guys were nasty. I'm in a real pinch. I tried to tell them that I meant no harm, but they were not going to leave me alone. I did not want to get stung. I swung my sword to get them to back off. Yikes, that was a close one. I jumped above them and pulled my bow out, hitting a few of them. I wanted to just get out of there, but the problem was, I smelled the chicken down there. Maybe she got eaten, but it was just then that I saw a mine shaft below. Maybe the chicken had hidden inside there. I'd have to take these guys out. One by one, I finished them off, except for one. It was gold, and turned out to not be a scorpion at all. It was a scorpion-sized gold statue. I decided to enter the mine shaft and check the statue out. On day 14 to 16, I was inside the mine shaft and had a smell around. It didn't just smell like chicken. There was something else, too. Oh, jackpot! So many resources! But most importantly, iron. Something was a little creepy about this place. Okay, Zozo, ignore the creepy feeling and just keep mining, just keep mining. After that amazing song, I created a crafting table and furnaces to smelt the iron I just collected. I had enough iron that I could craft myself some iron armor and tools really quick. Something told me I was going to need it. I continued deeper into the cave to find the chicken. Hold up, what's that? I pulled my axe out. It was a spider. But wait, it was another gold statue. What is going on here? I just need to find this chicken and get the creep out of here. Soon enough, from the shadows, crawled a mob of spiders. I knew my spidey senses were tingling. They weren't deterred. They just kept coming. One of the spiders hit me good. It was a big hit. I swung around like crazy and finished off all of the spiders. He left behind a bunch of webs, a crafting table, an iron sword, and some arrows and a slime ball. I guess some explorers must have left in a hurry. I collected them all and made a lead out of some of them. I kept walking down into the cave and eventually saw some lava. Across from the lava was that crazy chicken. You are lucky you aren't fried chicken by now. The chicken stared at me with angry eyes. My body felt weird. I suddenly remembered what the villager said about not staring at the chicken in its eyes. I tried not to look directly at it and started making a bridge across the lava over to the chicken. Listen, Miss Hen, I'm just trying to help you. I've got some cookies for you. I'll give you some if you follow me out of here. She didn't say anything because she was a chicken, but I assumed she was okay with this. She ate them and then followed me across my bridge. Well, that worked out. Come on, let's get you home. Everyone is worried about you. On days 17 to 19, we had made it out of the cave and were on our way back through the jungle when the ground under my feet felt funny. It was so soft and squishy. Then I realized I was sinking. It was blue quicksand. Help! The chicken just stared at me blankly. She was no help.
Quack, what's wrong?
It was a group of parrots. I'm sinking.
Bruh, what are you thinking about?
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay, might have been about to die, but that was pretty punny. Nice one.
Thanks, we have been working on the stand-up routine.
Neat. Well, I'm thinking about how I need help getting out of here.
We have this sinking feeling you are in some real trouble, but what can be done?
Do you think you could pull me out of this quicksand with my lead? The quicksand had almost swallowed me up by this point.
Sure thing, hand us the lead.
They were able to pull me out just in time. Phew, that was a close one. Thank you for saving my life.
No problem.
I was just escorting this chicken home.
Cluck, cluck, what chicken?
I looked around and the hen was gone again. Oh no! I told the parrots thank you, but had to run off to find her. I followed my nose. She was close, but so was an ocelot. Look out, chicken! The chicken stared at the ocelot with angry eyes. I took out my sword, but before I could do anything, the ocelot turned to solid gold. Did you do that, Miss Hen? I can see why you're so special now. She pecked at the ground. Come on, let's get you back home. On days 20 to 22, a fox was watching us run back to the village and tried to cut us off. Sorry, Fox. Trust me, you don't want this chicken for dinner. I ran at him and punted him into the sky. I knew I was doing him a favor, better than dealing with Gold Winger over here. We made it back to the village and the villagers were super stoked. I was super stoked about picking out some items from the shop.
Our sacred hen has returned. What is your name, Sir Zoglin?
Zozo.
3 cheers for Sir Zozo.
Shucks, I just followed my nose. At the shop, I picked out diamond armor and some TNT. Mission accomplished. With my swanky new treasures in hand, I was ready to go back to my yurt. On the outside of the village, I was stopped by an iron golem who offered me a puppy. He told me his name was Geo. He was a super nice guy. I told him I had to get back to my yurt before it got much later. As I came out to my yurt, it had already gotten dark. Oh, just fantastic. My yurt is swarming with creepers and red-eyed spiders. It's a jungle out here. Time to test out this armor and explosives. The mob saw me and started coming for me, so I ran into the trees. I set the TNT on the ground and then punched it, running for my life. As the mobs came by, the TNT exploded. It didn't kill them all, but it took out a lot. I handled the rest of them with my weapons. With the mobs gone, I trotted back to my yurt. I checked on my melons. They were growing well. I'd harvest them tomorrow and then set out to find that mushroom island, or field, whatever you want to call it. On day 23 to 26, I woke up and went outside. To my surprise, Geo was standing around my garden. Hey there, Geo. How did you find me?
Geo here, Big Boo. Geo come to save Zozo.
That's super nice of you. I tested out some TNT on some mobs. Sorry to worry you. I explained to Geo that I had to go on a mission to find a mushroom island. Geo insisted on accompanying me. He said he could help protect me from the horned enderman. I agreed, then harvested my melons and pumpkins. I took a bite of the melons and it helped me to grow some more. Ooh, check out these tusks. Then I went inside to get some more materials. After that, we were ready to set off. My nose led us out of the jungle and across some icy plains and glaciers. There were a lot of polar bears. I was relieved Geo decided to join me because there's no way I'd be able to fend them off by myself. When some of them wanted to give us trouble, we gave them trouble right back. Geo was able to fling them up like pancakes. Hey Geo, wanna build a snowman? I decided I might as well mine some snow while I was there. It might come in handy. I threw together some snow and a pumpkin head to make a snow golem. Geo clapped excitedly.
Snow friend, snow friend.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday to you, Ice Golem. My name is Zozo. This is Geo. What's your name?
Burr.
Burr, huh? That checks out.
Play with Burr.
Sure, we can take some time to play. Hey, I know. What if we build a snow fort out of snow?
Play.
Burr, play.
I made a little snow fort and we had a snowball fight. It was very fun, but Geo was a little too strong and hit Burr too hard, and he poofed into a giant pile of snowballs. Don't worry, Geo. Snowmen don't last forever anyways. We collected his snowballs and added them to our supply. At least he could always be with us now, in a weird sort of way. On days 27 to 31, we wandered to the seaside. The smell of Mushroom Island was super strong. I was led to the seashore. We looked out and saw an island with funny red trees. I think that's it, Geo. Now to get over there. I crafted a boat, but it wasn't big enough for Geo to come with me, so Geo agreed to hang out on shore until I came back. As I sailed closer, I realized the red trees were actually giant mushrooms. I started to drool. Someone was on the island already. It was Smithers.
You found me. You truly are the chosen one. Only a Zoglin with the strongest sniffer can find this secret place.
Why does the Enderman want me?
I will explain everything. Let's show you around first.
I ran around the island exploring its resources. This ground was so spongy and bouncy. Oh, look, cows. Wait, those are mushrooms. That gave me an idea. A huge statue would be pretty cool in this field. I gathered up some supplies and started working on the first part of the statue. The cocoa beans would also be perfect for some brown dye. I'd want some red though too. I'd need to get some red flowers on the mainland. Smithers showed me the base he had made. It was a nice little cube. You know, Smithers, this is awesome, but are you okay with me doing some renovations? Just so it's big enough for all of us, including some of my friends I've met along the way.
I mean, this is already a pretty elaborate cube, but okay, I'm cool with it.
Great, I'll start tomorrow. On day 32 to 35, I decided to make the base look like a giant red mushroom with spots. I wonder what gave me that idea. First, I'd need to make the stem. It would be a staircase, and then I could make the top a big mushroom-shaped room with a loft above that for bedrooms. We'd have a nice view of the island while we hung out in the base, and we could keep an eye out for danger too. I wandered around the main area inside. There's so mushroom in here. Get it? Mushroom?
room? Much room?
You should stick to sniffing and leave jokes to someone else.
You can't please everyone. Outside, I created an awning for Geo to stand under and keep watch. Our base was ready for action. On day 36 to 39, I went back to shore to get Geo. Once on land, he and I mined some flowers and some other things for the base and statue. I smelled something familiar. Hey, I smell another Zoglin. I wanted to follow the scent, so we went looking. I had to see if they were okay. I followed my nose to a pillager base. A fire was roasting, and there sat a Zoglin chained up to a log. The pillager was humming and wandering around the yard. We walked up to the hut. Excuse me, but what are you planning to do with that Zoglin? The pillager nearly jumped out of his skin. He hadn't seen us sneaking up on him.
Geo, kill pillager.
Have at it, Geo.
Geo, smash.
That pillager didn't stand a chance against Geo. Wow, nice going, Geo. And look, there's an emerald on the ground now. I picked it up and put it in my supplies, then walked over to the Zoglin. Hey, my name is Zozo. I could smell you from miles away. I'm here to rescue you.
Thank you. My name is Hogatha. The Horned Enderman sold me his dinner because I wasn't the Zoglin he was looking for.
That's rough. I told Hogatha how to find my base and invited her to meet us up there. She liked that idea. There were voices in the distance. A mob of pillagers came into view. We better get out of here. We don't need that kind of trouble.
Yep, time to run. I'll find you later. Good luck.
On days 40 to 43, I was back at the base, and Geo and Hogatha had joined us. Hogatha added some grass around the base. It was looking pretty gnarly. I went over to the statue and kept adding to it. Things were coming together for this epic statue, but it wasn't done yet. Do you know what it's going to be? I'll have to keep working on it later. Smithers called me into the base meeting room to finally tell me all about what's been going on with this Horned Enderman dude.
It all began with greed.
I could tell a flashback was coming because the music got all dramatic.
Flashback.
Called it.
The Horned Enderman had been taking over the overworld, enslaving and destroying. He seeks to control this world, and the Nether too. Everyone is afraid of him. He summoned the Witches of Fate. He asked them to reveal the location of a weapon called the Black Trident. It was powerful enough to raise up an army of the undead. They didn't tell him the location. We only know it's somewhere in the ocean. They did give him a prophecy of a Zoglin with a powerful enough nose to sniff out the location of this weapon. But they also said that this Zoglin could be his undoing. I believe that Zoglin is you. I know this because I was there. I was part of the Horned Enderman's close advisors. But I couldn't stand by any longer and see him destroying so many lives. I deserted him and went in search for you myself. We can't let him find that Dark Trident.
I would never lead him to it. If you can get me home, you won't be able to use me.
Fate has brought you here, my boy. You must give in to your destiny. And your destiny is to rise up against the Horned Enderman.
I've run into him before. I couldn't defeat him. I have no idea how to do that. I just want to find a cure for my zombie form and go home.
You will find a way.
This was a lot to take in. I wasn't sure how I felt about it all. Of course I wanted to help, but how? Thanks for telling me all about it. I need to do some thinking outside. I went on a walk around the mushroom field at night to think about everything. The mushrooms were grazing in the field with their babies. Hogatha came and joined me.
You okay?
Not really.
Want to talk about it?
I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to fight Endermen at all, let alone an ultimate Enderman bad guy.
I know that Endermen don't like water. Maybe that can help.
That is something. I was hoping I could just cure myself and get home. Do you have a family, Hogatha?
No, the Horned Enderman took them all. It's just me now.
I'm sorry to hear that. I guess he really does need to be stopped. We sat and looked at the ocean. It was so peaceful to watch the waves and smell the mushroom aroma. Hey, do you see that light out there? I could make out a small roof on the mainland. There was purple smoke coming from the chimney, just like I had seen when I teleported here. Maybe it was where the witches lived. Maybe they could help me. I decided to go investigate in the morning.
On day 44 to 49, I got into my boat and set sail across to the hut. It didn't take too long to find it in the daylight. The purple smoke smelled just like when I teleported. This had to be the witch's cottage. I made my way up the stairs. I knocked and there was some scuffling around inside, and then the door opened and a wand was shoved into my face.
Who are you and what do you want?
I'm looking for the Witches of Fate. Is this their cottage?
Of course it's not. This is my cottage.
Who are you?
I am Flimflam, the mediocre wizard. So don't try any funny business or I'll turn you into a mediocre newt.
Did you by chance cast a spell recently that could teleport someone from the Nether to the overworld?
How did you know that? Bless my soul, my spell did work. You're the Zoglin I summoned and then promptly lost.
I think you better explain some things to me. The mediocre wizard let me into his hut. He had all sorts of magical looking items. He then suddenly shot his wand at the wall. I turned around and saw a call to action. An action to subscribe, that is. Which you should do. And also search for more of my videos. Zozo. Z-O-Z-O. Anyway, Mr. Mediocre, you were explaining something?
So you see, I knew I needed to get to you before the Horned Enderman did. I admit that although I've been practicing magic for a long time, well, I mess up a lot. So I found this spell to get you over here, but then I wasn't sure if it worked because you never showed up.
It worked, but you dropped me into a random place in the overworld. I wish you wouldn't have done that. I used to be a handsome hoglin. Now look at me.
Oh my, yes, I can see what you mean. But you know, there's a cure for that.
There is?
Of course. I know it takes a golden carrot and something else. I can't remember off the top of my head.
And if you got me here, you can get me back home, right?
Of course, but I brought you here for a reason. We need to find the Dark Trident before the Horned Enderman does.
If I help defeat him, can you cure me and send me home?
You got yourself a deal.
I was so glad I was finally getting answers. All this excitement really tuckered me out. I asked the wizard if I could sleep off some of my exhaustion. He was cool with it. On days 50 to 53, I looked around the wizard's hut and saw so many magic potions and wands.
I see you are admiring my collection of magical objects.
I like your wizard hat too.
Oh yes, this hat is awesome. I can use potions and they last forever. Maybe one day you can get a wizard hat of your own once you've learned some things.
So do you have a plan for how to defeat the Horned Enderman?
Of course, you. And that was as far as I got.
I bet some of your wands and potions will come in handy. Can I try one of your wands? The wizard agreed and selected an ice wand. I was pretty excited and I ran to the water to test it out. Abracafree stuff. I froze the water into ice cubes. I definitely like this idea of learning magic. I think you should come with me and meet our other friends. We have a mushroom base across the way. We can all make a plan. Can I take this wand with me? The wizard agreed, got in his own boat, and we sailed off. As we sailed across, we noticed something splashing on the surface. We got closer and saw it was a mermaid surrounded by a shark.
Looks like it's a good time to use that wand, Zozo.
I jumped out of my boat and jumped on the rock the mermaid was on, and excitedly took out the wand and started pointing it at the water around the shark. The water was turned into ice, and the sharks were frozen in ice cubes. You sharks need to cool it. Are you okay, mermaid? The mermaid came closer to me.
Thank you for helping me out. That was a close one. Who are you guys?
My name is Zozo, and this is Flimflam the wizard. We are just some friends who are trying to stop the Horned Enderman. You probably don't know who that is, huh?
Actually, yeah, I do. Those sharks work for him. They were trying to get me to tell them where the Dark Trident is.
What? Are you serious? That's why they want me too. We were just meeting up on the Mushroom Island to make a plan on how to stop him.
How about I follow you over there? I can team up with you.
That's a great idea. Follow us. We were assembling a pretty epic team. On days 54 to 57, we sailed up to the Mushroom Island. I told the mermaid to wait at the shore and walked up to the base. I introduced Flimflam to the group. Smithers and Flimflam were both suspicious of each other at first, but after some explaining, they both realized they were on the same side. I took some time to break away from the group and work some more on my statue. I added some good red coloring to it. I was halfway there. I made my way back to the base, and then I heard splashing in the water. I almost forgot about the mermaid. I went and spoke with her at the beach. Her name was Dolphine, but she went by Dolly. Dolly told me about why the sharks were after her. She knew of a portal called the Whirlpool of Want. They wanted the location.
This whirlpool takes you to the Witches of Fate.
I didn't think you could get to them.
That's what they want you to think.
What if you take us to this whirlpool? Maybe we can ask the witches if there's a weapon that can destroy the Dark Trident. Dolly agreed to this plan, and I went and let the team know where I was going. Before we left, I did what I could to make sure my health and weapons were shipshape. I was ready to follow the mermaid to the Whirlpool of Want. On days 58 to 62, we were out in the middle of the ocean when the mermaid pointed ahead.
There it is. Just sail straight into it.
You sure this will work? I didn't want to get stuck at the bottom of this whirlpool. Besides, I hardly knew this mermaid. This could be a trick.
Pretty sure. Here, let me go in ahead of you. Let me see what happens.
She swam right into the whirlpool and it swallowed her up. I waited for a few minutes. The whirlpool started to gurgle and out popped the mermaid. There she blows. Well, it looked like it worked. Onward. I jumped off the ship and into the whirlpool. The whirlpool had a portal at the bottom and it spat me out onto dry land. I was in the end?
And what do we have here? A wayward Zoglin.
A voice cackled from the sky. It seemed to come from all around me.
You seek how to destroy the Dark Trident. We know everything about all of you, but we don't do things out of the kindness of our hearts. We are witches. We make trades. What did you bring to trade?
I panicked. I didn't know I needed to trade something. 3 witches appeared in front of me.
Well, what will it be? If you want the Wand of Weather, you will have to give us something that interests us.
The Wand of Weather? This wand will destroy the Dark Trident?
You bet your little Zoglin britches.
I offered them my wand, my swords, my potions, anything I could think of that seemed really neat, but they didn't want any of it. They already had piles of that stuff. I wonder if they would take something that only has sentimental value. I offered them the poppy that Geo had given me.
A poppy? You have got yourself a deal.
Poof, they disappeared, and in their place was a wand.
We forgot to mention one little thing. Only a true heroic act can activate this wand.
Their voices trailed off. A heroic act? I do those things all the time. That doesn't seem too difficult. I wanted to stick around to sniff around, but suddenly there was a whole mob of zombies headed my way. I ran for the portal and jumped through. On days 63 to 66, I was ejected out of the whirlpool. I told Dolly about everything and then sailed back to our base. There was smoke on the horizon. We got close to the island and saw our base had been attacked. The horned Enderman must have discovered our base. I jumped out of my boat and made my way to my base entrance where I saw Smithers. I found out that they had kidnapped Hagatha. They thought she was me. No, Hagatha, I will rescue you.
I will fly fast and try to find her. You need to continue on your quest. If you can defeat the horned Enderman, Hagatha will be spared.
I wanted to go with Smithers, but I knew he was right. Smithers would take good care of the situation. He quickly flew away. I was going crazy with worry, so I had to distract myself. Those henchmen had really done a lot of damage. We had so many repairs to make. There was only one way to handle this situation: a rebuilding montage. We upgraded a lot of things and then got started building a moat around the base. Flimflam suggested that we add a water path for Dolly to be able to swim in and out, so we added that too. Afterwards, I stepped back and admired our work. It's amazing what you can do when you're motivated. Just then, I wondered if my statue had been destroyed. I ran over to the field, and luckily it was just how I left it. I finished off the face. Can you tell what it is? I guess it's pretty obvious now, but I still needed to add the pièce de résistance later. On days 67 to 70, I tried out the Wand of Weather, but couldn't get it to do anything. Maybe it only worked around the trident. We had better locate the trident to try and destroy it. I hoped it would work for me. Flimflam appeared behind me and said,
Zozo, you're the one with the magical nose. Where do you think we should go to find the trident?
I closed my eyes and I sniffed the air, focusing on where it could be. All I smell is Hagatha. I'm worried about her.
I'm right here, silly.
Hagatha and Smithers were back. Smithers had found her wandering back to the island. They had let her go after realizing she was the wrong Zoglin, but Hagatha was certain they were tracking her.
We can use that to our advantage. We can have Hagatha stay here as a decoy while you sneak off to get the trident.
I didn't like the idea of potentially putting Hagatha in harm's way, but she insisted on the plan. Everyone else would stay at the base to protect Hagatha. Meanwhile, Dolly and I would go on our quest. I got on my boat and followed the faint scent of the dark trident. We eventually came into a desert with cactus and pyramids on the shore. Dolly pointed out that there were ancient ruins in the water. Perfect spot to find a trident, and I can tell we are close. Just then, my ship started to shake. What was that? I looked over the edge. Dolly, there's a lot of angry noodles wiggling around the water.
I don't think that's a noodle, Zozo. I think it's a giant octopus.
Yikes, we would have to think fast. I shot arrows at it, but that just made it more mad. It hit my boat and busted it. Oh no, he even managed to hit me a few times. He really packed a punch. I would have to swim my way out of this.
I'll use my siren song to lure it away. You head for a cove to hide.
What about you?
I'll be fine. I can outswim these guys.
Dolly started singing and the octopus was put in a trance-like state and started following Dolly. Meanwhile, I booked it for the shoreline. I saw a cove that had a very strong smell coming from it. I knew I was hot on the Trident Trail. Dolly was nowhere to be seen though. I hoped she was okay. The cove wasn't empty though. A pirate ship was there as well. Where there is pirates, there is treasure. I looked around and sure enough, I found not one, but two treasure chests. What does this one have? Whoa, it's a Respiration 3 helmet. Now that's convenient. I opened the other one up and it had a heart potion. I moved topside and took it and got 10 more hearts, and I grew into a large-sized Zoglin. Now we're talking. I was ready for some underwater exploration, but Dolly hadn't showed up yet. Well, I hope she can find me. On days 71 to 74, I started to swim through the shallow waters of the cove that led to a watery underground cave. It was very dark. I noticed some obsidian floating around in the cave and picked it up for later. The dark trident had to be around me somewhere. The scent was so strong. I could also smell trouble. I dove under the water to have a look around, but it was so dark. Suddenly, someone grabbed my hooves. Ah! Oh my goodness. It was just Dolly. She had found me. You scared the ham right out of me. I'm glad you're okay though. She held out her hand.
Sorry, Zozo. Look at this. This is a glowstone. It will help light our path.
Awesome. It was so nice having Dolly to help me. She set the glowstone on the floor of the cave, and we could see a little opening. We swam through it. It led into a big space with large wall ruins. There were lots of tall vines growing all over the ruin.
Hey, look.
The dark trident was just sitting on top of a mound of sand. Just then, out popped hordes of drowns. I didn't come this far to be beaten by a bunch of water zombie punks. You're going down. We fought with all our might and wits. We had to win. There were many, but we were mighty. Sure enough, we were able to take care of all of them. Hi, Finn, Dolly. We gathered around the trident. I got out my weather wand and nothing happened. We had just defeated all these drowns. That was super heroic. Shouldn't that heroic act have activated the trident?
Were those witches lying?
I don't know.
Well, grab it and let's go. We can try to destroy it some more back at the base.
I was hesitant, but I agreed.
Now that you have obsidian, you can build a portal back home.
Really? That will be awesome. Although, I'm still a Zoglin. We need a cure so I can fit back in at home.
I like you as a Zoglin. I think you look cool.
Thanks, Dolly. I just don't know what my family will think. Suddenly, everything started to shake. I reached and grabbed the trident. We had to get out of here. We swam back through the hole in the cavern wall and back up to the surface, and then back to the mouth of the cove. Everything was crumbling. We barely made it out in time. On days 75 to 78, I sailed back to our base. I thanked Dolly for all of her help, and she told me she needed to return to her kingdom before her family started to worry. I'll never
never forget you, Dolphine. At the mushroom base, I peeked through the window and saw my friends had finished my statue for me while I was gone. It looked great. It was a mushroom with a pumpkin on top to remember Burr by. You guys are the best. After that, we all gathered around the trident. I needed to destroy this thing quickly. I tried the wand again. Nothing. I've done so many heroic things. Why wasn't it working? I pointed it at the sky and thought about my awesome friends and how brave they always were. This time it jiggled a little, a few clouds came out, and made it rain a tiny bit. Well, that was something.
You'll get the hang of this in time, Zozo. I believe in you.
I was so distracted by the wand that it took me a while to notice the strong odor of evil floating into the base. The horned Enderman had to be near. I picked up the trident, started sniffing around, and went into my base. On day 79 to 84, I looked outside our window. A bunch of Endermen surrounded our base gate, and there was the horned Enderman standing there. You have got to be kidding me.
Little Zog, let me in, or I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your base in.
That dude is terrifying, even when he speaks in rhymes. I'm going to start building that portal, and maybe we can take the trident to the nether.
You escape with the trident. I'll fight them off.
Smithers ran out of the room. I built and lit the nether portal.
You can't do this alone.
Agatha joined him to fend off the base. I thought to myself and decided not to run. I had to be a hero if I wanted this wand to work. I told Flimflam to guard the trident. I pulled my sword out and ran out as well. After fighting for a bit, I swapped my sword out for the bow and started shooting. With each arrow I fired, the Enderman teleported away. But suddenly, they charged me, and I took a big hit. Ouch! I started swinging my sword, and I did my best to take them all out. At long last, all of the Endermen were defeated. Where was the horned Enderman, though? I noticed he wasn't around. I looked up into the mushroom base windows, and there he was. He was in the room with Flimflam and the trident. Oh no! Smithers, the trident! Smithers flew up where they were. By the time I got there, Flimflam had been injured, and Smithers was facing off with the horned Enderman. With ease, the horned Enderman grabbed the trident and teleported out of the base. Smithers followed him outside, and I did too.
The dark trident can only work with a heart of pure evil. Watch as I turn this thing lethal.
With that, the horned Enderman hit Smithers with the dark trident. No, how could he? I pulled out the wand of weather and pointed it at the trident. Storm clouds gathered and it started to rain pretty hard, but it didn't seem to do anything to the trident. The rain did, however, scare off the horned Enderman since he teleported away. With the enemy gone, I ran to Smithers' side.
This is the end for me. Promise me you'll stop him.
Then Smithers disintegrated, leaving behind a nether star. I was so sad and picked up the nether star. I placed it down at the entrance of the house. It would forever shine bright on us, as Smithers did. On days 85 to 89, Agatha and I went through the portal to the nether. We knew time was short. The horned Enderman would be marching through with his undead army at any moment. We landed in the Crimson Forest. Welcome to my homeland.
Wow, everything is so hot and spicy looking here.
Home, sweet and spicy home. I miss the smell of lava. We started to walk around a bit when suddenly a mob of piglins was coming toward us. Well, looks like it's never a dull moment. Let's kick some hams. We used our arrows, swords, and strength to take down the mob. We continued exploring the nether for a bit until we got to the edge of a cliff. The lava was hot below us. I carefully laid down dirt to get across. I noticed more piglins coming at us, so I broke off a brick of the block bridge so they couldn't follow us.
Well, that was a very lava-hot welcome. Where's your family?
They aren't far. I can smell them. On days 90 to 94, I heard some low oinking. It was my family. They were munching on fungi, as usual. Hey, you guys, I'm back. Who the oink are you? Oh, great. It was Bebop, the bully. It's me, Zozo. I look a little different now. I'm bigger and
freakish looking. You're not one of us anymore.
I just returned from the overworld, so I got zombified. But I'm still Zozo, and these are my friends. We have come to warn you.
Warn us about what? Are you threatening us? You think you could just disappear one day and then come back and act all tough? That's it. No one threatens us.
No, I'm not threatening. Bebop came charging at me. I put my head down and got ready to return his blow. I hit Bebop a lot, and he simply backed off. I'm bigger and stronger than you now, Bebop. Time to stop picking on others, or I'm gonna have to teach you another lesson. I told the rest of the Zoglin family what I'd been up to and where I went. These are my friends. They've been helping me. You see, we got a weapon that can stop this evil dude from coming here and destroying everything. He's known as the Horned Enderman. Bebop must not have learned his lesson because he butted in.
We will never believe you. You're just a bunch of freaks.
I'd much rather be a freak than a boring old piece of bacon. I pity you. You can't see past your own snotty snout. I used to worry about what you all would think of me as a Zoglin, but now I don't care. I'm proud of who I am on the inside and out. My friends taught me that. You can either show respect for me and my friends, or you and I can settle this again, for good. Hog to Zog. I pulled out my wand of weather. It was suddenly glowing and surging with energy. I had been heroic by standing up for myself and my friends, even against my own kind. I was done being ashamed of what I looked like. I loved my zombie self. I held the wand into the air and created rain in the nether.
Okay, I'm sorry. I won't pick on you or anyone else. Please make it stop.
I put the wand away and the crazy weather stopped. It was all the proof the Zoglins needed.
On days 95 to 98, we decided we would make a big hill with a fortress on top so we could have the high ground. Flim Flam also came over from the overworld and insisted on making me wear his wizard's hat. It would keep my health up even after being attacked. Our hill fortress was looking pretty cool, and we were able to recruit some other nether mobs. We got mobs of piglins and wither skeletons. We set up inside the fort. It was then that the sky opened a portal and outpoured all sorts of undeads. Drowned necromancers, skeletons, zombies, zombified piglins, and husks. Fight hard and stay safe. We just need to stay alive long enough until I can attack the trident. The Zoglins attacked with their tusks to punt them away into the lava. The mutant piglins used their quality swords to cut them down. The mutant husks smashed with their fists. We were all fighting hard, but still, some of our allies didn't survive. I needed to find the horned enderman. The longer this went on, the more deaths there would be. The hordes of undead just kept coming too. But we fought with all of our might. After defeating some of the undead creatures, the piglin commander gave me a health potion. I drank it and my hearts leveled up. I got 20 hearts, and then I became even bigger. I couldn't lie, I looked pretty intimidating. After that, we returned to the fort. On day 99, I heard something happen at the portal again and ran out. The horned enderman finally emerged from the portal. Horned enderman, you are going down.
What are you going to do? Sprinkle me with water? Oh no, how will I ever survive such hullabaloo? Ha! See my mighty undead army. This world is doomed. There is no way to disarm me.
Go ahead and laugh, but this is for Smithers. He threw the trident at me, breaking my armor. He was terribly powerful.
Thank you for bringing me this trident. I think this is a death well spent.
I heard my friends shout, and they came to my side.
For Smithers!
Their chant brought me strength. I shot the wand into the air. For Smithers! It started to rain. Thunder boomed loudly, and there was a mighty zap. A powerful bolt of lightning struck the trident. The horned enderman exploded, and the trident shattered. We did it! Just like that! The wand had worked! We all cheered and celebrated. On day 100, after we had finished celebrating and honoring those who had fallen, I had to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my Zoglin years. I said goodbye to my family and promised to come home every Sunday for Crimson dinner. I would be the Zoglin wizard of the newly named Smither Island. But in the meantime, I would study more magic and defend the weak, always keeping a balance to good and evil. And most of all, I'd spread heroic courage, a love for others and oneself, freakish looks and all. I knew Smithers would be proud.
On day 1, I spawned as an itty-bitty fire Godzilla. This is rad. But wait, I've only got 3 hearts. What? That's not rad at all. But when I focus real hard, I can make little fires. Look, I just set that tree on fire. Oh, it looks like I upset the baboons who were living there. They're coming after me. I better hightail it out of here. I ran off deep into the forest. Being a tiny baby fire Godzilla wasn't working out great for me so far. Maybe if I can get bigger and stronger, I can use my powers to help people, rather than just burn their houses down. That'll help me make some friends around here. Maybe that big, tough, warped Moscow will be my friend. Hey, I'm Zozo. I'm pretty new around here. Wanna hang out?
Hey, not so fast, buddy. You wanna hang out here? You gotta pay the toll. Empty your pockets, little fire Godzilla.
But I don't have any money.
Then I guess you better come with me, Zozo. If you can't pay, you gotta work.
That was another bridge I'd already burned. I needed to run before the warped Moscow could get his big, buggy hands on me. I grabbed a few sticks from the forest and hid in a cave. These would make some pretty good torches with a little bit of my fire, so it won't be too dark in here. I proceeded to place down some torches before deciding to go to sleep for the night. I'm gonna need to get a lot stronger if I want to last out here. This place isn't kind to baby fire Godzillas like me. On day 2, I woke up in the cave to find my torches had gone out overnight. It was so cold and dark. What if there are spiders in here? I should get moving. I left the cave and entered the forest to explore my surroundings. Whoa, this forest is huge! So many trees, so much wood to burn. I needed to be careful in here, or I'd set everything on fire. When I build my own base, it should probably be made out of stone. I needed to break down a couple of these trees and gather some sticks and wood to make a wooden pickaxe. Perfect! This will be great for mining stone. Now I needed to find a good place to build my base. Maybe somewhere around here? Wait, has somebody already built a cabin here? What's happening here? A druid rushed out of the cabin.
Hey, keep your distance, friendo. I just finished this place. I don't need you burning it down.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to burn your cabin down. I just needed to find a place to make my base.
Base? What? Are you one of Locknar's guys?
What? No, I'm Zozo. Who's Locknar?
He's a necromancer. He's trying to raise an army of the dead. He and his boys have been harassing people about money around here lately.
The druid returned back into his cabin after bidding me farewell. Money? That sounds just like that warped Moscow from yesterday. He must have worked for this Locknar guy. I better start mining for stone near the druid's cabin. He'd probably make a decent neighbor.
By day 3, I started gathering materials for my base. I used my wooden pickaxe to start mining stone in a cave next to the druid's place. Hope he doesn't mind a little construction noise. Hey, keep down that racket, Zozo. I'm reading. Now that I know there's a necromancer out there building an army of the dead, I should probably go pay attention to home security. First of all, I took the time to clear out an area and build a big stone wall. This should keep out that warped Moscow if he tries to hassle me for more money. And I won't be able to accidentally burn this wall down either. While I was at it, I needed to get myself a weapon. Maybe I could use some of my spare sticks and wood to make a wooden sword. Hopefully I don't burn it to a crisp. Now I'm looking well prepared. While I was making my way towards the druid's cabin, I noticed something crawling out of the forest. It looked like an elder skulk. Better take care of it before it gets too close to my base. Don't you know it's rude to trespass, Mr. Skulk? Let's go! Hi-ya! With this sword, the elder skulk was no match for me. After I hit it a few times, skillfully dodging its attempts to hit me back, it went scuttling off into the forest again. Nobody beats Fire Godzilla! And clearly that fight made a big difference, because I was starting to get bigger and stronger. I had 5 hearts now, and I could let out a terrifying Godzilla roar! On days 4 and 5, I decided to go a little further into the forest to mine some more stone for my base. The wall was nice, but it wasn't exactly cozy. I needed a roof over my head. I already used some of my spare stone to make a stone pickaxe. But when I ventured out into the deep part of the woods, I ran into an old enemy, the warped Moscow.
You really thought you could get away without paying the toll? You really have no idea who you're dealing with, kid. You don't want my boss to have a problem with you.
Your boss? Is he a necromancer?
You're smarter than you look, Zozo. My boss, Lochnar the Necromancer, he's gonna come take over all this soon enough. And if you're not with him, you're against him.
I'd never be the guy who wants to take over a forest by force. I may burn stuff down sometimes, but I'm still a good guy.
Then I guess I've got to destroy you.
And Moscow came at me so fast, I was knocked back off my feet. I pulled out my wooden sword and tried to parry all of his attacks.
You can't hold me off forever, Zozo!
But I was a little faster than he was. Even with my wooden sword, I was able to get the jump on the warped Moscow and defeat him. Looks like I can handle myself decently now. I should probably spend a little more time out of the forest though. On day 6 to 8, I depleted my mine in the forest. At least I was able to find some iron ore though, and craft myself a cool iron sword and an iron pickaxe. Let's just see someone try to mess with me now. But after getting attacked by the Moscow, I wanted to get away from the forest for a while. I decided to take a trip up to the mountain and enjoy that clean mountain air. And I can't burn anything down up here either. It's perfect. But suddenly, a mountain troll approached me, and it seemed like he didn't want to share the mountain with anyone.
This mountain isn't big enough for the both of us, even if you are the puniest fire Godzilla I've ever seen.
I'm just visiting, man. You don't need to be so mean about it.
How dare you call me mean? I'm gonna crush you into dust for that.
He was so big, and he started chasing me. My only advantage was that I was much faster than him, so I could keep my lead. That's where my iron pickaxe came through. With my iron pickaxe, I quickly mined a big hole in the ground, then carried on running. With my trap set, I decided to taunt the mountain troll by calling him a slowpoke. He ran up to me not looking down, until he fell into the hole, and he couldn't climb back out.
A little help in here?
I think you've earned yourself a timeout, mountain troll. On days 9 and 10, I decided to travel further up into the mountain until I found a mountain cave hidden among the rocks. Maybe there will be some treasures hidden in here. Better take a look. I walked into the cave, iron sword at the ready, using the natural light of my fire to light the way. That's when I hit the jackpot. Gold ore deposits. Now that's what I'm talking about. I started to mine the gold when suddenly, despite my fire, it started to get extremely cold inside of the cave. It sent a chill down my spine.
Hello there, little creature.
I turned, and that's when I saw him right there, staring at me. It was Lochnar the Necromancer. Somehow, I could feel the power coming off of him. It was time for me to even the score and use my Fire Godzilla roar. But Lochnar just laughed in response.
Be quiet, boy. Do you have any idea who you're dealing with? When my army walks the earth, every flame like yours will be snuffed out.
I wasn't gonna take that sitting down. I ran at Lochnar with my iron sword and prepared to hit him. But with one strike from him, I was thrown back across the cave.
You're so weak. It's pathetic. You're not even worth destroying yet. Perhaps when you're a little stronger.
And with a flash, Lochnar was gone, and I was left terrified. If even my Fire Godzilla roar did nothing, what hope did I have against him?
But it wasn't all bad. I noticed then that I still wasn't alone in the cave. There was a fire villager waiting in there too. When Lochnar was gone, he ran towards me.
I can't believe you survived. Lochnar has been going after all of the flame creatures in the land.
But why? What have we ever done to him?
He's a necromancer. He's trying to raise an army of the undead. And everyone knows the weakness of the undead is fire. He needs to destroy us because we're the biggest threat to him.
Then you're not safe here either. You better come back to my base so we can figure out a plan to stop this. On days 11 through 14, I started expanding my base to make room for my new fire villager friend. Just like me, he was perfectly suited to a fireproof stone house. I built rooms for him and me, and another room where we could hang out together. But this took a lot of stone, and I soon needed to leave the base and mine more. I returned to the mine near the druid's cabin, and even though it was exhausted, it still contained some materials. While I was gathering more stone, I suddenly felt that cold feeling again. Oh no, does this mean the necromancer is behind me again?
Not quite, Zozo. I'm merely one of his servants. He brought me back to life, so I will serve his every order, including destroying you!
It was the Black Death, a plague doctor brought back from the dead. I drew my sword and prepared to battle, but by then, the Black Death was already on me. He hit me and took out some hearts. This guy was way more powerful than me. I ran further into the mine, hoping to find some kind of escape route. But the Black Death was gaining on me. I needed some kind of advantage. Wait, is that a chest? It was a chest. Maybe something in there can save me. I opened up the chest and found a fire aspect enchantment inside. This would give my sword flaming strikes. Perfect! I quickly used the anvil next to the chest to apply the enchantment to my sword. Take this, Black Death! Boom! That got him. The Black Death was set on fire and went running back out of the cave. Fire really does scare off the undead. Safe from the Black Death for now, I traveled back to my base and started making the wall even taller. But now, knowing just how effective fire was against the undead, I made some flaming torches to put on the wall. This should keep out any uninvited guests. On day 15, I went to check on the fire villager and make sure he was settling in nicely. I know from first-hand experience, it isn't easy to be a fire creature.
I find it very comfortable in here, Zozo. Thank you. It's much nicer than having to stay in some damp old cave all day.
So, tell me, what's the deal with this Lochnar guy? Everyone's been telling me that he's trying to raise some kind of army of the undead. Who is he?
Everything you've heard is true, but there's more. People say that Lochnar is over 1,000 years old, and because he's already dead, he can't be destroyed. Centuries ago, he was defeated by a legendary hero and locked up in the swamp of vileness. But somehow, he came back again, and he's trying to finish what he started all those years ago, making an army of the undead so powerful that he'll rule the world forever.
Can the legendary hero come back to defeat him? It sounds like we really need him right now.
That was a long time ago, Zozo. The legendary hero is probably extremely old now, if he's even alive. No, if we want to defeat Lochnar the Necromancer, we need to find a new hero.
Like who?
Well, like you, Zozo. You survived an encounter with him and saved me back in the cave.
No way. Have you seen me? I'm just a little fire Godzilla. The only reason I survived was because he said I was too weak to be worth destroying. I'd stand no chance against him in a real fight. Do you think I could survive a fight with Lochnar? I think I'd need to get a lot stronger first. On days 16 to 19, I started putting together a plan with the fire villager. If Lochnar is destroying fire creatures because he knows they're a threat to his undead army, we better gather up as many fire creatures as we can.
Great idea, Zozo. If memory serves, Lochnar's undead minions were keeping a Blaze prisoner in an underground cavern near here.
Then I guess I better go rescue him. After hours of searching the forest, I found a secret entrance to an underground area, sneakily hidden among some trees. Hopefully I'm not too late to help the Blaze down there. I rushed through the entrance. I made my way into the insides of the underground cavern and took a look around, trying not to draw too much attention to myself. I saw a lava river running through the bottom of the cavern, so my fire wasn't too out of place here. Wait, are those wither skeletons? They were! A bunch of wither skeletons were scattered everywhere along the path leading deeper into the cavern. They must be guarding the prison cell where the Blaze is. I ran in with my new fire aspect sword and started to fight them off as I went deeper and deeper into the cavern. After I took most of them, I unleashed my fire Godzilla roar. It scared some of the wither skeletons so bad, they ran off faster than their bones could shake. Clearly, all of this fighting was worth some pretty great XP, because I grew to almost twice my size, with almost twice the armor and twice the hearts. Maybe I can be strong enough to take on Lochnar, with the right training. But first, I broke open the prison with my iron pickaxe and freed the blaze.
Thanks for getting me out of there. It was really starting to get stuffy.
Don't mention it, buddy. How did you get captured?
Well, I was out here searching for the Kyther of Light when I got ambushed by all those skeletons.
You were looking for what?
The Kyther of Light. It's the weapon that the legendary hero used to defeat Lochnar all those years ago. It's said to be the most powerful weapon against the undead in the world.
Oh, wow. Then I should probably start looking for it too. Come back to my base. I want to know more. On days 20 to 22, Blaze and I returned to the base, only to see it being attacked by a horde of zombies. Even the torches I'd added to the walls didn't seem to scare them off. Lochnar was making some really tough undead for us to face. Thankfully, with Blaze at my side, the fight didn't last long. With his flames and my fire sword, we were able to take on the zombies and send them back from whence they came. So long, you undead meanies.
It feels so good to be free and fighting again.
Glad you're back in the groove, Blaze. But while the zombies weren't too difficult to defeat, this incident did make me realize our base needed some better defense. Or at least something to scare off potential attackers. That's when I had a great idea for the statue. The perfect thing to keep the undead away. I started working on the base of the statue with excitement. This is sure to keep the mobs at bay once it's done. Can you tell what it's gonna be? And if you want more adventures like this, subscribe to Zozo, because believe me, the best is yet to come. With Blaze here at the base, I've still got to do one more thing. Add a new room for him. With me, Blaze, and the Fire Villager all together, we're a fiery force to be reckoned with. On days 23 to 26, the base came under attack worse than ever before. I woke up to find the base surrounded by mutant skeletons, who were bigger, faster, and stronger than even wither skeletons. I ran out with my fire aspect sword and started attacking them, one by one. Each mutant skeleton took several hits with the sword to down. These guys were tougher than any grunt enemy I'd faced so far. A little help here, guys? Luckily for me, Blaze and the Fire Villager were there to help. With the three of us working together, we were able to drive off the remaining mutant skeletons back into the woods. That'll teach you to attack our base, skellies. Oh look, one of the mutant skeletons dropped a bow. Yes. That's perfect. I needed a good long-range weapon for my arsenal. What should I do next?
Zozo!
Yes, Blaze?
Now we fought off the mutant skeletons, you should start exploring the deep dark woods for the Kyther of Light. We need it to defeat Lochnar the Necromancer.
Good idea, Blaze. I journeyed out into the deepest, darkest part of the forest, knowing it would be the exact kind of place where Lochnar's minions would be waiting for me. And I was right, but I wasn't the only one. There was a fire elemental being surrounded by mutant zombies. The strongest zombies yet. Lucky for me, I had my new bow. I pulled it out, keeping a distance as I fired arrows at the mutant zombies. They seemed so shocked by my surprise attack, they retreated further into the dark of the forest. I'd saved the fire elemental. Wanna come back to my base, little buddy? I'm collecting fire creatures. He seemed eager, so we headed back to the base. I built a new room to house the fire elemental, and built in a new base defense. Large holes dug into the ground around the base, so any stumbling zombies thinking of attacking would fall right in. I'm feeling safer already. On days 27 to 31, I started off by asking Blaze to tell me everything he knows about the Kyther of Light, seeing as it may be our best chance to defeat Lochnar the Necromancer.
It's an ancient weapon, Zozo, supposedly created by a powerful group of sorcerers, for if there was ever a great evil they needed to strike down. The legend goes that only someone pure of heart can wield the Kyther. To a being of evil, it's useless.
But how can I find it? Even the most powerful weapon in the world is only useful if it's in our hands.
Perhaps the legendary hero would have hidden the Kyther in the last place the undead would think to look, the Nether.
Oh no, the Nether? That's one of the most dangerous places out there. I guess if it's the only place I can find the Kyther, it's off to the Nether I go. With my sword and my bow, I set off for an old nether portal in the woods. It's now or never. Yeah, bad joke, sorry. On the other side of the portal, it was all flames and lava. A fire Godzilla honestly looked kind of at home here. What didn't look at home was a huge, scary pigless running straight towards me.
You must be Zozo. I guess you're here looking for the Kyther of Light. Brave kid.
And I guess you're here to find the Kyther too, before I can find it.
You're a smart kid too, but I've got orders direct from Lochnar. Only one of us is leaving the Nether. Let's go.
I tried to draw my bow, but the pigless was too fast for me. I was lucky enough to pull out my sword just in time to counter his attack. Before he knew it, I hit him back and eventually managed to hit him in a way that made him touch lava, and due to that, he screamed a bit and moved away.
You're tougher than you look, but I'll get you next time, you little twerp.
And with that, he ran off into the depths of the Nether. On days 32 to 35, I traveled deeper into the Nether, leaving the wastes and entering the Crimson Forest. Wow, this place is super scary. If the legendary hero really hid the Kyther here, he must have been one tough warrior. The Nether has some of the scariest mobs around, but I was surprised to see a familiar face amongst all the trees and lava. It was a baboon, just like the one I met on my first day here.
Hey, aren't you the one who burned down my tree?
I'm sorry, Mr. Baboon. It was an accident. I'm a fire Godzilla. Sometimes I burn stuff down.
Whatever. It doesn't matter now. What are you doing in the Crimson Forest?
I'm looking for the Kyther of Light to defeat Lochnar, the Necromancer.
Wait, you too? He attacked my family with some zombies. I heard the Kyther might be hidden in the Soul Sand Desert. Let's travel together. We have better odds.
Sounds good to me, Mr. Baboon. We traveled together to the Soul Sand Desert, which was every bit as bleak and barren as the name suggests. I then noticed Lochnar, the Necromancer, standing on top of a floating island.
Hello again, Zozo, was it? Nothing about you was particularly memorable.
You're all smug now, Lochnar, but you won't be when we find the Kyther and defeat you.
You won't be able to find anything when you're dead.
Suddenly, the ground below me and Mr. Baboon began to shake. I drew my bow and fired at Lochnar, but he didn't even flinch. It was useless. If we couldn't escape, we'd be done for. That's when I had an idea. I turned and fired my bow at one of the gas. That should get the attention of him and his ghastly friends. With Lochnar preoccupied with the gas, Mr. Baboon and I ran away, back towards the Nether portal.
That was some quick thinking back there, Zozo. You really saved our skins.
I couldn't have done it without you. Come back to the base with me. You can join our anti-Lochnar squad. And with that, we exited the Nether. On days 36 to 39, I returned back to the base with the baboon. I built him a little treehouse because he didn't find the stone fortress as comfy as me and my fire creature friends. I gathered my new base mates together, the fire villager, Blaze, the fire elemental, and the baboon. I needed to hear their thoughts on my hunt for the Kyther. It wasn't in the Nether Wastes, the Crimson Forest, or the Soul Sand Desert. If the Kyther really is hidden in the Nether, where could it be?
You're telling me you didn't check the Basalt Deltas?
The Basalt Deltas? What's that?
It's the most dangerous place in the Nether, Zozo. If the legendary hero really didn't want the Kyther to be found, that'd be the best place to hide it.
The most dangerous place in the Nether? I can't go there yet. The rest of the Nether was already dangerous enough. If the Kyther was really in the Basalt Deltas, I needed to get stronger to get there, and I needed a little more inspiration. That's why I started working more on the statue. I must say, it's coming along quite nicely. From days 40 to 43, Blaze approached me, knowing I was feeling nervous about going back into the Nether.
Look, Zozo, the Nether is a scary place. I know, I used to live there. But sometimes, when you can't fight your way through, you need to sneak.
But Blaze, I can't sneak. I'm a fire Godzilla. I'm too easy to spot.
I know, but that's where my new plan comes in. There's a potion recipe hidden in a book I left in a lava canyon near here. If you can go get it for me, I'll make you a potion you'll find extremely useful.
So that's exactly what I did. I found my way to the underground lava canyon. It was really hot down there, but thankfully, fire Godzillas don't mind the heat. There had to be a chest down there somewhere. If someone left a book down here on its own, it'd just burn up. But my thoughts were interrupted when suddenly a huge serpent tried to grab me. It was a heck of a jump scare. I'm not on the menu, so slither on by, you reptile. I managed to hit it and knock it into the fiery depths below. That will teach you to mess with a fire Godzilla. As I continued to explore, I saw the chest tucked away in a corner. Let's take a look inside. A book! Jackpot! I then proceeded to leave the lava canyon and make my way back to the base. I gave the book over to Blaze, and he made me a potion.
This right here is a potion of invisibility. It might make your journey into the Basalt Deltas a little less dangerous.
Thanks, Blaze. This is perfect. On days 40 to 49, I made my way back to the Nether portal deep in the forest. Here goes nothing. After landing in the Nether, I made my way through to the Basalt Deltas. My friends weren't kidding when they said this place was dangerous. It looks impossible to even build here. I took the potion of invisibility and started to sneak through. There were sheer cliffs everywhere. I had to be careful so that I didn't fall.
Help me, please, someone help me.
Oh no, is that an illager? What's he doing in here? And why is he surrounded by Endermen? I can't just leave him like that. I need to help him, even if it means wasting my invisibility. Still keeping my distance, I pulled out my bow. I opened fire at the Endermen, causing them to teleport away. That gave me a window to get the Illager out of there. Come with me if you want to live. Me and the Illager ran for the hills until we were out of the Basalt Delta and back in the much safer Soul Sand Valley.
Thank you, kind stranger. You saved me. How can I ever repay you?
You can tell me everything you know about the Kyther of Light. I need it to defeat Lochnar the Necromancer.
Wait, the Kyther of Light? That reminds me of an old poem I used to hear all the time when I was a kid. Who seeks the Kyther, brave and true, venture into the forest blue.
The forest blue. Wait, that sounds like the Warped Forest. It's the only place in the Nether I haven't checked. Come with me, we'll go find it. On days 50 to 53, me and my new friend the Illager made our way into the Warped Forest, one of the slightly nicer parts of the Nether. I might have even enjoyed it if we weren't ambushed by that pigless I fought earlier.
Hey, looky here. It's that dweeb, Zozo.
Name calling? Really? That's just uncalled for, man.
No, Zozo. What's uncalled for is you being here. Me and the rest of Lochnar's boys have already found the Kyther, and it's far away from here. You're gonna get destroyed in the Nether for nothing.
That's it. You're going down, Pigless. But Pigless pulled a dirty trick. He didn't go for me. He went straight for the Illager, taking him down immediately. No, you can't do that.
I can do whatever I want. Let's tango, Zozo.
We clashed again, but this time I was stronger than before. I dodged his attacks easily, and with a few well-placed strikes from my fire sword, Pigless was done for. With him gone, I was all alone in the Nether again. Maybe Pigless had lied about them taking the Kyther. I had to explore and find out. There was a bastion remnant, an ancient ruined fortress nearby, and it seemed like the exact kind of place the legendary hero might have hidden the Kyther. Instead, all I found was a great beast, cowering in the shadows.
Is the Pigless gone? That guy dragged me along with him to help him find the Kyther. Most of the rest of our team was destroyed by nether mobs. It was horrible.
It's okay, I defeated the Pigless. You said he made you work for him. Do you have any idea where they may have taken the Kyther?
Tough to say. I think Pigless mentioned something about taking it back to the camp. He probably meant the one in the wasteland, back outside the Nether.
Perfect, so at least I know where to look next. Let's get out of here.
Wait, before you go, you deserve a reward for taking out that jerk Pigless. I was gonna use it myself, but here, it's a knockback enchantment. Your strikes will knock back your enemies now.
Oh, finally, some good luck. From days 54 to 57, I returned to my base and started making some adjustments. I added some guard towers so that we could spot any incoming threats faster. Just as I finished repairing and adding the knockback enchantment to my iron sword, the fire villager staying in the base approached me, looking very worried.
Zozo, I need a hand. I've been looking into it, and I've seen that a mutant zombie is skulking out in the forest outside. You should probably go take care of it while I'm working on an extremely important potion.
This would be the perfect opportunity to try my new knockback ability. I ran out into the forest, and just as the fire villager had told me, there was a mutant zombie making its way towards our base. I needed to put a stop to it. Come on, mutant zombie, you're no match for me. And I was right. With the knockback enchantment on my fire sword, I defeated it in no time and headed back to the base.
Great work, Zozo. And here's your reward. I made a potion of slow falling. When you take it, it eliminates fall damage. You never know when that'll come in handy.
On days 58 to 62, I continued work on the statue. I was really pleased with how it was coming along. Can you guess what it is yet? Suddenly, I heard the baboon yell out in panic from his treehouse.
Guys, something is coming towards us.
I looked out and saw a mob coming towards us. Creepers, courtesy of Lochnar the Necromancer. This is bad, this is really bad. But before we could do anything, the first wave of creepers had already hit. Several of them exploded, taking out huge chunks of the defensive wall, and others started crawling through the new gaps. I decided to rush in and finally get rid of the creeper menace. They started exploding again, taking out chunks of the base. By the time I managed to turn the tide of the fight, huge portions of our base had already been destroyed. When I had the advantage, the last surviving creeper ran off back into the forest. The fight was over. For now. We need to start rebuilding immediately. Blaze, fire villager. Wait, where's Baboon? That's when we realized the creepers had blown up Baboon's treehouse with Baboon inside of it. From days 63 to 66, hungry for fiery vengeance, I followed the last remaining creeper back into the woods. You and your friends aren't going to get away with destroying Mr. Baboon. I chased him into the forest and saw him disappear down into an underground cavern. I was so angry, I didn't even think about how dangerous it could be to chase a creeper into an enclosed place. I hopped down into the cavern, but the creeper was nowhere to be seen. Instead, I found a book laying on the ground containing a secret note.
Invade the base and destroy them all. Any survivors must return to the camp in the desert. GOAW. GOAW? Who's that? Wait, the camp in the desert. That's where they must be keeping the Kyther of Light. It was only then that I looked up and saw the creeper crawling quickly towards me. No time to think. On pure instinct, I pulled out my bow and fired. Boom! The creeper exploded, taking out a portion of the cavern. Lucky for me, thanks to the quick reflexes, I was out of the blast zone. From days 67 to 70, I traveled for 2 days all the way out to the desert. It was a really tough journey, but by the end, I finally saw the camp. It was a cabin surrounded by campfires, with a ghostly figure floating around it. It looked like the ghost of an ancient warrior. Lochnar the Necromancer must be able to raise skeletons, zombies, and ghosts. Wait, ghost of ancient warrior? That must be GOAW, the one who wrote the note. He must be a pretty big deal. As I got close, I noticed there was a gorge in the desert just outside the camp. Better not fall in. I drew my bow and fired at the ghost, but predictably, the arrow went straight through him. That's when he threw through the air and lunged at me. He didn't even talk, he was all action. I managed to dodge and strike back with my sword, but he parried. This guy was a better fighter than anyone I'd ever faced. I didn't even know if I could defeat him. That's when I had an idea. If I'm not strong enough to beat him yet, I can still trick him. Before he could attack me again, I quickly drank my potion of slow falling. Then, when he attacked me again, I jumped back and fell into the gorge. To him, it looked like I fell to my doom, but thanks to the potion, I was just fine. When the ghost finally floated away, I climbed back up to the top. Kyther of Light, here I come. On days 71 to 74, I was finally able to make my way into the cabin being guarded by the ghost of the ancient warrior. Except, the Kyther wasn't there. The cabin was empty. All I heard was the echoing laughter of Lochnar the Necromancer. He was always a few steps ahead. Once again, it all been for nothing. I made the long trek back to my damaged base, empty-handed. On days 75 to 78, I came back to the base and noticed how damaged it really was. It was still heavily damaged from the creeper assault, and I needed to start the repairs immediately, so I did just that. But I felt terrible knowing that now Mr. Baboon is gone, I didn't need to rebuild the treehouse. As I finished up the repairs, the fire villager approached me.
Hey Zozo, I just wanted to say I'm sorry you didn't find the Kyther, but I know you're strong enough to beat Lochnar anyway. I figured this might help.
That's when he handed me a diamond sword with fire aspect, the strongest weapon I'd ever had my hands on. Wow, thanks Fire Villager! It may not be the Kyther of Light, but it's the next best thing. And it turns out that the diamond sword couldn't have come at a better time, because suddenly, the ghost of the ancient warrior had returned, and he was flying at me. Guess it's time for a rematch. But this time, I didn't need any cheap tricks to take him down. Using my new diamond sword, I dodged his blows and struck him again and again, until he burst into ghost vapor and disappeared. I immediately started growing larger and larger, as well as doubling my hearts. But it wasn't just that. With my new size, I gained Godzilla strength, making all my close-range attacks 3 times as powerful. Just then, the fire villager ran up to me.
You did it, Zozo. You defeated the ghost of the ancient warrior. That's amazing. Wait, Zozo, I found this where the ghost vaporized.
It looks like a notebook. The latest note read, Lochnar is nearly at his full power. The final arrangements are being put into place. Destroy Zozo and the druid. Wait, the druid from the cabin? He's involved in this too? On days 79 to 84, I knocked on the door of the druid's cabin to find out how he was involved in all of this. Just like when I first met him, he wasn't eager to have me as a visitor.
Keep your distance, Fire Godzilla. You're even bigger than last time, and my house is very flammable.
I don't want to burn your house down, druid, but I know someone who does. I've seen instructions from Lochnar the Necromancer. He wants to destroy me and you. What does he have against you?
Ugh, Lochnar again? I thought I was done with that guy.
What do you mean?
I defeated him a few hundred years ago and sealed him away. I figured he'd stay gone for good, but I guess not.
Wait, does that mean you're the legendary hero?
I was, sure, but then I retired to become a druid. It's a much easier life. And besides, you should be fine. As long as you have the Kyther, he won't be that hard to defeat.
But he has the Kyther.
Oh, okay. This could be bad.
After our conversation, the druid led me back out into the forest to find another nether portal. He'd hid another weapon in the nether all those years ago as backup, if ever the Kyther fell into the wrong hands. But when we arrived at the side of the portal, it had already been destroyed.
This isn't good. If Lochnar destroyed the nether portal, it means he doesn't need it anymore. He's reaching the full height of his powers.
What do we do now?
Well, from where I'm standing, The only option is to...
An arrow shot out of the woods, hitting the druid and destroying him before he could even finish his sentence. No, this can't be happening. I turned to see a small gang of skeletons emerge out of the thicket behind us. As they ran at me, I made short work of them with my diamond fire sword. But now, I was out of options and out of time. There was only one thing left to do. I need to find the Swamp of Vileness and destroy Lochnar myself. On days 85 to 89, I made my way out to the snowy landscapes of the north, where I finally found the great beast I'd met back in the Nether. As far as I could tell, he would be the only one who could tell me where to find the Swamp of Vileness and finally track down Lochnar the Necromancer himself.
I know where to find it, but it won't be easy. It's beyond the forest, but you can only go at night. And that's the thing. That creep is strongest at night. So if you're gonna take him on, you better be well defended.
That's a useful tip. Thanks, Great Beast. From days 90 to 94, I decided to take the Great Beast's advice and armor up. I used my iron pickaxe to mine some diamonds and turned them into a full set of diamond armor, helmet, chestplate, leggings, and boots. But I didn't want to stop there. I needed some enchantments to really make sure I could take a punch from Lochnar and his evil army of the undead. I gave myself the protection enchantment. That makes my armor twice as durable against close range attacks, and projectile protection, which kept me safe from ranged attacks. Let's see Lochnar take me on now. From days 95 to 97, I finally finished the statue. Its flame could be seen from miles away and should keep all the bad mobs away from my base once and for all. It was a beacon of hope for all fire mobs, a bright, brilliant beacon that could be seen from miles away. And that's when I realized why I had to take on Lochnar and his undead minions. I could either use my fire powers to destroy, like when I accidentally burned down Mr. Baboon's tree, or I could use it to be a beacon of hope, to fight back against evil whenever I can, because it's the right thing to do. So it's exactly what I was going to do. On day 98, I spoke to the fire villager in Blaze about my plan to attack the Swamp of Vileness and finally take down Lochnar.
You can't do this alone, Zozo. You're strong, but Lochnar is so powerful, and he has an entire army.
He's right, Zozo. Why don't you let us come with you? Surely we'll be stronger together.
I can't put you at risk like that. You need to stay here as backup, in case Lochnar defeats me and his undead army escapes. But I can't let that happen. Trust me, no matter what, I'm going to defeat Lochnar and put an end to his evil reign of terror. With that, I exited the base, but was suddenly stopped by someone I haven't met before. Can I help you? He said nothing and dropped me a note and left. The note said, if you want to help me defeat Lochnar, you should subscribe to Zozo and check out our other adventures. You can even suggest what you want to see next down in the comments. Alright, I'm sure with the help of you guys, I'll actually manage to defeat Lochnar. On day 99, following the instructions of the Great Beast, I made my way to the Swamp of Vileness in the dead of night. It was every bit as creepy as I'd imagined. Mist hung low, the mossy skeletons, minions of Lochnar, were patrolling back and forth. I didn't have any more potions of invisibility. I needed to fight my way through. Okay, Skellies, come get me. I want to speak to your manager. That got their attention. Suddenly, waves of mossy skeletons started running at me, while others fired bows at me from a distance. Thankfully, with my enchanted diamond armor, I could deflect most of the damage, and my enchanted diamond sword could destroy them in one strike each. But that wasn't the problem. The mossy skeletons may have been weak, but every single time I defeated them, more just kept coming out of the fog. Don't you guys know when to quit?
They are the least of your worries, Zozo.
It was Lochnar. I could hear his voice, but I couldn't see him. It was like he was everywhere around me.
If you survive this onslaught, come a little further and meet me in my crypt. It'll be the last thing you ever do.
I wasn't going to let him get away with that. No matter how many skeletons he threw at me, I'd keep fighting to the very end. With my sword at the ready and my flames brighter than ever, I moved in towards the crypt of Lochnar. On day 100, I fought through the mossy skeletons and reached the crypt, which looked like a big, rickety pile of ancient stone. But there were stronger enemies waiting for me there. Mutant skeletons and mutant zombies came running at me, but my sword was ready. I hit them again and again, sending one after another down. But just like the mossy skeletons, more of them kept coming. I'm really starting to get sick of you guys. I unleashed a mighty fire Godzilla roar that could be heard across all of the Swamp of Vileness, and it knocked out all of the undead at once. It was just me in the crypt, so I pulled out my iron pickaxe and started destroying it, just to spite Lochnar. But just then, I fell down deeper into the crypt. Oh my gosh, there it is! That's the Kyther of Light! This is where he's been keeping it! I grabbed the Kyther. Now, I was ready to take on Lochnar.
I wouldn't be so confident, Zozo.
Boom! Lochnar appeared behind me, more powerful than he'd ever been before.
Do you really think you can beat this?
Lochnar began to grow as his power increased, becoming a huge, monstrous super necromancer. Like this, he really did look like he could take over the world. But I wasn't done yet. And do you really think you can beat this? I summoned up all of my power and channeled it. My flames got brighter as I grew, taking in the power of the Kyther of Light. I became Ultra Fire Godzilla with 30 hearts and almost unbreakable armor.
You can't do this. It isn't fair.
Life isn't fair, Lochnar. Let's go. Lochnar threw everything at me, hitting me again and again, but getting nothing. Now it's my turn. With one mighty swing of the Kyther, with all my power behind it, Lochnar was destroyed once and for all, never to raise another undead minion again. Safe at last, I returned to the base to celebrate with the Fire Villager and Blaze. Things were finally looking up for all of us. On day 1, I spawned in as a Lego man. Looks like I'm a baby Lego man. Figures. Wait, it looks like the whole Minecraft world is made out of Lego. That's amazing. I looked around the desert I'd spawned into and saw other Lego people walking around. All villagers, by the looks of it. I've never seen anything like this. What's going on here?
Allow me to explain, Lego Zozo.
I turned and saw a more sinister Lego man with a scary-looking helmet and a business suit. He didn't look friendly.
I'm Lord Business, soon to be the new manager of this Lego world. I'm gonna keep things clean, orderly, and most importantly, profitable.
That doesn't sound so bad.
Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, to make profits, you need to cut costs. And I'm gonna cut costs by destroying all those who oppose me. Starting here!
He swung his hammer, and suddenly the desert was filled with explosions, tearing into the ground and blowing up all the Lego villagers around me. Just like that, I was all alone. I'm not gonna let you get away with this, Lord Business. I will defeat you. Lord Business just laughed and stomped over towards me.
I've got a tight business plan, Zozo. I'll have control of this entire world in 100 days. And unless you become a master builder, you'd have no hope of stopping me. And it's not like that's gonna happen.
I wanted to fight back and defend myself, but I was just a baby and I didn't have any weapons. That's when a swarm of soul vultures appeared and started chasing me. All I could do was run. There's only one way out of this. I need to figure out what exactly a master builder is and become one in 100 days so I can defeat Lord Business and stop him from taking over the world. On day 2, after running for hours and hours, I ended up leaving the desert and entering the savannah. I may not have any weapons yet, but at least I'm tough. 5 Lego hearts? Even my health and hunger bar look like Lego pieces. And I'd need those Lego hearts because I still hadn't lost Lord Business's gang of nasty soul vultures. They were tough and fast, and I still didn't have any gear to fight them off with. Don't you guys have something better to do than hassle a baby Lego man? As the soul vultures got closer, I could feel my energy depleting. It was almost nightfall, and now I was really in trouble. Then, flaming arrows went flying through the sky. Someone was shooting at the soul vultures. The flames scared them, and the flock retreated. Someone had saved my life. That's when I saw a Lego villager hiding behind some cover. Thanks for saving my life, man.
No problem. Name's Bruce. I'm part of the resistance against Lord Business and his evil plans.
Wait, there's a resistance? Please let me in on it. I want to help defeat Lord Business too.
Then you better follow me. It's dangerous to be around here at nightfall.
Before we go, do you perhaps have any food? My Lego belly is starting to rumble.
No problem, little man. Here are some cooked mutton Lego bricks.
On day 3, Bruce and I went to a village in the middle of the savannah.
The village provides cover for the resistance. All the key members are hiding out here. None of us want Lord Business to turn this world into his personal piggy bank.
Bruce took me to a secret building in the middle of town where he wanted me to meet the resistance leader, an Egyptian illager named Osiris, sitting in a chair in his private library. Everyone was gathered around the table, so I sat behind it as well. It's nice to meet you, Mr. Osiris. I'm Zozo. Bruce told me you're the leader of the resistance against Lord Business.
This is true. Bruce told me you wish to join us.
That's also true. Lord Business attacked me when I first spawned, and he told me he's gonna take over the world in the next 100 days.
I could only stop him if I became something called a Master Builder. Osiris seemed shocked. He stood up and came walking towards me.
A Master Builder? He said those exact words? Master Builder?
Yeah, but I have no idea what it means. Do you know anything about Master Builders, Osiris?
Legends tell of the Master Builders. They're Lego men who have mastered the sacred art of construction. Through training and special techniques, they can build anything. Some say they're so good at building, they don't even need to use weapons to fight. They can use building itself as a weapon.
I jumped with excitement. Oh my gosh, that sounds incredible! How can I become one?
It won't be easy, but it's possible. It will take training in the art of building, of course. But most importantly of all, you must be taught the secret techniques by the 4 Master Builders hidden across the world. And if we are to have any hope of stopping Lord Business, you'll need to do all of this in less than 100 days.
I waved goodbye and exited the secret building. On days 4 to 5, I began my first pieces of work and training. After all, I couldn't even think about seeking the other Master Builders until I'd completed some basic training. Tools! First, I gotta make myself some tools. So I went over to the nearby trees and started gathering up some wood. It wasn't easy to punch through the trees, but soon enough, I had enough wood to make a crafting bench, and then my first set of wooden tools. These look pretty cool, but a Master Builder needs better than wooden tools. Using my wooden shovel and pickaxe, I started digging into the ground until I hit stone and collected enough blocks to build myself a full set of stone gear, including tools and a sword. Because I was now an official part of the Resistance, Osiris said I was allowed to build my base on the edge of the village, so I started using my spare wood and stone blocks to build the foundations of my base. The first step was building rooms for myself and Bruce, the Lego villager who had saved my life in the desert. It's always nice to have a friend living with you. Bruce hurried towards me, looking frantic.
Zozo, the building is gonna have to wait. I can see a bunch of zombies creeping towards us out of the savannah. We need to stop them.
Luckily, I had my new stone sword, so I pulled it out and ran in, ready to kick some moldy zombie booty. You're messing with a future Master Builder here. You're gonna regret this. And they did, because it didn't take me long to defeat the zombies and return to my base, glowing with victory. That's when I started to change. I upgraded, getting bigger and gaining 2 hearts. 7 hearts? This is awesome! On days 6 through 8, I was wandering through the savannah until I reached a forest. I was collecting more wood for my base when I saw a wooden villager being attacked by this big and ugly looking bug called a sectoid. But the wooden villager was fighting back, building walls between him and the attacking sectoid. I've never seen anyone fight like this before. Maybe That's when the wooden villager noticed me.
Are you gonna stand there all day, son? Or are you gonna give me a hand with this thing?
Oh, right, sorry. I ran in with my stone sword and joined the fight. The sectoid was tough, but with me and the wooden villager working together, we had a chance. Every time the sectoid tried to attack me, the wooden villager quickly built a little wall between us. Soon enough, the sectoid was exhausted and confused, and I was able to defeat it with my stone sword. He dropped some string. I guess it makes sense. He did look a bit like a spider. All that was left was me and the wooden villager. I wanted to know more about his special fighting skills.
Thanks for the assist, kid. Who are you?
I'm Zozo, and who are you?
I'm Master Red.
Wait, Master? As in Master Builder? Can you help me learn to be like you?
Sure thing, kid. Your training starts now. You're gonna help me chase a soul eater out of a cave near here.
Sounds like a plan, Master. Let's go. On days 9 to 10, Master Ren and I made our way through the forest until we found the cave he told me about. Before we go in, Master Ren, what's the first lesson? How can I fight like a Master Builder?
The first technique is the one you saw me using in the woods, kid. When your opponent tries to attack you, you build a wall between you and them.
Okay, I think I'm ready. Let's do this. I followed Master Ren into the cave, where the Soul Eater was waiting. It was even bigger and scarier than I thought it'd be, and the second it saw us, it flew towards us.
Now is the time, Zozo. Try out the technique I taught you.
But with the Soul Eater charging towards me, I panicked. I couldn't help it. I tried to build the wall between us as quickly as I could, but the Soul Eater just flew over the tiny barricade and started attacking me. In one strike, I lost a bunch of hearts. Uh-oh, I need to get out of here. I ran out of the cave and Master Ren followed me. Felt so embarrassed to lose in front of him like that. but he didn't seem to mind.
Perhaps I will need to train you more cautiously, young Zozo.
How about you come stay at my base? You can train me more there.
That sounds like a good idea to me.
On days 11 to 12, I returned back to my base with Master Ren and started adding another floor to the base. This way, he can have his own room. I hope this is to your liking, Master Ren.
Well, it's clear you have much to learn in the way of building. But thank you, Zozo. It'll do.
While Master Ren was resting up, I decided to put my building skills to good use. I created a custom crafting room where I could perfect my crafting skills and store my creations. By the time I was done, I saw that Osiris had arrived at my base, and he had something to tell me.
How's the training going, Zozo?
It's, going. What's up?
I figured it was finally time for me to tell you about what's really going on and why Lord Business is doing everything he's doing. You see, creativity is a wonderful thing, and it's a skill that all master builders are required to develop. But the purest kind of creativity is the kind used to make people happy. The darkest kind is the one that Lord Business has fallen prey to. Creativity to satisfy greed. All he cares about is money, and everything that people create, he seeks to own, and he's willing to destroy anyone who gets in the way of his bottom line.
After hearing this story, I went out into the forest and gathered more sticks and wooden blocks. I made a little fenced-up area in the backyard of my base and herded some cows into it, as well as making a small wheat farm alongside it. If I'm gonna become a master builder, I need to be able to build everything. On days 13 to 15, I approached Ren, who was practicing in an archery range I had built for him on the other side of the base. Hey Ren, I was wondering, do you know other ways I can improve my building abilities?
Well, I suppose there is this handy tool I usually use. It's called a builder's wand, and it lets you build much faster by extending connected block faces.
What? You didn't think to mention this before in the cave?
Well, I have been known to be a bit forgetful here and there. Here, have one.
Ren tossed out the wand for me. Thanks. Well, hopefully you can remember anything about master builders since, you are one of them. Osiris said something about there being 4 master builders out there, and I've only found you.
Perhaps your best bet is searching the snowy tundra. I've heard tales of mysterious buildings popping up there. It could be the work of a master builder.
Then I guess the snowy tundra is exactly where I'm heading.
Word of advice, Zozo. Build yourself a bow first. You never know when it'll come in handy for you.
Before setting off for the snowy tundra, I tested out the builder's wand, and sure enough, it makes building walls much easier. This tool is really useful. I also followed Ren's advice and made myself a bow, just in case. All I needed were some feathers, and luckily there were a few chickens around, so I could craft the arrows as well. Better to have a bow and not need it, right? I made my way across the map to the snowy tundra. Part of me hoped I'd find the next master builder waiting for me, but it turned out that the snowy tundra was huge. It'd take me forever to find someone here. But it didn't take long for a mutant snow golem to find me and start attacking. You must work for Lord Business. Jeez, is there anyone outside the village who doesn't work for that guy? I tried my best to use Master Ren's technique, building walls in front of the attacking snow golem, but he was still too fast for me, even with the builder's wand. In the end, I kept my distance and finished him off with the bow. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be good enough to be a master builder at this rate. But the mutant snow golem did drop something, a builder's potion, which helps the speed of my mining and building. Just what the doctor ordered. I returned to my base and took the potion, practicing by digging a huge hole near my base and collecting a bunch of stone blocks. It was a good exercise because soon enough, I leveled up and gained 2 more hearts. 9 hearts? This is rad! On days 16 to 19, I continued exploring, hoping I might find another master builder hiding inside some ancient ruins. This place is so old and spooky, it seems just like the kind of place an old master would hang out. But I was half right. I didn't find a master builder here, but I did find an ancient sign that might lead me to one. It read, "He who seeks to reach the peak of skill must climb to the peak itself. A master dwells where the air is thin." Thin air. Peaks? That sounds like a mountain. I know where I need to go now. But I couldn't celebrate too quickly. A group of Barracoa ancient people sent by Lord Business had cornered me. I needed to think fast. What would a master builder do? That's when I had an idea. Using all the stone I'd mined in the days before, I quickly ran around the group of Barakoa, building a wall around them that boxed them all in. It was quite tricky because they were surprisingly fast for their short stature. Eventually, I did succeed in boxing them in though. Before any of them had a chance to escape, I fled the ancient ruins, safe to fight another day. Master Ren is gonna be so proud of me. On days 20 through 22, I was making my way through the forest, gathering up materials to prepare for my journey into the mountains. These mountains are treacherous. I should really upgrade my gear before I go. While I was in the forest, some spiders attacked me. I was low on stone at the time, so I decided to defeat them with my stone sword instead of doing it the Master Builder way. Variety is the spice of life. Once the spiders were dealt with, I mined until I stumbled into a small cave system. I found some iron deposits. It took a while to mine all of it, but in no time I had enough to smelt and craft into a set of iron armor and tools. It made me feel so cool and powerful. Maybe it's time for me to pay my old enemy a visit. With my new tools and my new power, I went back to the cave where I'd almost been defeated by the Soul Eater. But this time, it was going to happen the other way around. Come get me, Soul Eater. I'll give you something to chew on. I decided to go for a mix of standard and Master Builder tactics. As the Soul Eater flew towards me, I used my skill to quickly build a wall around the Soul Eater, trapping him in place. But there was no time to waste. I pulled out my new iron sword and one-shotted the Soul Eater right in the head. How do you like me now, you cave-dwelling meanie?
Having fun, Zozo?
I turned and saw Lord Business standing at the cave entrance and staring at me. Lord Business, what are you doing here?
Watching your pathetic attempt to become a master builder. You really think you can make a difference? You're not special, Zozo. And believe me, when my factories are complete, we'll never need people like you to make anything ever again.
And with that, he disappeared. Factories? That doesn't sound good. On days 23 to 26, I returned to my base, eager to tell Master Ren that I'd used my new skills to take down the Soul Eater.
This is an amazing development, Zozo. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Master Ren. I couldn't have done it without your help.
I have a reward for you, a special schematic for a new tool I've built. I think you'll find it quite useful.
Master Ren gave me a book full of instructions, and I went into the crafting room to begin building. By the time I was done, I had a multi-tool. One tool that can be a pickaxe, a shovel, an axe, a sword, and a hoe, all in one. This is a perfect tool for a master builder. I then used my new iron multi-tool to clear the mess we did outside the base. I also used it to gather some more food. I then took some time to build a wall around my base. Now nobody with bad intentions could get in. On days 27 to 31, I decided to finally follow the instructions I saw in the ancient ruins. As I arrived at the ruins, I saw the Barakoa were gone, so I made my way up into the mountains. It was dark, cold, and difficult to climb, but it was worth it if it'd make me be a better builder. I couldn't see any mobs, thankfully, but I was so high up that if I fell, I probably would have been done for anyway. Then, without warning, an Iceman landed on the ground next to me.
Who goes there?
What? Where did you come from?
That doesn't matter. Why are you invading my domain, stranger?
I'm Zozo, and I swear I didn't mean to intrude. I just came here to look for a master builder.
Then you found him. I'm Master Frost, the master builder of the mountains.
That's when I saw how Master Frost had gotten the jump on me. He'd immediately built a staircase behind me and used it to attack me from above. He really was a master builder. Want to come back to my base, Master Frost? I'd love to learn from you. I can even make you your own room.
Sure, why not? It's been a while since I've taught a young whippersnapper in the tricks.
While we made our way back to my base, we came across a rainbow tree. Frost built some stairs so I could reach the top, and I mined some unique material with my multi-tool. Super colorful rainbow grass blocks. I returned to my base afterwards and built a new room for Master Frost, even giving him a window made from rainbow glass blocks. It was almost done when Bruce approached me in a panic.
Zozo! Lord Business has sent some minions to attack the village. We need your help immediately.
On days 32 to 35, I rushed into the village with Bruce, ready to defend it from whatever attack Lord Business had unleashed on us. But I wasn't expecting to see a gang of ender creepers crawling all over the village. The whole village was completely overrun by creepers. They were chasing innocent villagers all around the village. Oh no! Looks like Lord Business really took his evil up a notch.
Knowing it was dangerous to take on the ender creepers up close, Bruce and I pulled out our bows and started shooting the ender creepers, trying to take them out before they exploded. We had to be extra careful, but with the help of Bruce, we managed to get a lot of them. A few unfortunately slipped through the net, with awful consequences. Bruce suddenly looked towards Osiris's secret base.
Zozo, look! They're cornering Osiris!
Bruce was right! Osiris was being cornered by an ender creeper, slowly creeping towards him. We heard him beg for mercy.
No! No, please don't do this!
Before we could get close enough to save the Resistance beloved leader, we heard it, a Lego boom! The ender creeper exploded, setting off a chain reaction that blew up a bunch of the other houses. The whole village was in ruins. We rushed to check out Osiris's secret base, but all we saw was smoke rolling out. He was gone! Osiris, no! There was so much left unsaid between us!
Come on, Zozo, we can mourn later. We need to stop these heavy creepers before they can do any more damage.
It didn't take us long to defeat the rest of the ender creepers, but with Osiris gone, our morale had taken a serious hit. On days 36 to 39, I decided I needed to search further if I wanted to find the third and fourth Master Builder. That's why I traveled all the way to the Ice Spikes, a scary and desolate land even further away than the snowy tundra. Master Builder! Is there a Master Builder anywhere? I soon came across a Viking villager named Olaf. He was camping in one of the ice spikes, eating a Lego apple. He looked exhausted. You okay there, buddy?
Oh yes, just taking a breather.
You wouldn't happen to be a Master Builder, would you?
No, afraid not. I'm just a Viking. But I can tell you where to find a Master Builder if you help me deal with a little problem I'm having.
That sounds awesome. What do you need?
There's a bad snowman around here I've been trying to destroy, but I'm having an off day. If you can take care of him for me, I'll give you the information you need.
Deal. I wandered around the ice spikes until I found the bad snowman that Olaf had warned me about. Thankfully, I still had plenty of energy, so I pulled out my multi-tool sword and took him by surprise. Don't mess with this, Lego man. That's no joke. He even left a few carrots and snowballs in his chest. Maybe the Viking will want to play a snowball fight with me. I returned to the Viking and told him the good news. The bad snowman had been defeated.
Finally! I thought I'd never get to leave this stinking place.
Yeah, the snowman even left a few snowballs behind. Wanna play a snowball fight?
No thanks. I'm too old and tired for such games.
Oh, okay. So how about the Master Builder? Where can I find the next one?
I heard there's one of them hiding out in the swamp, but he likes his privacy. No offense, but you should probably get better before you go see him. If you're not experienced enough, he'll think you're just wasting his time.
On days 40 through 43, I returned to the base. Walking through the rubble the creepers left behind reminded me of the loss of our great Osiris leader. This is no time for sadness. I'm ready to practice and improve my building skills, so one day I can have my vengeance. I added some new furniture to the base, along with some bookcases that helped me study the craft of master building. Master Ren approached me midway through my renovations with a new request.
Zozo, my student, Lord Business's latest creeper attack on the village has destroyed many homes and left many Lego villagers homeless. You should do them a kindness and make room in your base for them to live in the meantime.
Master Ren made a good point. I invited in the homeless Lego villagers and started building another level to my base, complete with beds for them all to sleep in. Just as I finished, Master Frost came to me with an urgent message.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Zozo, but I've received some vital information. Some of my allies have followed up on the lead for one of Lord Business's factories. I need you to investigate and find out what's going on. It's also the perfect time for you to test out my attack from above technique.
Of course, Master Frost, I won't let you down. On days 44 to 49, I followed Master Frost's instructions until I reached the factory. It was a spooky looking building, so harsh and out of place in this fun Lego world. I need to stop this madness as soon as possible before it ruins the whole world. I crept inside, trying to stay hidden. But while I may have gotten really good at building, I was kind of terrible at creeping because Lord Business noticed me immediately.
This is private property, Zozo. Did none of your masters ever teach you not to trespass? It's rude.
It's also rude to be an evil overlord. What's your endgame, Lord Business? What's the big plan here?
Well, since you'll never leave this place alive, I guess I can tell you. You see this factory? I'm going to cover the whole world and thousands like it, and fill it with builders like you. You'll all either work for me or be destroyed, endlessly building products that I can sell for a massive profit. All for me!
You'll never get away with this! I won't let you!
You don't have a choice. Remember the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. Speaking of which, meet a friend of mine, the Gold Warrior.
A gold warrior stepped out from the darkness, ready to fight.
Get rid of him. I'm a little too busy to stick around and watch.
Lord Business disappeared again, and the gold warrior charged at me. On days 50 through 53, I tried to use my skills to fend off the Gold Warrior. He was the strongest enemy I'd ever faced, and he wasn't giving up easy. No matter how fast I tried to run away from him, he caught up to me. Can't we just talk this out, Mr. Gold Warrior? He didn't seem to think so. Instead, he kept trying to jab me with his lethal spiky club. I kept building walls between us, but every time, he'd effortlessly get around them. I was in real trouble. I tried taking him down with a bow, but he used his shield to stop the arrows. I got one shot in, but that was about it. This is not effective. I need to change tactics. I pulled out my multi-tool and activated the sword. I couldn't stop him with my master builder techniques or my bow, so I was going to have to fight him directly instead. It was a tough battle, and I lost quite a few hearts along the way. I even got down to half a heart. Luckily, I was able to build my way to safety and eat to regain my health. Phew, this is getting intense. But alright, here goes round 2. After a lot of fighting, I was finally able to defeat him. When he went down, he dropped his gold shield and a golden key. Oh, I wonder what this unlocks. I better keep it in my inventory. You never know when you need a key. On days 54 to 57, I left Lord Business's spooky factory and made my way outside onto the plains. But something was already out there waiting for me. A powerful earth elemental, ready to battle. The earth elemental started walking towards me, but out here in the open, I could use my master building skills. I quickly started using the master frost technique, building stairs so I could run up them and attack from above. It's over, I have the high ground. I leaped down onto the earth elemental and destroyed him in one direct strike to the head. He dropped a powerful Protection 3 enchantment book too. This will make me a lot more resistant to damage when I apply it to my armor. But I should probably wait until I get better armor and apply it then. With my mission complete, I returned to my base to tell Master Frost. I found him sitting on a bench by the lake as he made ice around him freeze up. I told him about Lord Business's evil plan and about my mastery of his technique.
Excellent work, Zozo, despite the frightening news. Go see Bruce in a few days. He'll have something valuable for you to do then.
Will do. Just make sure that all the fish don't freeze. On days 58 to 62, I decided that my base needed a little tender love and care, so I decided to expand the farm to also include chickens. Anyone else want a fried egg? But my base was only one half of my defenses. I needed to get myself better armor and tools too. That's why I used my multi-tool to dig into a mine behind my base, going deeper and deeper until I finally found some diamonds. Even though they look like Lego pieces, diamonds are still a master builder's best friend. I took the diamonds back into my crafting room and built myself a full set of diamond gear, weapons, tools, and armor. Then I crafted myself an anvil and applied the Protection 3 book to my diamond chestplate. Now I finally have some proper protection. Wait, what is this? I don't have a full armor bar. I guess Lego diamonds aren't quite as tough as real diamonds. After all that hard work, I built and added a new floor with a lounge and a small terrace to my base, so I could finally put my feet up and relax. I just knew it wouldn't last for long. On days 63 to 66, I approached Bruce the Lego villager and asked him what he had for me.
I've been closely observing your progress, Zozo, and I believe you finally have what it takes to meet the next master builder. I've marked out the swamp where he lives on your map. Seek him out and learn his teachings.
Thank you, Bruce. Wish me luck. Over the next couple days, I made the long journey to the swamp. It was a dark and humid place with a strong, musty smell. I really didn't want to spend too long here. Even less so when I saw a huge polypham running towards me, ready to fight.
Get out of my swamp, intruder!
The polypham was twice the size of me. I'd never stand a chance against him in a fight. I tried to run away, but he was way ahead of me. The polypham mined into the ground and rapidly tunneled below me before popping back up out of the ground right in front of me. Please, I don't want any trouble. I'm just looking for the master builder. the Polyfam immediately stopped.
Oh, why didn't you say so? Nice to meet you. I'm Master Tony, the Master Builder of the Swamp.
Master Tony, I'm so pleased to see you. I was told you didn't like visitors.
Normally I don't, but today I need a hand. I've got a monstrous swamp leech infestation. If you help me with that, I'll teach you a thing or two.
On days 67 to 70, I followed Master Tony deeper into the swamp to help him take on his monstrous swamp leech problem.
Being a master builder, I'm pretty strong, but leeches have always squicked me out. So I appreciate your help on this.
It didn't take us long to find the leech infestation. I didn't want to get too close either. They looked pretty freaky, so I pulled out my bow and picked them all off at a distance, one arrow at a time. Leeches, be gone! Whoa, I should have been a pest controller.
Great job, Zozo. I'm glad I don't need to look at those nasty things anymore.
Happy to help. Now, how about that technique? Master Tony was a man of his word. He showed me how he'd mastered the combat tunneling technique, how you could use your pickaxe to dig into the ground to escape, or create pits for enemies to fall into. This is awesome! I only need to learn from one more master, and I'll be a master builder myself! On days 71 through 74, while searching the plains, I found an entrance leading to some kind of bunker. What could have been inside? And if you like crazy mysteries and wild adventures, you should search for more Zozo videos by typing ZO into your search bar. I prepared my diamond sword and climbed down through the door. It looked like some kind of secret bunker underneath, filled with bookshelves and books all marked factory plans. Wait, this place must be owned by Lord Business!
Clever observation, Zozo!
Lord Business suddenly came out of the secret bookshelf entrance and swung at me with his netherite sword. I barely dodged in time.
I made a mistake, sending my minions to destroy you before. I should just get it over with and destroy you myself.
I tried to fight back, swinging my sword at him, but every time he blocked my strike and fought back, knocking off a few of my hearts.
You're no master builder, Zozo. You're weak and pathetic.
As Lord Business tried to finish me off, all I could do was escape. In a frantic panic, I built a wall between him and myself and made my way out of the bunker while he broke through it. I wasn't strong enough to beat him. All I could do was run, but at least I escaped. This time anyway. On days 75 through 78, I continued making improvements on my base. It was one of the tallest and most impressive bases I've ever made, so I decided to build downwards too. That's why I made a cozy basement to hold extra supplies. I even installed a few beds just in case. Just as I was finishing up, Master Frost approached me with a gift.
Zozo, I just wanted to tell you, I'm so proud of all the work you're doing. Nobody is fighting back against Lord Business as hard as you. I wanted to give you a gift as a token of my thanks. It's a potion of strength I brewed for you.
Wow, thanks, Master Frost. I can't wait to try it. I drank the potion and felt myself getting bigger and stronger by the second. By the time the transformation was done, I was a full-grown Lego man with 12 hearts. Let's see Lord Business try to take me on now. On days 79 through 84, I decided to travel for a bit to flex my new strength and Master Builder abilities by taking on some bad guys in the forest. Lucky for me, a gang of bad guys weren't hard to find, as when things got dark, the woods soon became filled with angry skeletons. You guys have got to go down, no bones about it. They didn't appreciate my bad pun. Instead, they attacked me. I decided to put all my Master Builder skills to use in stopping them. First, I used Master Frost's technique. I quickly made a stairway and climbed to the top to get away from them. Can't get me up here. Then, I used Master Tony's special technique. I leaped down onto the ground from above and started digging until I formed a big square hole in the ground. It didn't take long for the skeletons to follow me and fall in as I climbed back out. Then I capped it off with Master Ren's technique and built a roof over the pit where all the skeletons were trapped, sealing them away forever. Wow, I'm almost a Master Builder. It's true, and I like your style, Zozo. I turned and saw that an Egyptian jackal had been standing there and watching me the whole time. He seemed impressed. I'm Master Joey, the final Master Builder. I hear you've been looking for me. You heard correctly, Master Joey. Can you teach me your special technique so I can finally become a true Master Builder? I won't give you a technique, Zozo, but I will give you a tool. The hammer.
When you need it to destroy blocks in a hurry, you just can't beat it. Congratulations, you're a master builder now!
On days 85 through 89, I came back to my base with new tools and new knowledge, only to find that we were under attack from a horde of spider creepers. They were crawling all across the village and exploding, destroying chunks of the buildings. I was terrified they would go for my base and the people inside. I can't let you do this! One of the spiders came crawling towards me. Fortunately, Bruce came out of one of the buildings with his bow, helping me fight back.
Don't worry, Zozo. You won't need to fight alone. I've got your back.
So we fought together, taking on and taking out most of the spider creepers until the rest ran out into the savannah. I've got to go get them. I can't let them get away this time. But as I tried to chase the fleeing group, I saw a baby Lego villager being chased by a spider creeper. I needed to save him. Don't worry, baby, I'll save you. I pulled out my diamond sword, charged in, and defeated the spider creeper.
Thank you, Zozo. You saved my life.
On days 90 to 94, after saving the Lego villager baby, I ran into the forest to chase the fleeing gang of spider creepers. You creeps are gonna pay for what you did to the village. I chased them until I saw that they were trying to hide in a nearby cave, but it was too late. I already saw them. I ran in, ready to fight with my diamond sword, until I noticed that I'd been lured into a trap. There was an ender creeper waiting for me, and he was wearing a name tag. It read, Vice President to Lord Business. Uh-oh, I guess you're not gonna be easy to fight then, are you? The ender creeper, VP, didn't even reply. He just came running at me, and I began to panic. Better use my Master Builder skills. I couldn't make a staircase in the cave, but I could still use Master Ren's technique and make a wall. I quickly built one up between us, but VP teleported right through it and hit me, knocking off a few hearts. Looks like this is gonna be my hardest battle yet. On days 95 through 97, the battle raged on. VP truly was the toughest enemy I'd ever fought, and often when I tried to hit him, he teleported out of the way. Why won't you stay still and fight fair, VP? You're the VP of being a lousy cheater. Being an ender creeper, he also had the ability to teleport lit TNT right on top of my head. Oh man, I've got to be careful and dodge his falling TNT. That's when I figured out the perfect method of stopping him. I used Master Tony's technique and created a hole, tricking the ender creeper into falling into it. After that, all it took was one strike from above to destroy the ender creeper. He even dropped a banana waba brick, one of the strongest unbreakable pickaxes in the world. So of course, I grabbed it. In that moment, I had a vision, revealing the truth about Lord Business. Once, he also wanted to be a master builder, and he sought out the secrets to learn the knowledge and the techniques. But in the end, it was never meant to be. He was too greedy and impatient to truly learn. So instead, he decided he'd make others do the work for him and just take all the money. If Lord Business never even fully gained his master builder skills, maybe I really will be able to finally defeat him. On day 98, I prepared for the final battle, mining to gather extra blocks that I could use in the fight. Before I could leave, each of my friends came to offer words of encouragement. First, Bruce, the Lego villager.
You're one of the strongest fighters the Resistance has ever had, Zozo. I just want you to know, no matter how this ends, it's been an honor serving with you.
Then came Master Ren.
You have learned the ways of the Master Builder, Zozo. Remember them and use them wisely. And even Lord Business won't be able to defeat you.
And finally, Master Frost.
Be creative, Zozo. That's the most important thing. And it's something you're brilliant at. Lord Business will never be able to take that away from you.
Hearing all of this made me finally feel ready to take on the evil mastermind behind it all. On day 99, I made my way to Lord Business's business base, where I was sure to find him. On the way there, I saw a Lego kid playing in the savannah.
I believe in you, Zozo! You're my hero!
Thanks, kid. I'm gonna try my best. But when I arrived outside the business base, I noticed that it was heavily guarded by a gang of soul vultures. Oh no, how can I fight all of these, then take on Lord Business? I'll be outmatched. That's when Master Tony the Polypham suddenly appeared.
Don't you worry, buddy. I'll take care of the soul vultures. You get in there and take that businessman down.
Thank you, Master Tony. I couldn't do this without you. Master Tony ran in and started fighting the soul vultures. And while he was distracted, I ran right past him and used the key, dropped by the gold warrior, to enter the business base. I knew that key would come in handy. On day 100, with my tools gathered and my Master Builder status secured, I entered the inner sanctum of Lord Business's business base. The place was huge, with tall walls and a massive fountain in the middle. I proceeded forward through a treasure room filled with gold piles. He was waiting for me on the other side of the room, sitting in his giant golden throne, laughing evilly.
So you're finally here, Zozo, but I'm afraid you're already too late.
It's never too late.
Ha! That's what you think! My forces are ready to roll out, and they follow only my command. This whole world will be turned into one giant corporation, and I will be the CEO. Only a Master Builder could stop me now.
That's the thing, Lord Business. I am a Master Builder. I pulled out my hammer and prepared to battle the evil businessman for the sake of the world. He jumped off his chair, wielding a netherite sword, and tried to attack me. I quickly built a wall between us, and anytime he knocked the wall down, I built another.
Aren't you even going to fight back, Zozo? This is pathetic.
I am fighting. I'm fighting like a Master Builder. I blocked myself into the treasure room while Lord Business was breaking down my wall. I quickly started building a staircase. As he broke through, I leapt down onto him and hit him.
Ow! No fair!
You'd know these techniques if you ever bothered to learn them, Lord Business.
And you'd know this technique if you had money! Ender Creepers, attack!
Lord Business pulled a dirty trick. Doors around the room opened and heavy creepers started piling in. He was going to blow me sky high.
Face it, Zozo, you're outnumbered and outgunned. I've won!
Not yet, you haven't. It was time to put all my training to good use for one last move. While the heavy creepers chased me, I mined a huge hole into the ground with my hammer. I pushed Lord Business into the hole. I looked at the creepers and they followed me as I jumped into the hole.
Zozo, what are you doing?
Finishing this! As Lord Business and the heavy creepers scrambled around, trying to grab me, I placed down the ladders and climbed out of the hole.
Yes. Zozo, you fool! Let me out of this pit! The heavy creepers will explode! It'll destroy us both!
Not quite, Lord Business. Boom! They all exploded, destroying Lord Business with them as I ran from the room. It was finally over. I'd become a Master Builder and saved the whole world.